Drew Nixon producing the show. Welcome back.
Thanks. I'm here.
I don't know where you were at. If you were joining the paparazzi crew following Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce, I'm not sure what
Seems like a sweet gig right now.
I mean, well, you'd be all over the country, that's for sure. You would have been in New York City this weekend. You would have been hanging out outside the Saturday Night Live studios. You would have been hanging out outside of MetLife.
This all sounds great.
MetLife Stadium. All of that.
I could probably be in like Tokyo in a few months or Germany in a couple of weeks. That all sounds great to me. I'm in.
Could have been doing that, man.
I wasn't doing that, but that's okay. I'm glad to be back. Here's my 10-second take on the Denver Broncos game before we talk about the Chiefs in general.
Okay, start the clock.
The Broncos are a terrible football team. The Chiefs move the ball pretty well, and that was the most lopsided 11-point win in the history of the league.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no disagreement there. We talked.
I mean, the game wasn't close. No, objectively, at no point was close.
Yeah, it was one of the most dominating 19-8 wins that you'll ever see. That's for sure. No disagreement, man, whatsoever.
So that's it. That's my 2-second take on it. Does that feel pretty accurate to you?
Yeah, that sums it up, man. That sums it up.
I don't know what all you guys said about it on Friday. Probably quite a bit, you know?
We did. What you mean? You didn't listen to the show on your day off? You weren't listening?
No. Do you do that?
No, it's a joke. But no, hell no. I told you I had to try to check out.
As you should. I feel like you're taking a vacation day. You know, your headspace should be somewhere else.
I just think, like, if you had any other job, would you do your job when you weren't there? The answer is obviously no. I'm not going to just listen to you guys do the show. I saw the video stream was working well. That was nice. I think that's it. Other than that, we're squared away. Now someone immediately asking what I got my wife for Mother's Day. I don't have to cover that in this show.
Well, yeah, we already finally got the answer. If you guys were paying attention to Club 610 a couple of clubs ago, we did have your wife in studio. And I finally asked her the question that everybody had been asking. I said, Cody won't tell us, what did Cody get you for Mother's Day? And she went in front of the microphone and she said, look, Cody's life might be an open book, but mine's not. And I think she winked, and that was it. And then that was the end of it.
Did she wink at the end of that sentence?
I don't know. I took it as that. And then that was it. And I said, okay. And we're done.
All right, fair enough. No,
that was the end of it.
She did. I think that was the end of it. The second, and there's almost no doubt about that. Like when you think about it from like the difference between the two of us. We as a show are an open book. I do not think that my wife is as open of a book as me. So, yeah, I feel pretty good about my statement on that end. But you know what had me thinking this weekend? As, we watch the rest of the NFL, and we can talk about it in a minute. But we're trying to make these decisions about what the Chiefs, and I understand. People want to come in here on the show. They wanted to come in on Friday. They want to come in now, and they want to talk about things like the Chiefs' offense being a problem. And I will say that you have first world problems, right? When your offense is still one of the 10 best in the league, you have the best quarterback in the NFL. So I want to offer a simple exercise to, I think, calm some of your problems in general from the offense or what you think about the offense if you're a fan. So 913-586-7610. This is where we need your answer. Or we need your answer over on the video streams, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, wherever. Tell me right now the teams you are 100% sure that when the season ends, you are confident are a better offense than the Chiefs. Because there's two that I'm sure about.
Right away.
And then 49ers in Miami. Those are better offenses. If you're going to try to sow some seed and be like, no, I don't think that Miami offense is, no, that's a lie.
The Dolphins, more than any other team, doesn't mean better football team, but just offense. Yeah, the Dolphins are averaging, offense. I think, 9 points more than the next closest and 14 more points per game than the Chiefs right now.
Averaging 37.2 points per game. That is a full 13 points more per game. 2 full-ass touchdowns more than the Chiefs are scoring now. I think San Francisco's an answer, and I think that by the end of the year, without question, you'll be able to say that Buffalo is a better offense. Those are the only 3 teams I am sure. Maybe Detroit will finish with a better one. Maybe Philly will finish with a better offense. But they haven't looked right for weeks either. Jalen Hurts does not look like the same Jalen Hurts as last year in the early portion of the season. There are only 3 teams I'm willing to definitively say at the end of the year I know for a fact will have a better offense than Kansas City. And one of those teams, I'm telling you last night, I watched get shut out in a half. So, I mean, they're not exactly way better than Kansas City either. I just think that at the end, they have more weapons.
Yeah, it was just a reminder this weekend. It was a reminder of, one, how difficult it is to win football games. And that you're right, the bar that the Chiefs and really all these teams, all the teams you just mentioned there, the bar that all these teams are graded on because you expect them to be at a certain level. And it was a reminder over the weekend what makes the NFL so great and what makes it so challenging if you're trying to pick winners and pick spreads and everything, because you truly don't know how each game is going to go.
49ers lost to a backup quarterback
Absolutely,
yesterday.
yeah. It wasn't just to Cleveland, who has a very, very good defense, by the way.
The best defense in the league.
But, yeah, it wasn't to their it was really to the third-string quarterback, because heading into the season, Dorian Thompson-Robinson was the backup behind Deshaun Watson. P.J. Walker really is their third-string quarterback, so you just can't predict it. I'm with you, though. I think probably if you go and were to listen back to our conversations in late July, right, just the beginning of training camp in St. Joe, we were discussing what this offense could be. And I think we said, like we have very often with Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes, that worst case scenario is like the 8th or 9th under Andy Reid. Even with Alex Smith, it was 11th. And with Patrick Mahomes, you feel pretty safe always saying they're going to finish his top 5. Well, right now they're the 9th best offense in football. And what we just did there with the Niners and the Dolphins and Bills, okay, 1, 2, 3, it is you saying that you still believe the Chiefs will finish as a top 5 offense basically when this season is over. Right now they are still top 10 despite the struggles. It's just a reminder of where things at, by the way, again, in the middle of October and the work that still has to be done for all these teams. The one thing about the Niners in particular, because I said it on Friday, and I still feel this is accurate. I said they're the most all-around complete team in football. Their key is, are they going to be that still come February? Because they have to stay healthy. They've got so many playmakers that are athletic, but also are injury-prone. Deebo Samuel, Christian McCaffrey, their very talented left tackle, Trent Williams. Guess what? All 3 got hurt yesterday. Trent Williams went back in the game, but all 3 got hurt. And so that's the other part of this equation. When you're asking at the end of the season, it's also who's healthiest at the end of the season. And the Chiefs will have other injuries too.
The 49ers have a pretty bad history of being the healthiest at the end of the season.
That's happened how many times for San Francisco?
Like, I think that was, because like even I'm not saying that you're alone, right? I watched this offense and I'm like, ugh. What I had said last week, I think it was last Tuesday, I stand by. This is the worst offense they have ever had under Patrick Mahomes. As it currently sits, this is their worst offense in the full 6 years he's been a starter. They have never been worse than they are right now. They usually score more points. They're more effective. They're more effective on third down. Even saying that, I know that they have the exact same amount of yardage as they had through 6 games last season. They have less points, but they're still moving the ball technically as effectively as they were.
It's the red zone problems.
The red zones have been a problem. They're getting cute down there. That game on Thursday was a mess from that disaster because they took the ball out of Patrick Mahomes' hands 3 different times.
Yeah, 1 and 5 in the red zone.
Crucial moments, and went 1 and 5 in the red zone. They should, and I know they should, have more points in this. That's why when I compare them to other offenses, am I sure at the end of the year they will be worse than Dallas's offense? No. Or the Chargers, or Detroit.
These are all teams ahead of them
Philly.
right now.
These are all teams that score more points than they do right now. And do I think that they are definitively going to be worse at them by week 18 of the regular season? No. The only 3 I'm sure at the end of the year that we scratch this whole thing out are Miami. That is the most home run of all. They're going to be a better offense than the Chiefs this year. They're a worse defense, but they're definitely, they're scoring 37 points a game.
Yeah, their question is, again, can Tua stay healthy throughout, and is their defense able to be good enough to get them there? But right now,
especially
the pace
on the road, where it seems like they're worse.
And people still wonder about the Dolphins in the cold weather months, although I'll point, even though they lost in Buffalo, late in the year, Tua had just gotten back from his concussion injury and all that stuff, and they actually did okay in the snow in Buffalo. They didn't win the game, but they actually performed well. That's always, I think, the holdup for the Dolphins for a lot of people is what happens when they're on a slower turf, basically, and there's snow out, and is that offense nearly as effective?
And I think San Francisco, they've got playmakers at literally all 3 levels. So assuming none of these injuries are season-threatening, which there's no reason to think they are, they have elite playmakers at wide receiver, offensive line, running back, and tight end. That's pretty good. The Chiefs cannot say that about themselves. And I think that that's why I feel better about their offense right now. And then Buffalo, same thing. I just think the combination of Josh Allen, I'm a little, I could probably put myself in the maybe category of that.
Well, they're just Jekyll and Hyde. I mean, here we're in Kansas City, we're talking about, hey, haven't seen the best yet. We've seen actually the best of the Bills' offense. But then the very next week, you can see what happened last night.
They should have lost to the Giants last night.
They're very fortunate. But that also, I mean, this goes for the Chiefs, the Bills, and everything.
Won a game they were supposed to lose.
It's October. You're just trying to find ways to figure your problems out while winning football games so you get to the postseason, so you win your division. And by the time you get to January, and in the Chiefs' case, a lot of times February, you're playing your best football. It's very cliche, but that's what the Chiefs have done so well during this 5-year run that they're on. What they were playing like on October 1st wouldn't have told you they were going to have 3 Super Bowl appearances and win 2 Super Bowl rings. But by the time it matters and other teams have injuries and you make adjustments and you get your bye week to continue to self-scout as they do weekly anyway, they're better at getting them right for the postseason. And that's why you still have faith, really, with any of these teams that have playoff experience. They're all just building up for the postseason. Now, some of the teams that have not been there before, you wonder, right?
Not the Chiefs,
but teams like the Chiefs, I would say Cincinnati, and they're back to 500. We'll talk about them later. Those are teams, they know it's about, for Cincinnati, they got to worry about getting there because of the record, but normally it's about what are you doing in the postseason in particular, because we know that the Chiefs' defense just has allowed them to have this kind of start. I mean, you were going through the numbers of the yardage and comparing it to other teams and where they were a year ago. We also know that because of the defense, this is the best scoring differential they've ever had with Patrick Mahomes through 6
games,
weeks.
Yeah, it is. And that's because of the defense's ability to completely stop everybody, which is a whole other thing we can talk about here in just a second. Meanwhile, tonight, I think ends up being an important game for the division because, one, the Chargers are taking on a very difficult opponent in the Cowboys. The Cowboys, similar to the Bills, very Jekyll and Hyde. Which version of the Cowboys you're going to get this week? Who knows? And we're all just waiting to find out which will be. But if the Chargers lose tonight, they will be 2-3. Coming to Kansas City on a shorter week than the Chiefs, by the way, only by a game, but a full day shorter than the Chiefs, which means if they lose tonight, and they're at home, they lose tonight to the Cowboys. And
hold on, by the way, at home using air quotes, the Cowboys, that's going to be about 60% Cowboys fans tonight.
It'll be more Cowboys fans than Chargers fans.
Absolutely.
But if they lose to the Cowboys tonight, then follow it up with a loss to the Chiefs on Sunday, division over. You can't make up 2.5 games on the Chiefs a third of the way through the season. Too late. They're not going to give up enough I don't care that the Chiefs have a difficult part of their schedule coming up, because they do. They've got the defending NFC champs, who are probably pretty motivated after getting kind of embarrassed in their loss, and the Miami Dolphins, the team currently tied at the top of the AFC record-wise with them, coming up here in the next few weeks. But this is a huge game tonight for the Chargers. Another team, honest to God, I don't know how good they are. They beat the Raiders, but it wasn't impressive. They barely beat the Vikings. They lost to the Titans in overtime and lost to Miami, which now, of course, looks like a very good loss because that felt like a game they were supposed to win, and Miami is a very good football team. I feel like for the first time before, because I want to get the test before the Chiefs, I'd like to just get them in a good test against a good NFC team in which they are favored, I think. Or no, they are underdog in this one.
Slight dogs to the Cowboys.
Slight dogs by a couple of points in this game. I want to see them in a true test. Don't you think that this kind of matters for your opinion on what the AFC West is?
It does.
Like if the Chargers are a real competitor in this thing?
It does a little bit, but this is also a Chargers team that looks very, very similar to what we've seen in the past. You were saying how you can't figure them out. Isn't that the story of the Chargers over the last 5 years?
Like
in particular, the last 2 or 3 under Staley and Justin Herbert. And we joked a couple weeks ago when the Chargers had just lost and we were going through the schedule. It's like, you know what? They're going to rattle off like 3 wins in a row. And they're going to beat the Cowboys on primetime TV tonight. And everybody's going to buy back in nationally on the Chargers. They're going to say, look out, wow. Look how they're playing. They just beat the Chargers. Now they beat the Cowboys. If they just go into Arrowhead next week, all of a sudden, look out, here come the Chargers. And then usually what happens is when they're in that position, Cody, then they go and they lose at Arrowhead to Kansas City. So I'm expecting, 2 weeks ago I said they were going to beat the Cowboys. I'll stick with that. I think the Chargers win tonight against Dallas, and everybody will talk up the Chargers all week. And then hopefully the Chiefs put together one of their best performances. And it's not just a day short. Remember, the Chiefs played Thursday. The Chiefs have multiple days on top of the Chargers here. We talk about bye weeks and taking advantage of that. The Chiefs have 10-day gap, and the Chargers are finishing up this week
to do
tonight.
6 days.
So the Chiefs have that advantage going in. But I do think the Chargers are winning tonight, man. We've seen this play out so many times. You know what the narrative is if they beat the Cowboys tonight. No, man, they go and beat the Chiefs in Arrowhead.
Well,
and
then they got the same number of losses. They're all the same.
So that's where this is trending, and I love it. By the way, I actually want the Chargers to win tonight. As dumb as that sounds, I do. I really do. Because
you don't want the more motivated, more hungry, desperate Chargers.
I kind of want the Chargers to win tonight, just because I think we've seen it. It's kind of fun and enjoyable to me. It's maybe like sick to some other people, but it's fun for me to see the build up.
You like him to like get built up and then get knocked out? That is kind of sycophant stuff. That is just so mean.
I enjoy the build up and the overreaction, and so they'll beat the Cowboys tonight, and everybody will talk them up, and then the Chiefs will put them in their place at Arrowhead Sunday afternoon.
I honestly, at this point now, I'm just rooting for the Chiefs and the Dolphins to win until they play each other. Like, I want them both to win their next few games so that we get to the Germany game. They're both one-loss teams, and this feels like we can do the classic stuff. Potential AFC Championship game preview, the return of Tyreek. Is this for the 1 seed? I like that kind of juice on the line, because to me, that's when the Chiefs have typically played their best. The Chiefs have challenged themselves in those moments to play their best, where when it's like, hey, you better do this if you want to stay on top of the West.
They play up to competition.
Hey, you want to be in these moments. Again, that's like that Broncos game. Again, that game never at any stage, at any point, ever felt close. I know that, like, technically the score was only like 11 points, which is a massive win, by the way, under normal circumstances.
Yeah, they covered a double-digit spread in the NFL.
I know. But dude, it was so ugly. They should have won by 30. Like, that game could have been 27-0 at half.
That's what happens when you go.
They just scored in the red zone.
What happens, when you go 1-5 in the red zone, and you have a fake field goal with your backup tight end behind your backup, not even your backup center, your long snapper. Instead of having your.
So you think the Chargers are going to win tonight?
I do, yeah.
God, I didn't
down to 1.5.
The text line pointing out, they're like, yeah, one day. They're like, four more for the Chiefs. What a massive advantage over the next couple of weeks for them, because they'll get the full bye week before they take on Philly too, which is a nice advantage. And they don't they lose the home game, but Tyreek doesn't get to do the return to Arrowhead stuff. Like, they have the same, they got a jet lag and drive, fly all the way out there and get to Germany and do all this. So even their difficult games have some weirdo circumstances around it, where they're getting the rest advantage against the Chargers, they're getting the rest advantage against the Eagles, and everyone's got to fly all the way out to Germany in the Miami game, which throws things off.
That'll be
feels good for the Chiefs generally.
The travel storyline will be interesting when we get there, because we know Andy Reid, the Chiefs aren't going to leave until last minute. They're not going to leave until the Friday for that game. It'll be interesting to do the Dolphins take the same philosophy. Because so far, I'll be honest, if we've watched any of these London games, if you've gotten up early in the morning, you've noticed that the team that actually is either leaving earlier or, in the Jags case, was already there, has performed better early on in those football games. But the Chiefs are not going to leave until Friday for that Dolphins game. I'll be curious to see if the Dolphins leave earlier in the week, because it has actually mattered so far.
Let's see. Now I didn't realize. Did the Eagles have the bye at the same time as the Chiefs? I appreciate my guy, Mitch Kelly. No, he did. Yeah, okay. Take it back. They'll both be on a bye. That'll be interesting. Travis and Jason spending their bye week together. There's not an advantage there. Apparently, Philadelphia also has their bye
Jason.
week.
I think he'll be spending the bye week with Taylor, man.
Just real quick. So they both appeared on SNL. She just introduced the musical guest, and he did literally one line on a skit about Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift. For someone who has said Travis isn't ever going to age and all these things, does anyone feel like Jason and Travis and Donna, they're all making a bigger concerted effort to beat each other's thing a little bit more? Maybe they kind of I feel like they're spending even more time in each other's stuff than normal. They're planning some group retirement or something at the end of this thing. All of a sudden, I'm starting to get worried. Feels like Travis is really out to support Jason even more than normal.
It was essentially, he got a long bye week. There was no reason for him not to go watch his brother. His brothers come and watched him play.
I feel
he had an opportunity.
I don't remember it happening as much in the early part of their careers. It's happening now. Kind of makes me feel like they're doing this as
we just didn't notice. We didn't notice, and people didn't care.
That might be it. Maybe that's it.
8 years ago, nobody cared if Travis Kelce on his longer, quote unquote, kind of bye week went back to Philadelphia, or in this case, New York, to watch his brother play. Nobody cared. Now, like any massive celebrity, people know exactly where Travis Kelce is at all times. It's creepy, but that's where it's been with celebrities at this level, and he's now in that world.
So you're saying before we didn't realize if he was at Jason's game.
Nobody cared.
It didn't register as being, important.
But now
so
he's around Taylor Swift. Every movement is documented, basically.
Well, and I get it. He gets the 2-for-1 if he goes to watch his brother play, right? He go watch Jason play, and he can go on a couple of dates with Taylor. Makes sense, right? This is a perfect trip. 2-for-1. But I don't know what it is. I just feel like they're both at each other's things more.
I feel like there's something there, maybe.
I feel like more, or maybe they're just showing
they just show her on TV more.
You think she was at all these games before and we didn't realize.
You think this is the first year that Travis Kelce had a suite at Arrowhead that his mom was watching him play football games? I think they show her more. She had her big debut basically Super Bowl week last year. She's now in the Campbell's Chunky Soup commercial. Now that the family is extremely marketable right now, strike while the iron's hot. It's a win-win for everybody involved.
I feel like they've shown Travis, though, before, and Jason, like a few years ago. Like, this goes back, obviously not like 8 years ago, but I think a few years ago, they would show him. It's not like it's a big deal, though. They would just, hey, big brother's in the house for the game tonight, or, something like that. I feel like they've done.
So you're saying I shouldn't think that Travis and Jason are like, what if we just retire together at the end of the year?
I'm more with you. I feel like something's there. Play each other in the Super Bowl
again. Whoever wins, and then we'll just retire together and go off.
Travis is not retiring this year, though.
I didn't mention in the offseason if they want to both go into Canton at the same time, they both obviously have to retire at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
He's not retiring after this year. Calm down.
That would be crazy.
Good.
Calm down.
Good.
Calm down.
Good. I don't need that in my life.
Jason might not either, unless he wins a ring.
He seems like he's been way closer, and he's a few years older than Travis.
He's playing at a high. He is, but he's playing at an extremely high level.
Yeah, but he talks about the same things that Travis eventually talks about, which is just like if you watch. I don't know if you watch this, but the Kelce documentary on Amazon, Jason talks a little bit about some of the things you would expect football players to talk about, which is, my kids get older, I'd like to be able to walk or think or live my life. Man's had dozens of surgeries. Ails, like you worry about, like especially direct hits when you play at that position.
It's way more likely that if Jason Kelce wins the Super Bowl, he retires, than it is that if Travis wins another ring, he retires. Way more likely.
I feel like you just brought that into the universe, though, Cody. Like, nobody was thinking about this until you just brought this up.
And now everyone's like, oh, my God,
And now it's like, maybe that actually isn't. I mean, if Jason plays another year, maybe after next year, Travis will be, 35? Who knows how the injuries, who knows how his health continues to go over the next year and a half?
It might be because I was talking to someone who covers the Chiefs over the weekend, too, and he described one day. He literally just described one day at training camp when he watched Travis Kelce get out of the car, and he said, man, he borderline was moving like Willie Roaf. And that was maybe the worst sentence I've ever heard. I was like, what? Why would you even say that? Maybe just got dinged up in practice the day before, It's just a tough day physically. I was like, I don't like hearing that at all. Oh, God.
Recovery's
of course, he's coming off of a massive game, which he had like 100 yards receiving in the first half and moved just... doesn't matter how dinged up it seems like Travis Kelce is going into a game. Just seems like he's right back into it.
You just introduced that into the universe, Cody. I'm telling you.
They're tight. And as we mentioned before, he now has like a off the field life he's very invested in right now in his dating life with Taylor Swift. And he has a massive new source of income he didn't have a year ago, which is his podcast.
I don't think so. The future acting career stuff I'll give you,
and more commercials,
but
all of it.
The podcast to me has no bearing on him retiring. Like the income from the podcast, I understand he's making a lot of money. I don't think he was thinking, man, I got to play one more year. I'm just not going to have any money when I retire. No. So like I don't think.
No, but it does soften the blow a little.
I think it's more about like he has been open about he wants to do more scripted stuff. He wants to do commercials and acting and things like. No, he could do that at age 39 the same way he can at age 34.
The one thing that maybe that'll help us though. Easier to get commercials if you're actively in the league. Easier to get that work now.
But if you want to act in movies and TV shows, you need some more time.
Yeah.
And also dating arguably the most famous person on the planet helps your chances of those things coming up as well.
I mean, I think you would just want Travis Kelce involved in any project you're working on right now because... And by the way, did you see all those videos of the people doing this Taylor Swift concert? It's exactly what we were talking about in the air. It was just people like with light up bracelets all hanging out.
Movie theater?
Giant party movie theater. I was like,
we had the conversation. Was it you? Was it you? Or
I was like, is it really going to be like that? And you guys were like, no, I think so.
I think you said people were going to be sitting down. I'm like, no, people are going to be standing up. They're going to be quiet.
They were like dancing in front of the little
their own
pit
concert. Yeah. People were wearing their friendship bracelets. Sold out. I think they made, was it $39 million or was it 69? I can't remember. $1 million on the opening night already.
Yeah, they made over $100 million. It's like the most successful concert.
Insane.
Series of all
Did you take your kids?
No. It's 3 hours long. I'm not bringing my kid.
Oh, jeez.
My daughter asked to go see it. It's 3 hours long. 3 hours? And just when it comes
you
to
leave
like
early.
Netflix.
That actually seems like one where you could just get by with leaving early. It's not the same as leaving a movie.
We watched some.
Yeah, and you just
Nicely
leave.
done, everybody.
There you go. All right, coming up next, though, something that Pete Sweeney pointed out over at Arrowhead Pride about the rest of the NFL. And one thing the NFL wants to do, and it would be going way too far. I'll tell you what it is next.
Cody and Gold.
People always call us like a bleak show. The idea of you having to come on the air the next day and being like, Cody died in that blimp crash is hilarious to me. That's objectively funny.
Brought to you by Gann Asphalt and Concrete. For asphalt, concrete, and parking lot maintenance, Gann Asphalt and Concrete. One contractor, all things parking lot. Trusted in Kansas City since 1994. Online at GANNasphalt.com.
One of my favorite times of the year has arrived. That is football season, but it also means we're getting a little bit closer where you got to start thinking about your boat. You got to start thinking about winterizing that boat. So you need to let Midwest Marine Boat Company's elite part and service department take care of your boat so you're all ready to go for next year. Midwest Marine Boat Company will winterize your boat, shrink wrap your boat. They can help with storing your boat. Midwest Marine Boat Company still has all the great savings, though, I've been telling you about. When it comes to the 2023 models, you want to take advantage of those savings before manufacturer prices change. You know that's going to happen. You do not want to be left out and missing this great opportunities. And for the rest of September, they're still going to offer that $2,000 trade-in allowance on all Bennington pontoons and tri-tunes. Midwest Marine Boat Company, home of the largest indoor showroom in the Kansas City area. I was amazed still when I walked in there for the very first time. You will be as well at 13800 South Highway 71 in Grandview. Midwest Marine Boat Company. We take pride in your fun.
At Grainger, we're for the ones who specialize in saving the day and for the ones who've mastered the art of keeping business moving. We offer industrial-grade supplies for every industry with same-day pickup and next-day delivery on most orders, all backed by real people ready to help. So you can get the right answers and products right when you need them. Call quickgrainger.com or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hi, this is Scott Trout of Cordell & Cordell. There are a lot of great dads out there. Sometimes those dads get divorced. For more than 30 years, we have represented men in divorce, confronting the pitfalls that could devastate your finances or harm your family relationships. While every situation is different, our goal is to get the best outcome for you and your kids. Visit CordellCordell.com to take the first step.
Schedule an appointment with one of Cordell & Cordell's Missouri or Kansas attorneys. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. CordellCordell.com.
Paid for by Cordell & Cordell.
Attention taxpayers. If you or your business owe the IRS back taxes or have years of unfiled tax returns, the IRS has green-lighted billions of dollars in tax relief to those facing financial hardship through its tax relief initiatives. If you have a delinquent tax problem and possibly facing wage garnishment, liens, levies, audits, or already in a payment plan, you may now qualify for significant relief. Qualifying and enrolling in this program could stop all collections, settle your tax problem, and may even reduce what you owe by up to 99%. Call the hotline at Tax Help USA to see if you qualify and receive your free tax assessment by dialing 800-210-1005. If you or your business owe back taxes to the IRS or state, you can now get the help that you need during these hard economic times. Get your free tax assessment to see what you qualify for by dialing 800-210-1005. 800-210-1005. That's 800-210-1005.
If you're hiring, it can feel like you're trying to find a needle in a haystack. You can hope the right person comes along, or you can just use ZipRecruiter. And now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. In fact, ZipRecruiter has helped a lot of business owners find their needle in a haystack, like Marco, president of operations at Telly Tires and Auto Centers. Because Telly Tires has grown a lot in the last few years, Marco needed to hire everyone from a receptionist to a store manager to a head mechanic.
ZipRecruiter helps me find all the right people, even the most difficult jobs to fill. ZipRecruiter helps me keep my business running.
Take it from Marco and millions of other businesses who've used ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter can help you find the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/RADIO. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online? Just go to hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and trusted generic alternatives to the name brands at up to 95% off. That's right, get generic for Viagra, the same active ingredient as brand name Viagra, but for 95% less. It's the same medication, still prescribed by a licensed medical provider, but with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. hims.com/joy.
Is your old boiler making some less than positive noises? It could be on the way out. Why wait until it gets ice cold outside to find out it's going to be ice cold inside? Up here, winter doesn't play, and neither do Navien boilers. You know Navien for their industry-leading tankless water heaters, but Navien also offers high-efficiency boilers built with quality materials, a compact design, and a strong warranty. Take advantage of a federal tax credit of up to $600. Take that chill outside with Navien Boilers, the ultimate heating and comfort experience. Find your local Navien boiler installer at boilercomfort.com.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online? Go to hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, and the process is 100% online. To start your free online visit, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy.
I'm Tony Kornheiser, and this is my show. What, you expecting something different? Whether you're looking for deep, insightful dives into the day's top sports stories, that's why we have guests, right, Nigel? Or simply how to get change for 100, you'll find it on the Tony Kornheiser Show. From football picks from the best prognosticators in the business, including a monkey, to real-time baseball playoff analysis, to traffic in an area where you don't live. We got you covered. My friends come on, and you know them. Listen on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
The 610 Sports Radio phone line is brought to you by Onder Law Injury Lawyers. Visit getjim.com.
Chiefs coverage brought to you by Andy's Frozen Custard. Visit eatandys.com to find the location nearest you. Top your day with a smile.
With a smile at Andy's, top your day. With a smile at Andy's, top your day.
I love s'mores, so I made our new Andy's Frozen Custard S'mores Jackhammer just for fall.
This is how we do it.
Back here on Cody and Gold, hanging out on a Monday. I guess it's still a red Monday, kind of, right? It's just
I think
weird.
so.
Everything's thrown off a little bit with the late or the short week
a red
last
Monday.
week, but now it's a red Monday, right? Of course, Red Mondays here on the show, brought to you by the Xfinity 10G. Get a reliable home network so everyone can work, stream in game at the same time. We'll get to the trash of the day coming up in about 15 minutes or so. Also, a reminder, it is a normal Monday, so Andy Reid at noon today, the only place you can hear from Chiefs head coach Andy Reid is right here on 610 Sports Radio and Cody and Gold. Pete Sweeney, who filled in for about an hour on Friday, we had a good time. He was co-hosting from the 11 o'clock hour on Friday. He, part of their Arrowhead Pride coverage, put out a column late last night about what we saw this weekend in the NFL, kind of what we were discussing about, hey, where can this offense get? But more importantly, bigger picture, seeing other teams falter this weekend. And some of the teams that we still think are the best in the league, and certainly one team in particular that everybody has said is the best, and they
Including
all
us.
lost. Yeah, they got losses this weekend. It's a reminder of just where things stand and that the Chiefs are right there with everybody else, if not above.
The way Pete put it was, this week in the NFL was a good reminder that you root for the best team in the league. And it's hard to argue after a week like that, because I'll say this, even last week, and I don't think I should change my opinion on 1 week, even last week we were on this show saying the San Francisco 49ers are clearly the best team in the NFL. And, you know, it's okay to say that as of right now they're the best team in the NFL, and it's okay to say that and to accept that level of responsibility and then not think that the Chiefs are a bad team still, because that's obviously not what we think. This week was humbling for everyone. Bills should have lost. Miami looked as good as they had, but we know a couple of weeks ago they got embarrassed. We've seen the Ravens, also the Steelers last week. a team that neither of us think is any good. It's just like across the league, and the 49ers losing to a third-string quarterback in kind of embarrassing fashion. The Eagles losing a game that feels like they had no business losing. It was just a very quick reminder of like, if you are down on the Chiefs for some particular reason, go through right now. And I think because of their history, you can confidently say you root for the best team in the league. Take out, I understand, this individual statistics part of it. Because like even Miami, right, who's putting up way more points than Kansas City. They're also giving up twice as many. The 49ers have, once again, because of who they are, by the nature of this, injury problems. You know what frustrates me about the 49ers is we warned them about this. Stop playing Christian McCaffrey up 30 in fourth quarters of games in which you're leading just to give him carries. Because, well, eventually Christian McCaffrey could get hurt.
Yeah, no,
he could have an oblique injury.
Yeah, now look, I have no idea if there's actually proof behind the fact that the oblique injury that he suffered in this game has anything to do with the prior game's carries. I have no idea.
I just think every time you give him a carry, it's a risk of an injury just because that's his career's been. So
but he didn't get hurt in the 40.
I know.
He got hurt in a competitive game in the first half in yesterday's loss. No, look, just like you said, not to overreact after 1 week. Answering your question, can you say today the Chiefs are the best team in football? I think the difference is now 3 teams can say that. I thought a week ago only 1 team could say that.
And the Chiefs can make that argument. They can stand up and say we're the best team.
I think now there's an argument for probably 3 teams.
Not 4?
That can say that. I think it's Kansas City, it's the Philadelphia Eagles, and it's the San Francisco 49ers.
Oh, no Miami and no Detroit, huh?
Not Miami. Detroit.
They're 5-1.
Yeah.
They've beaten the Chiefs. They've beaten one of the other teams you just said is the best team in
without Chris
football.
Jones and Travis Kelce.
Yeah.
If there was ever a game in an NFL season, the Lions don't have to apologize, but if there's ever a game to put an asterisk by when we're talking later in the year and we're like, wow, 5-1.
I mean, if they face each other in the Super Bowl, I think we'll pretty safely hit
that's fine with me. Let's do
they're
it.
different teams
Let's do
than
that.
we saw
That'd be
before.
great. That'd be incredible. Sign me up for that.
I'd take them over
Chiefs,
a few
Lions.
other matchups.
No, look.
They have not played murderer's row schedule.
The key for the 49ers is, like any team, staying healthy. And now they've hit the injury bug, and it cost them a game. No team was going 17-0, though. So, like, it's just the way it happened was stunning. If I would have told you the first loss of the year for the 49ers was to Philadelphia in a couple weeks, people wouldn't view it a certain way. It's because it was to the Browns, who, by the way, are right in the thick of things at 3-2 in their division. So the Browns aren't like, we're acting like the Browns are the Carolina Panthers. The Browns weren't 0-5 heading into yesterday's game.
No, they have maybe arguably the best defense in the NFL.
The Browns had their third string quarterback, though, but then Deebo Samuel and Christian McCaffrey got hurt. So, no, my opinion overall on the Niners did not change. It's just a reminder that they have guys that are very much injury prone. And when that happens, like anything, if I took 2 of the star players away from the Chiefs, kind of like week 1, Chris Jones, Travis Kelce, it might cause you to lose the football game.
Well, it's just the more evidence you get, the more you can understand where problems both arose or didn't. Like, let's take the Eagles loss, for instance. The Jets are salty. They're a scrappy bunch because now that they've gotten over the initial just like punch to the absolute stomach they got at the beginning of the season of Aaron Rodgers, now they're doing what they had to do last year to stay around 500, which is play elite level defense. They frustrated the hell out of Jalen Hurts. Between Patrick Mahomes and Jalen Hurts, I think they picked him off 5 times. They got Mahomes twice.
It's funny, though, because
Jalen Hurts 3.
A lot of people thought before the season that the Jets, in their tough schedule out of the gate, would be 4-2 or 500. And without Aaron Rodgers, they're 500.
Yeah.
Like, that's the part that's a little funny. I remember before the season we were going through and we're like, can they at least be 4-2 or 3-3? And the Jets are sitting at 3-3. The difference is, I think we still know at some point, no matter how great the defense is, your quarterback's going to have to go out there and win you games. Win you games, and nobody believes Zach Wilson can do
No, honestly, it's the best case scenario for the Chiefs if they somehow sneak into the postseason. Hell, even win a game because they're just good defensively and muddy something up.
Unless you actually believe this Aaron Rodgers coming back.
Oh, are you buying into that?
No.
You see, people were, hold on. Oh, God, I know that.
So he was walking around without crutches, right?
He was throwing a football. That's crazy.
On the field. It is remarkable, but I still do not believe he will be available to play, even if it's in January now.
I was looking for the clip of them.
And don't give me the Cam Akers example of coming back after 5 months or whatever, or 3 months, whatever it was. Cam Akers was 23 years old. Aaron Rodgers is 45 now. He's like 40. But like
it's a bit of a difference.
Like, that there's a little bit of a difference between Cam Akers and Aaron Rodgers. But no, I think that goes back to the attention-seeking stuff from Aaron Rodgers.
I think just now, because we're a third of the way through the NFL schedule, right? It's a little more than a third of the games because of bye weeks or whatever, but 6 weeks of the 18 weeks we're through. And the more I really pay attention to the Chiefs' schedule, the more everything that's happened is almost completely explainable to play and be like, perfect. This all makes sense, and they're 5-1. Like you mentioned, against Detroit, they're without their two of their three best players, Chris Jones and Travis Kelce. They lost in a close game in which they made some mistakes late against another 5-1 team. Pretty understandable. You would lose that game without two of your three best players. They beat a good Jacksonville team by 8 points on the road. They murdered one of the worst teams in football. They beat a very difficult defense in the Jets in a close game, but a game that they still, I thought, had control of for 80% of it, only let it slip there a little bit in the second half. Beat Minnesota without any real problem, beat Denver without any real problem. Yeah, that sounds like, based on what those teams have done through 6 games of the season, kind of what I should expect. I like when the NFL just humbles everybody, though. I think Nick Wright's thing has been every time somebody's gotten prematurely crowned, they just get knocked down, right. Which I think that maybe it's a bit of a stretch. I don't think the Lions ever got crowned after week 1. But I mean, for the teams that are Miami, unstoppable, immediately lose to the Bills. Now the Bills are unstoppable. Well, they lost the game right after that, then nearly lost to the Giants. Then no one's beaten the 49ers. They lose to a third-string quarterback, right? So it is pretty humbling as a league, which is why I don't apologize for last Thursday's win against Denver when you beat a team by 11 without even scoring 20 points. You didn't even manage to get to 20 points, and you still won by double digits.
Yeah, again, this is the conversation we've had for many, many years, that this is not a team that typically is going to consistently go and blow out football teams. But again, blowing out teams by NFL standards, to me, is winning by 11, which is what the Chiefs did. This isn't college football, where you got 25-point spreads and you're expected to beat a team by 3 touchdowns that stinks. It's the NFL. If you beat anybody really by more than 7 points, it's actually, in the NFL, a pretty wide margin of victory when majority of games are decided between 3 to 7 points. So if you're winning by double digits over anybody in the league, I don't care who you're playing, that's really impressive. That is blowing somebody out.
I mean, they covered, like you said, they covered a double-digit spread. So, I mean, that part of it certainly makes you feel better. Meanwhile, the NFL's trying to do something, Gold. I knew the second I saw this headline that you would not like this.
No, this is terrible. I saw this. I woke up. I was excited.
Terrible.
It is terrible. I saw this, and, I've been enjoying, by the way, the international games in the morning. It's nice right away. Wake
up, a little football.
There's football on at 8:30. I love it. And we know the Chiefs will be playing in Germany in a couple weeks. There's 2 Germany games. The Chiefs are the first one, and then the last one is crappy Patriots-Colts, I think, is the second week, the following week.
I'm watching that.
The Chiefs game, of course, is in Frankfurt. But there was a report that the NFL is considering the idea of one day, so it's very vague, but one day playing the Super Bowl in the British capital, as in where they've been doing all these London games, playing in the same stadium. This sucks. Listen, first of all, you want to have more international games. The next CBA, you want to add an additional week and then add an additional bye week and play games in South America or in Japan or something. Fine. I get it. Money, 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 money. You don't mess with the Super Bowl, all right? You don't mess with the Super Bowl, Cody, for a couple reasons. Number one, would the English Premier League bring their championship and play it in North America in the United States?
No.
Hell no. So why are we taking our crown jewel, the Super Bowl Sunday, and moving it to London, even if it's once? Not to mention, we've got traditions. We've got routine. We all know what Super Bowl Sunday is. People are lining up. They got their pre-order of their barbecue. They're going to Jack Stack to pick up their ribs and brisket, pounds of brisket. They're going to pick up their wings.
And you're bothered by the idea that it'd be 2 o'clock?
1:30 kickoff? What are we doing, a brunch now? Having some tea as well? Are we going to change the whole thing?
That's the time you normally watch football.
Give me a break.
You watch football noon all the time.
But we don't have people over. We don't have 20 people over. We don't have wings and just stuff our faces for 5 hours before kickoff. We don't have way too much pregame coverage of crappy coverage before the game. Look, that's what we're used to now.
This is money.
I don't want 9 a.m. Super Bowl coverage basically being 4 hours from kickoff. We're gonna just bump everything to a brunch? No.
What do you have, by the way, just to start, what the hell do you have against brunch?
Because it's
brunch
not
is
my
fantastic.
Super Bowl, man.
Breakfast food, day drinking, what?
No.
Everyone should leave brunch out of this.
But it's not what we do on Super Bowl Sunday. It's not what we do on Super Bowl Sunday. And for those saying, It is 8:30 in the morning. No, the kickoff would not be 8:30. It would be, the earliest would be 1:30 in the afternoon.
They put the game on at like 8 o'clock at night in London, which would be like 2 o'clock in the afternoon here.
I hate the idea. We know it's all about money. I don't like it. And you're right. Most people are like, you're never going to go to a Super Bowl anyway. I get that argument, but again, it's the time zone problem for me. Not to mention, why are we moving that event over there? Play more international games. Do not take the Super Bowl. Go play the crappy Pro Bowl over there, right? Give them the whole entire preseason. You know what? Pack up from St. Joe and send them to London for a month. I don't care.
This is you hating American capitalism, my friend. Bad news. We have tapped out the absolute maximum popularity of this sport in this country. They got 90% of people. They got hundreds of millions of people tuning into NFL games every single damn day. And they're like,
play more
so there's a
international.
whole lot of people in the world, and we want all of them.
Yep.
That's what this is about.
Of course.
They think if they put a Super Bowl overseas in a time zone in which they could enjoy it properly. Because think about this. Anybody who's watching this game, let's say you are an NFL fan who currently lives in London or Germany or other parts of the country. Your current watch time of that game would be like 2 in the damn morning. And they don't want to watch it at 2 in the morning. They think if they just one time made American people watch the Super Bowl at 1:30 or 2, a time they objectively already watch football on Sundays pretty consistently.
Not Super Bowl.
That they would be able to. Look, I'm just telling you how they're getting to the end game here.
Well, I know
and by the
why
way,
they
the
wanna
second
do
the
it.
NFL announces that they want to do something, we're all admitting, right, that just means that they are like 70%, 80% of the way to doing it anyway?
So they're not going to do this until at least the next CBA. So and they also map out these Super Bowls. So we're probably a decade from now, 7+ years at least from this happening. And I know why they want to do it, Cody. I don't disagree with you whatsoever. They know that where's the next new $1 billion of revenue coming? And it's not coming from the U.S. because the latest was the sports betting money. Now it is international. I'm fine with expanding international regular season games. I understand that that's where this is trending.
Sure.
Just don't mess with my Super Bowl. Don't do that whatsoever. And someone will point out that, hey, before the 1990s, the Super Bowl was not played at 6 p.m. or 5 Central, 6 Eastern. It used to be played earlier. I think since 1990s or something, they switched it.
Okay.
My lifetime, all right? Since I was born, though, it's been
I didn't watch the Super Bowl in the 70s, so I don't have any concept
It's been at
of that.
5 o'clock. Do not give them the Super Bowl. I hate this. I really, really do, man. And you're right. We watch games at noon every day. It's not the same thing. You and I both know there's this build-up. Not to mention, you know why? Maybe 15 years ago I wouldn't have cared because my team was never in the Super Bowl anyway. Our guys are in the Super Bowl pretty frequently these days.
Maybe these
like Drew doesn't care. Cincinnati playing in one Super Bowl. They're not going to mini Super Bowl. Drew won't care. The Chiefs are going to be in a lot of these.
Maybe Skyfox on Twitch might be right. He said maybe that this is all part of the American business model. They're worried. This is the most called in sick day of the year. They need their people back. Putting this game at 2 means they might actually show up to work the next day.
Well, also, too,
we don't get a call in sick, so I got to work either way.
There's another side of this where every single Super Bowl that's been played is in warm weather or indoors. Tottenham Stadium, outdoors. Wembley Stadium, outdoors. You'd be playing February weather.
I like a good outdoor. Good, fine. I don't care. What's February like in London?
Well, it's cold.
Very cold.
Fine. I don't
It's a lot
mind.
like here, probably.
I think we always make a big deal to be like, weather might impact this game. Good. Weather impacts football all the time. Fine. I don't care. Great. I hope it does. We don't stop it just because it's raining during a Super Bowl. It can be cold. It'll be fine. Actually helps teams like the Chiefs who have to play in cold weather occasionally versus teams they get to just, sit in sunny weather all the time.
My guess is also, Drew, if one of these stadiums ever would be allowed to have it in London, my guess is they would have to require a $200 million renovation to add a retractable roof or something. You know what I mean?
Probably.
They
probably do it.
Of course they would. I just think there's no way that the biggest sporting events in these other countries that they would choose to bring it over here. We get exhibition games for Manchester United in the U.S. You think they're going to give us the English Premier League final? No chance.
Never. They do international games, but those are friendlies. They don't even count.
I guess you know what I mean. The EPL doesn't technically have a final. It's just whoever fit.
Yeah.
It would be,
Champions League.
Champions League. Thank you. You get the idea.
Maybe.
They're not going to give us, they wouldn't even give us like the FA Cup final, okay? That's just between like the England team.
That would be the comparison, yeah.
And that's not even like, that's England's championship for just like UK, Wales, right? So, like, that's just we're giving one country our championship. The FA Cup championship would be like that. And no, I don't think
someone says, didn't they play outdoors in New York? Yeah, and they're never doing the Super Bowl at MetLife again because
that was a long time ago.
They almost had complete disaster because of the weather. Yeah, that's not happening again.
Yeah, I don't think they're.
The only positive I can see from this is what you and others have mentioned, which is, hey, it's great. Game's over by 6 o'clock, and you got the rest of your night, and you don't feel like you're the next day you're right back at work immediately. I don't care.
Or you can really time off.
I don't care though. I want my 5 p.m. Super Bowl start. The build up. You get a little nervous, a little antsy. That's part of it now. When the Chiefs are in it, you get nervous. The whole day, you get a little nervous. It's a whole thing. You got people coming over, and we all know you just eat all day. You just eat all day. I don't want to start that at 9 a.m. That's all.
Fair enough.
Would they incorporate any British brands in their commercials?
I mean, probably.
I don't know.
That'd be interesting.
I don't know. I mean,
come and shop over here at your local. It's like, we can't.
I will say this. We could not incorporate English food just because it was there. It's not a...
I'm not having hot tea before
fish and chips
before my football game.
I'm not going to eat bangers and mash for lunch.
Get out of here. All right, let's get into the trash of the day.
Trash of the day.
This lady would want oysters available on the Super Bowl spread. You guys see this? We didn't get to it on Friday. I wanted to, but we ran out of time. That there was an individual going on a date, and this is not the cheesecake story from Friday. This has to do with someone that got abandoned by their date. Okay, so their date abandoned them, which is a terrible thing to do, by the way. But I'll admit, this was questionable behavior.
Beyond
she
questionable.
Ordered 48 oysters, and her date left. She was in Atlanta, Fontaine's Oyster House. I think it's a pretty well-known place in Atlanta. She was there with a date, and she ordered multiple dozen, 4 dozen of the oysters. They cost around $15 a dozen. And basically, she just kept ordering and eating them, which is an extremely impressive amount of oysters to eat. Extremely impressive.
How are you not, ill?
Well, her date just said, all right, I'm out, and left. After the oyster, she had crab cakes, potatoes, and washed everything down with lemon drop martinis. I mean, she was hungry. She was hungry. The bill, by the way, $184.
So
she was running up the tab on her date anyway. That's a little messed up.
That might have been the goal from the get-go.
That's a little messed up.
They were supposed to, it was a drinks date.
Yeah, drinks only.
Drinks date, and she's ordering $184. What kind of, no amount of drinking is doing that unless the date's going incredibly well and you're both drinking and all these things there. I can't believe she posted this thinking that this guy was going to come off as the bad guy. She posted this, when she posted this, she thought, this guy's going to come off like a jerk. He ditched me in the middle of the date. I can't believe he would leave me with this bill. Leave you with it? You ate 48 oysters and crab cakes and a side of bread on a single date. There's no way I'm on the hook for that. I honestly, kudos to this man. It would be very difficult in that moment to choose to leave them with that bill and to leave that date cold. But kudos to this man for being like, no.
So
I'm absolutely not. I think he should have maybe just left cash for his glass of wine or whatever. I don't think
I wouldn't have left the date. I certainly would have been uncomfortable. I would have known that this is it. This is the last time we're meeting. At one point, though, he excused himself, went to the bathroom, and just never came back. She texted him to say, running out on a tab is crazy. He responded, I offered to take you out for drinks. You ordered all that food. He said, I can cash out the total for the drinks. Basically, I'll reimburse you for the drinks, but the food, you're on your own. And she left $11 cash. She got criticized for that. And then she claimed $15 on a card.
Show it.
As well.
Show it. $11 is a weird amount to leave in cash. I don't know why you wouldn't just leave the entire tip on your card at that point.
$184 for oysters is absurd, too.
Oysters? I like oysters, right? I get that they're not for everybody.
Once in my life.
You had them once, you said?
Once in New Orleans.
I'm surprised.
It was because I was in New Orleans. I was there it was 2012 KU Final Four. I was there for a week. And I'm like, if there's anywhere for me to have them, I guess I'll have them while I'm in New Orleans. I went to dinner with somebody else. She wanted them as well. And so I'll do this. It's kind of a peer pressure thing in the moment there. And
not for you?
So gross.
Not for you? Gross. Just one oyster?
No, I ate 3. Dude, I was so uncomfortable and miserable. And I didn't put any Tabasco or anything on it. Because I don't like Tabasco.
Oh, it's just not.
So I had just
you might like fried oysters.
I just had raw. I mean, I guess they're raw already, but you know what I mean. I just had plain
they
oysters.
Call them raw versus.
Yeah, I had raw oysters, and dude, just the texture and just Oh my God. I mean, I drank so much water and I ordered an alcoholic drink right away. I just needed something to wash it down. It was so nasty.
Someone's asking if that's the vacated Final Four you went to.
No, that one counts. They did not win the title. That was when they lost in the national championship game. But good news is they just won one in 2022. I don't know if you caught that one.
Did not get vacated.
I don't know if you caught that one.
They got off pretty easy. Kansas. Which is fine. I didn't
Someone
think
said maybe he should have
punished.
stayed because oysters. Aphrodisiac or whatever they call it.
Not at 48. I don't care what.
You think it has a reverse effect after?
No. Who the hell would
after
want
a dozen?
Just real quick. Name one person on this planet who would want to have sex after having consumed 48 oysters and crab cake. You can't have sex after that. Impossible. On either side of this equation. I'm not interested on either side.
Oh man.
No chance. The worst part is why I feel even less bad for her is she admitted going into it. This guy had been reaching out to her and was interested in dating her for a while. And she had kind of been putting it off, and then she just got bored. She's like, screw it. So essentially, she's just like, I'll go on a date with this guy because free drinks. Why not?
Well, free food.
She was not interested in it all of a sudden.
Exactly.
She's running up a $200 oyster tax.
Her intentions were not pure.
This guy was nice. It sounds like took her to a very nice restaurant in a popular oyster house or something down there. And she took advantage of the situation. He called her bluff back.
Yeah, good.
And she paid for it.
Good.
At least it wasn't Cheesecake Factory.
God.
I'll pick up a slice of chocolate mousse on the way home.
That's right.
That's the trash of the day. Coming up next, though, we'll take a look at the Chiefs and where they're at defensively and whether or not at one point one of these other areas of the Chiefs can overlap the other. Plus, the NFL loves doing one thing, and Cody says they need to stop. We'll tell you what it is next.
Chiefs fans, it's Jawan Taylor. Don't miss Cody and Gold weekdays starting at 10 on 610 Sports Radio.
Brought to you by Gann Asphalt and Concrete. For asphalt, concrete, and parking lot maintenance, Gann Asphalt and Concrete. One contractor, all things parking lot. Trusted in Kansas City since 1994. Online at GANNasphalt.com.
Need a new pharmacy? Hy-Vee makes it easy to transfer your prescriptions. Just bring in your prescription bottle, receipt, or label, and we'll take care of the rest, making sure all your records are transferred from your old pharmacy. It's that easy. And Hy-Vee makes it easy to refill your prescriptions too, with Repeat Refills, our automatic refill service. Plus, Hy-Vee accepts thousands of insurance plans and can answer your Medicare Part D questions. Let the helpful pharmacist at Hy-Vee help you make the switch today. Restrictions may apply. See your local Hy-Vee pharmacy or Hy-Vee.com for details.
Hey, it's Kling. I always enjoy my time shopping at Hy-Vee, but I also play a little game with myself and seeing if I could rack up more fuel savers just by swiping that Hy-Vee Fuel Saver card. But there's even more. Introducing the all-new Hy-Vee Perks membership, a free and easy upgrade to your Fuel Saver card, exciting new advantages like exclusive member-only pricing on hundreds of items every day. To start earning the all-new benefits or to enroll for the first time, just go to hi-v.com/perks and upgrade your card. Hy-Vee Perks, the best grocery value in town.
Get a new car at a used car price during our 2023 surplus sale. I'm Jeff Davis, owner of Volkswagen Lease Summit. We have huge discounts on all remaining 23 Volkswagen models.
Get up to $4,000 off the 23 Taos, $5,000 off the 23 Tiguan, $6,000 off the 23 Atlas, and up to $10,000 off the ID4 EV.
Get our lowest prices of the year at the #1 VW dealer in the Midwest. Visit VWLeaseSummit.com.
Claim based on 2022 VW retail reports. Financing through VCI OAC.
Tailgate season is turkey season. Score a touchdown with U.S. soy-fed turkey. Versatile, tasty, and truly different. Turkey can be used for succulent sliders, killer kebabs, championship chili, or even brilliant burn-ins. Explore all the recipes at tailgatewithturkey.com. And while you're there, register for the ultimate game day tailgate pack with premium prizes like local tabletop griddle, Yeti cooler, portable keg, and more valued at nearly $2,000. You'll be the pride of the parking lot. Turn up your tailgate, KC, at tailgatewithturkey.com.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6986. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. There is zero risk to you. If we can't reduce your tax debt, then you pay nothing. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have a 5-star rating on Google and Yelp and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6986. That's 800-575-6986. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
At Grainger, we're for the ones who specialize in saving the day and for the ones who've mastered the art of keeping business moving. We offer industrial-grade supplies for every industry with same-day pickup and next-day delivery on most orders, all backed by real people ready to help. So you can get the right answers and products right when you need them. Call quickgrainger.com or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hi, this is Scott Trout of Cordell & Cordell. There are a lot of great dads out there. Sometimes those dads get divorced. For more than 30 years, we have represented men in divorce, confronting the pitfalls that could devastate your finances or harm your family relationships. While every situation is different, our goal is to get the best outcome for you and your kids. Visit CordellCordell.com to take the first step.
Schedule an appointment with one of Cordell & Cordell's Missouri or Kansas attorneys. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. CordellCordell.com.
Paid for by Cordell & Cordell.
It's time for the Fall Haul at Northern Tool & Equipment. Get your hands on tough tools at prices that are tough to ignore. Got plans? Cancel them. Trucks in the shop? Borrow someone else's. Don't like saving money? Right. So head to the Fall Haul at Northern Tool. Back up the truck for the season's biggest event and save on generators, power tools, trailers, and more. Shop in-store or at northerntool.com. We're made for this.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. 120,000 miles of night drives, daily commutes, and who knows how many.
Are we there yet?
Through countless fixes, elbow grease, and a new radiator, you kept your ride alive. With eBay Motors, you have over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Hustle up, we've got 8 more floors to go before lunch.
Sarusha's window washing business is reaching new heights.
Wipe, and let's roll.
They need more certified cleaners to keep online reviews crystal clear.
Team, I know we're hustling, but watch for streaks. Candace, can you give me a hand over here?
Indeed can help them hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Our hiring platform instantly connects you with quality candidates, and you can schedule and conduct virtual interviews right from the Indeed dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Kelley Blue Book is the one-stop shop for pricing, fixing, selling, and instant cash offering. Instant cash offer is exactly what it sounds like. An official offer to buy or trade your car. Just enter your VIN or license plate, answer a few questions about your car's history, and what kind of condition it's in. In minutes, you'll receive an offer to sell or trade your car that you can be sure is fair. Then choose a dealer to purchase your car and schedule a time to meet. For all of the it's, KBB.com.
You're listening to 610 Sports Radio from the Max Motors Studios.
Hey, it's Travis Kelce.
This is Taylor Swift.
You're listening to the official broadcast partner of the Kansas City Chiefs, 610 Sports Radio.
KCSP Kansas City, WDAF HD2 Liberty, always live on the free Odyssey app.
$11 o'clock hour here on a Red Monday. Cody and Gold, Alex Gold, Cody Tapp back with us this week. Drew Nixon producing the show. I believe your birthday's coming up this weekend, right?
Yes, on Saturday.
Your birthday's coming up. He's turning 18. Congratulations. No.
Yes. He is the youngest member of the show.
Yeah, no. I bring it up because your guy, Jamar Chase, of course, said he's always open like 7-Eleven or whatever, right? Last week? That was the thing? Okay.
He wore the necklace?
And he wore the 7-Eleven.
the chain.
The chain. Did you know that? Are you going to buy? 7-Eleven is trying to capitalize on this, and they are selling a replica pennant of this 7-Eleven pennant. It's $120. Is that what you want for your birthday? a 7-Eleven gold chain?
I will say
since
this:
your guy Jamar Chase had it.
I would
That's
wear
a pretty
that.
sweet chain.
I would wear that every day if I got one.
For those on the stream, maybe you can watch.
$120 though. Ugh,
Yeah, 120 for.
steep.
I mean, it's
You're running a real risk showing your entire computer screen.
nothing on. I have.
What's your tab situation?
Yeah. Oh, come on.
Hey, people have made this mistake before. What's your tab situation? Just like how to hide a body or something, you know?
Yeah. No, I have the rundown. I have the text line and the tab for my work email, but the work email's not open. And then it has some of my favorites, and right now they are listed as Bet Prep, NFL wildcard betting from last year, our charity auction site, and there's one tab that says for the Royals a trip to Dongtown, but it's for
the Royals though.
I
like the idea that
it links to our Ray Gun underwear.
Whoa!
If you want to go to our shop, by the way, at Ray Gun's site, the Cody and Gold shop, we do have a trip to Dongtown underwear.
Yeah.
And if you didn't tell them last week,
I did.
The most recent.
I ordered a shirt. It'll be here in the next day or two.
Because of the study we talked about listening to AM radio waves and how it can help you with erectile dysfunction.
That's right.
We do Cody and Gold shirts that say, listen longer, listen harder.
That's right.
So,
I ordered
so
it.
good.
Hopefully I'll have my shirt by Thursday or Friday. I did order it on last Friday, though. You can get it on their website. They're not available in store, so you do have to go to raygunsite.com for those. But
what a site out of curiosity is doing the chain? Like, is it
7-Eleven?
7-Eleven. Yeah.
Oh, 7-Eleven themselves are making it. Okay.
Look, I'm team QT, but I must say, as a child, the 7-Eleven within walking distance from my house growing up, I still have probably gone to 7-Eleven more times in my life just because for the first, 18 years of my life, that's all I went to. But I'm team QT now.
We've had to make adjustmts because we don't have Quick Trip. We didn't have Quick Trip or 7-Eleven in Indianapolis.
What was the go-to gas station there?
Speedway or Circle K / Shell. But
gotcha.
Speedway was the go-to.
Depends on where you live, different places.
I know.
We got Casey's out here now. We have a bunch of locations. They just bought a bunch more Casey's than we have ever had.
7-Eleven pendant, $120.
120. That's all you, man. You could actually rock it too. Like when you're wearing one of those hoodies you wore the other week, you could rock that perfect. Wear that with your Joe Burrow jersey.
That's right.
I just like that he went to his jeweler and he's like, "Make me this necklace."
If you got money, you can get
anything
made.
$20,000. It's encrusted with gold and diamonds and rubies.
He also said there's a commercial in the works. I mean, it clicked in
7-Eleven commercial
out of nowhere.
That's smart.
If you're 7-Eleven, capitalize as well.
7-Eleven was dead and gone, at least to my knowledge, up until like 5 years ago.
Oh, no.
7-Eleven.
Because it was around, but I knew of 7-Eleven. It's not like I'd never heard of it.
7-Eleven's still kicking. It's just, unfortunately, their food options haven't evolved the way the Casey's and the Quick Trips and the Buc-ee's of the world have.
I like that even the text line agrees. It's like we're all just loyal to certain gas station brands.
Yeah, man. It's routine.
Yeah, it's true.
Casey's is this Trevor Simeon of gas station food.
Oh,
all right.
Damn. Wow. Text line.
Shots fired.
Excuse me. Casey's was like small town Missouri and Kansas.
Well, it used to be more in rural areas, right? But
I do know
now
Casey's.
They've bought out a bunch of, I can't remember what, Minute Marts or whatever it was, and so now there's one within right by me. There's actually two within 5 minutes.
I've been told the best food at gas stations is Quick Trip, and it's hands down.
Once they opened up the kitchen area, game changing.
You know what? I never get the kitchen stuff though.
Mistake.
I never really get.
They do a decent quality meal there.
I never.
But
get
the roller food obviously is.
Well, I mean, I'll get the steak.
tier.
I'll get the steak and cheese little taquitos or whatever.
Sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Who amongst us? You know?
Mm-hmm.
If you're looking for a sponsorship, by the way, our video stream is unsponsored. Quick Trip. You're more than welcome to slide in here and have full ownership of it. I like the idea that we sell our video stream sponsorship, not to an actual sponsor, but just like a listener who just wants their name on it.
Yeah, weekly. We're actually offering weekly sponsorships.
Until someone buys it for real, we allow weekly sponsorships of our stream. We'll put your face on the corner if you want.
Yeah.
Not really particular.
Rates are negotiable right now, too. Honestly.
Very negotiable.
Very negotiable. Until we have a permanent sponsor. We'll take it right into the show fund. Right into it.
I don't care if you want it for your own small local business or just for you. Just publicly putting out that you're a person that exists that sponsors this show.
All right, let's talk some Chiefs football a little bit, though. Earlier, we were discussing the Chiefs offense, and when it's all said and done, what other offenses can they leapfrog here? Because right now they're sitting ninth, but do you actually believe you're going to finish ninth? At the same realm, defensively, they're the number 2 defense in at least one metric, and I think they're fourth in another, depending on which one you want to pay attention to. but this is the second best defense in football. At any point, do you think we'll be talking about the offense still being better than the defense? Because if the defense is going to be top 5, which I think they're going to end up finishing no worse than 5th or 6th, this defense is legit. It's the real deal. They're getting reinforcements this week, we know, with the Menahue. Maybe Frank Clark, who's a free agent at some point, decides to sign back up with the club. They're still extremely young. I think there's some guys that are still improving, believe it or not, as specifically in the secondary. So I think it's a tall task to think that the offense can leapfrog the defense. That would require them to have 2 top 5 units.
I'm telling you, the way it sits right now, I am shocked that we are even having this conversation, Gold. Shocked that this is even something we can entertain. Even more shocked to tell you that the answer is no. At no point this year will I feel like the offense is the better unit than the defense. I know that maybe it seems premature, but at what point, Gold? We are a third of the way through the season. The Chiefs are currently the second best scoring offense in the entire NFL, and currently, DVOA-wise, are a top 5 defense. All of those things that they put out for themselves are realistic. They're one of the best passing defenses. Teams don't run on them. They've been holding down number 1 wide receivers because of their secondary. The only defense that I'm like, there's 2 defenses that I'd say I'm pretty confident are probably better than Kansas City. One is Cleveland. That is a legitimately great defense. I think it's got some bigger star power maybe. But Chiefs have one of the 5 best defensive players in the NFL in Chris Jones, and one of the best secondaries, and one of the best linebacker units. Remember when I was describing the 49ers offense in which they had playmakers at literally every single level? That's the Chiefs, but on defense. They have playmakers on the defensive line, linebacker, and secondary. Both corners and safeties, if you want to break them out into 2 different units. My guess is that at no point will the offense be a top 3 offense this year. They'll be top 10 the entire year, and I think if they start to click, they could find their way into the top 5. But I will probably, at this point, always think of the Chiefs defense, barring injury, from being a top 5 defense this year. They've done nothing to shake that confidence.
I mean, if we're being realistic, there's a chance that the offense finishes as the 6th best unit and the defense is like 6th or 7th as well, which, by the way,
they win a shootout against Miami with that move. Let's just throw it out a couple weeks from now. Let's say they win a 42-35 game against Miami. So the offense is the one that went out there and won that game for them, and the defense struggled against what is the best offense in the NFL. Maybe then I would entertain it.
The defense is played at this high level for 6 weeks, though. So 1 week is not swinging it. And I also don't think the defense is going to fall apart. Now, there's going to be some stiffer competition they're going to face. Do I think they're going to continue to hold opponents to the exact same points per game, 14.6? I think the Niners were at 13-something per game. No, that's going to increase. They're going to play some better quarterbacks, no doubt. They're going to play Josh Allen and Joe Burrow and others, Jalen Hurts. But we've also seen those quarterbacks certainly can be impacted against legit defense. We just saw what the Jets defense was able to do to Jalen Hurts. I think the Chiefs defense, while it's not the New York Jets defense by any means, they are one of the best units in football. And so it's amazing conversation we're having here. That
neither of us thought this even plausible to start
the defense at the end of the year could still end up being the better of the 2 units. All that has to happen, though, is the gap just has to close. The offense just has to correct some of these red zone problems, and they're going to be just fine. I know people want us to go doom and gloom on you, but they're 9th right now, and we think the world is ending offensively. They're 9th. This is what a bad season looks like offensively, and they're still.
It's like an Alex
currently.
Smithian season, right? When they would finish 9th in scoring. But I also don't think that they're going to finish that low. Like, I just don't. I understand. It's weird. It's weird to look at their scoring by week and you're like, 20 against the Lions, 17 against the Jags, 19 against Denver, only 23 against the Jets. Those aren't the scores I'm used to seeing. There's one thing that still fascinates me about the offense. Last week's easily explained. They screwed up a bunch in the red zone, and they took the ball out of Patrick Mahomes' hands. But overall, part of the reason why I don't know that the scoring's ever going to get out of control is this was something we talked about Andy Reid before their offense was legitimate, or before their defense was legitimate, which was when the games felt like they were winnable, and Andy was given the opportunity to just grind out a win. He relished. He loved taking the opportunity to just be like, I don't care. I'll just win some 24-20 mess. And at the end of the game, I'll either have Patrick Mahomes trailing by 3 or have Patrick Mahomes to ride out the clock, or I'll just count on the defense to get one stop and we'll win this football game. Is there a better time than ever under Andy Reid to trust your defense to get a singular stop at the end of the game to guarantee yourself a win, Andy might play to this a little bit. He might hold them back. This sounds silly, but like hold them back from like putting up those gaudy numbers in some games where it just feels like the win is there. Like even as simple as they should have had 30 against the Jets, but Patrick Mahomes slid, or they felt like they could have had more against the Broncos late, but started to rein things in once it looked like the game was in.
So I don't think they were reining things in. I think they're just not executing in the red zone. The Jets game and the Broncos game combined, they were what, one of 8?
9.
One of 9. I'm sorry. Yeah, one of 9. All right, in the red zone. They're not right. They just weren't executing.
I think it's a 0% chance the offense will get better, but I think at this point I'm just going to assume the defense is the better unit.
I get the argument right now. I think there's a good chance they end up very similar spots. Again, like one finishes 6th and one finishes 7th, or one finishes 4th and one finishes 6th. Like I think they're going to be very, very close. Again, unbelievable situation to be in. You know, the defense clearly, going back to training camp, their goal was to be a top 10 unit. We heard it from Nick Bolton. We heard it from Steve Spagnuolo. We heard it players. That was clearly the offseason messaging. You know, every team kind of has their thing.
Yeah.
That was clearly the message. And they took it to heart, and to this point in time, they've exceeded it 6 weeks into, now 7 weeks into the NFL season.
I mentioned that Miami game that they've got coming up in a couple of weeks. Can the NFL, I know that Tyreek is a villain here, and that's fine. He should be. He has brought that completely on himself without any question, just by the way he's talked about the Chiefs since he left. They shouldn't fine him for doing things like selfie backflips. They will promote the hell out of that video for the next 10 years as they talk about the league. They'll show Tyreek Hill with a phone in his hand doing a backflip. They will talk about it on their NFL branded shows on NFL Network. Why are you finding him? Like, be upset if you want, but like, why fine him? Just let him off the hook for this one. Why do we, like, remember that brief time in the NFL when they wouldn't let you do team celebrations? Why the hell are you fighting against this? It's good for your brand. It's a good promotional tool. If the NFL UK, who deleted the tweet, by the way, right after they sent it, has to delete a tweet of a guy doing a backflip, really?
My guess, the reasoning for it is like, where do you draw the line, right? Like you can use
Joe Horn can go get a cell phone from out underneath the pad for all I care.
I'm guessing they don't know where they can draw the line. You're like, it doesn't matter. Well, we say that like with a lot of things until someone crosses a line, and then we're like, oh wait. Like you can say, well, what's the worst thing that could happen? There's a lot of imagination out there. I don't know the answer to that. Right?
You're like, how big can it get?
So that's my guess. But should they be allowed to go take a selfie? Yeah, who cares? Who cares? That was funny. That was awesome. But I'm guessing it's like they don't know, like, what's the cutoff? Like, okay, we'll let you use a prop now, but what can you not use? I think they don't have the imagination to match with the players'
imagination. Can you take a baby out of the stand and rock a physical baby rather than the football?
God forbid something were to happen. You know what I mean? Like,
I understand.
That's probably why they're terrified of it. But the other, like the selfie, if you want to say, hey, you can start using your phone or whatever, that would be hilarious. Why not?
Could you imagine if a guy took a selfie video running down the field while he was still in the field of play?
That's
ridiculous. Well, Tyreek's one of the few people who could actually do it because of the speed difference between him and other players.
Didn't Stephon Diggs recently score and then go and grab 2 beers and do like the stone cold?
But he also was late to the party on that one. Which Chiefs offensive lineman did that? Was it Eric Fisher?
Yeah, Fisher. Yeah, Fisher did.
Going back probably 4 years ago or whatever.
I feel like that is a...
He banged and he got a sponsorship the
Stone
next
Cold.
week.
He did.
From Bud Light, right?
Yep.
Or who was it?
Bud Light.
Yeah.
I feel like that's an example that might cross the line. Like, hey, as soon as you start grabbing stuff out of the stands, that's where the lines cross. Like, if you want to use your phone, or if you want to take out like the Sharpie, like Ocho Cinco did or whatever, and sign the ball and then throw it into the stands or whatever he did. I mean, that's, if you wanted to use the football or the pylon as props, let him have a good time.
I think if it's within reaching distance for you, if you don't have to go that far, then you should be allowed to use it.
It's the no
like
fun
when someone
league
got in the camera
conversation
bay
again.
or when someone got in the Salvation Army kettle. If it's within walking distance, like reasonable walking distance, you should be allowed. Also, Tyreek Hill is on pace for an absolutely bonkers season.
He's incredible.
Dear God. He's on pace for like 2,300 yards and 18 touchdowns. They have like 4 players right now that are pacing at absolutely ludicrous numbers to the point that I'm like, they're not going to do this the entire time, right?
Well,
he's coming off a game that was 6 for 163. That was his third. That was only his third highest yardage total this year.
Yeah, not
He
just
only has
because
42 catches.
Not just because Justin Jefferson is hurt. We said this 2 weeks ago. I actually think all around receiver wise, Tyreek Hill is the best receiver in the game. Some people say, well, he's the best athlete. Justin Jefferson's the better receiver. I mean, again, Tyreek Hill to me is capable of doing far more things right now than any other wide receiver in the game. And for that matter, to me, that means he's the best wide receiver right now in the NFL. Yeah, he's pacing for some unbelievable stats, as you said. And I think this is the same league that at one point banned the old Tony Gonzalez dunking over the goalpost thing. They banned that for like a couple years. Now they don't. You can do that. But they did. That's stuff like that. Who cares? If they want to dunk over the goalpost, if they want to, like you said, use the pylons for some type of prop, whatever.
It's the no fun league conversation again.
Maybe we should do the full MVP conversation tomorrow since we're 6 games in. Does Tyreek Hill deserve?
We can talk about it tomorrow. It's a very complicated MVP race.
Yeah.
A non-quarterback is still not winning it. But it's really interesting
Feels
to figure out
more likely than ever, even though it's not going to happen.
I guess. I
would have thought Christian McCaffrey
everybody
until he got the oblique
a week ago tried to make a case for Brock Purdy, and he laid an egg.
Brock Purdy.
And then
Who's trying to make that argument?
2 weeks ago, everybody
You hang out with different people. Who's making Brock Purdy arguments?
2 weeks ago, it was happening last week in the betting world. 2 weeks ago, Christian McCaffrey was the name that people were trying to push. Well, now he's hurt. So it's going to end up still being a quarterback, but right now, 2 is the favorite. Yeah, we can talk about this tomorrow if you want.
Yeah, I think the text line's right. I think they banned the dunking's still banned.
I thought they
let
unbanned
team stuff back, but I'm not sure that they let.
I thought they unbanned
anybody's doing it.
I haven't seen anybody doing it in a while.
It's hard to do, by the way. Easier said than done. Easier said than done.
It's always
like Tyreek Hill can't do it. I'll tell you that.
It's always the former basketball players. Well, Tyreek Hill's like 5'7".
That's my point. Not everybody can do it.
That was Jimmy Graham's go-to, wasn't
Tony,
it as well?
Tony G was one of the OGs.
Well, yeah, he was the first, and then Jimmy Graham also took it on.
This was an old article. I need to find it. This 2014 is when they banned it, and I swear I thought there was an update to that. From 2021, it says, despite what many people believe, the NFL does not ban dunking over goalposts. Dunks do not violate celebration rules. That was 2021. So unless they change it again, I don't know.
God knows with the NFL, man. They're impossible to guess. Man, they're just impossible to guess.
All right, Drew. What's bugging you besides celebrations not bugging you, I guess?
Yeah.
Good. They shouldn't.
Celebrations are great. Storming the field. Washington storming the field against Oregon.
You're still hung up on this storming the field thing, man.
No, I'm moving on.
Heisman Trophy favorite. Massive rivalry.
Same conference.
Yeah, that's true.
Different story for why I'm a little bit upset. Penix Jr. is the Heisman favorite now because Caleb Williams really struggled. 1 touchdown, 3 picks. QBR was horrible. Didn't even reach 200 yards. You face a good defense, and now all of a sudden is the thing that I'm a little irritated about is why he's compared to Patrick Mahomes. And I get he does some things that are remarkable, but can we stop with the comparisons? He's not Patrick Mahomes. USC has an outstanding offense and they're good, but they play a good defense. Really, for one of the first times in his career that he's played a really solid defense outside of Utah. They lost the game against Utah as well last year in the Pac-12 title game. When they play good defenses, he's struggled and he's had a really hard time and not played well. We got to stop with the Patrick Mahomes comps. He's a college football player. He's going to come to the NFL, and probably he's not going to light it up like Patrick Mahomes.
Hold on, though. Isn't this what we do, though? Before Mahomes, we compared quarterbacks to Manning and Brady, like he fits that style. This is what we do now, though. This is how this works. You're compared.
I feel like we've gotten too comfortable with it, though.
You're compared to whoever the greatest is at their position at the time, and whether or not you represent similar skill set. And I think we can acknowledge, without saying that he's going to be the next Patrick Mahomes.
He plays like Patrick Mahomes. You
That's
can say
what
that.
It is.
He
and
plays like him.
So he plays like him.
But he's not Patrick Mahomes.
Sure,
he's not going to be him.
He plays like him, and he's going to be the number 1 overall pick in the draft. So this is what we do. This isn't anything new to Caleb Williams or this dynamic.
I know, but it's gotten exhausting. It's been exhausting.
We used to compare everybody to Brady and Manning. Now they're going to compare him to Patrick Mahomes.
These are college players, though, Gold. These are because nobody compared Joe Burrow.
There's always comparisons out of college.
Nobody compared Joe Burrow to Tom Brady or Peyton until he got to the NFL and was amazing. And he was outstanding in college.
I think part of the reason that it's kicking up more with the Mahomes comparisons is not just because he's the best quarterback in the NFL.
It's because he makes some ridiculous throws in his sidearm. And I get it.
And because he was the first quarterback of his style to be massively successful in the NFL. I think someone pointed out maybe a couple of weeks ago that if Patrick Mahomes were to re-enter the draft, like in what the NFL views quarterback play as now, he'd have been the number 1 overall pick the year he came out. But he wasn't, because up to that point, air raid quarterbacks who do things a bit unconventionally from a style perspective weren't viewed as guys. He was talked about being a massive, massive, massive risky player. I think that's part of it.
I just feel
I assume
like
that's why Caleb Williams was getting. He's an unconventional style quarterback.
To me, I just feel like when you are a revolutionary generational talent and you play a good defense, you have a good game. You have a good game. This is the best defense he's faced in his career, and he wet the bed. And last year they played against Utah. He didn't have a good game against Utah either. Up until this year, he hadn't played well against traditionally good defenses in that conference and in college football.
This sounds like I didn't realize this seems more like an anti-Caleb Williams than a what's bugging. This sounds like you think
what's bugging him is Caleb Williams.
It seems like you believe Caleb Williams has been the beneficiary, it sounds like throughout his entire career, of never playing a good defense. And when he's played them twice, you don't think he's as good as people think he is. Is that what it is?
I mean, that might be it.
It sounds like most people talk about him like he's the best prospect since like Luck, right?
They think he's better than Luck.
They
think he's better than Luck and Trevor Lawrence. They think he's the best
Lawrence,
college.
That's probably the best.
If you ask people in college, and they think he's the best college football player, maybe to ever walk the face of the earth.
Okay.
That's what it seems like to me.
This does sound like he thinks people are a little too high on Caleb Williams.
Yeah.
That's fine. That's okay.
That's nothing wrong with it.
You could say everyone's a little too high on Caleb Williams.
The reason why
I love it.
The reason why I don't like it, I think, is because they think he can do no wrong. He looks good while he's playing, but when you're getting rushed by a blitz and when you're facing a good defense that can rush 4, you're not as good as people think you are.
Bryce Young's having that wake-up call bad this year.
And Bryce Young last year at Alabama was getting attacked. The offensive line was horrible, and he threw guys open. Caleb Williams is good. He's a great quarterback. But if you look right now in terms of the production that has been shown against high-profile teams, Michael Penix Jr. has been the better quarterback throughout the entire season. And I don't know. I just think that it's still
interesting.
We're exhausted.
You're good. I get it.
I'm exhausted.
I just think it's interesting. You waited until the week where he had the worst game of his college career to now try to start tearing him down a little bit.
It's not even because they lost the game either. I think it's just the performance itself.
Oh no, he was
How
not
far
good.
down did he slide in the Heisman?
He's 20-1 in some spot. He's done. He's toast for the Heisman. Yeah, it's over. Yeah, he fell
I guess it's
way
Michael
off.
Penix Jr. who's going to win. I'm learning things.
Michael Penix Jr. is in the driver's seat for sure.
How come Jaden Daniels doesn't get more love?
I picked him to win the Heisman.
He's put up absolutely stupid numbers.
It's because they lost 2 games.
It's specifically the narrative really shifted after the Week 1 loss to Florida State. And that really crushed it. Fair or not, that's just how this stuff goes. You know that with narratives.
One game changes everything.
He's in the SEC. He's put up like 450 passing yards a week.
It was the prime game of that weekend. I think it was Week 0, wasn't it? And that game right there shifted everybody's narrative on him.
Michael Penix Jr. is the heavy favorite.
Yeah, let's see where he gets drafted, and then we'll go from there.
That's what's bugging Drew. Caleb Williams is bugging Drew.
Jeez.
Man, oh, man.
I'm not saying he's overrated, but my God, I'm not even a Chiefs fan, and he is not Patrick Mahomes.
There's no way for it to happen. For you, just because of this, I wish there was some way he could get drafted to an AFC North team, so you'd have to deal with him twice a year. And then we'll see. Good.
I'm loving our defense. I'm loving our defense right now. Go ahead and go to the Browns. Go to Cleveland.
We'll talk about the 3-3, 500 heading into a bye week Cincinnati Bengals later on in the show, Drew. Coming up next, Chiefs Red Half Hour. We'll get back into the offenses that are better right now than Kansas City, and also don't forget Andy Reid coming up at noon right here on Cody and Gold.
Chiefs fans, it's Scott Moore. Don't miss Cody and Gold weekdays starting at 10 on 610 Sports Radio.
Brought to you by Gann Asphalt and Concrete. For asphalt, concrete, and parking lot maintenance, Gann Asphalt and Concrete. One contractor, all things parking lot. Trusted in Kansas City since 1994. Online at GANNasphalt.com.
Hey everybody, this is Andrew Filipponi here, bringing you the parlay of the day, brought to you by FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Monday Night Football, the Cowboys and Chargers. Let's turn that into cash with a winning same-game parlay. For starters, I love LA on the money line here. It's a revenge spot for Chargers OC Kellen Moore, but he's had a week to cook up schemes against his old team. So add in Justin Herbert's passing prop, because I see him throwing for close to 300 yards. I do think the total is inflated. It's sitting at 50. I'm not confident the Cowboys will score enough points to get that number over. A $10 bet on this parlay pays around $115. That's it for the parlay of the day. Brought to you by FanDuel. Download the FanDuel app today and make every moment more with America's #1 sports book.
21 plus and present in Kansas. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See full terms at FanDuel.com/sportsbook. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under an agreement with Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem? Getting help is your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700 or visit ksgamblinghelp.com.
Football is back. Save time with Old Shawnee Pizza and get the Monday special, a single topping medium pizza for only $10.99. Call or go to ShawneePizza.com today. Old Shawnee Pizza, Shawnee, Lenexa, and now Crossroads for carryout. Now 3 locations.
Dispatch, this is Mindy at Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Hey, you know how to stay warm this winter? Schedule a tune-up. Visit missionphc.com to keep your home's heater in tip-top shape. Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. License 202909.
We're talking with Dr. David Bach, board-certified urologist at Kansas City Urology Care. Doctor, when it comes to prostate cancer, what makes KCUC the best?
KCUC treats more prostate cancer than anyone else in the metro, and for that matter, in this part of the country.
What does that mean for the patient?
As part of cancer care, the patient will need a urologist, a pathologist, a medical oncologist, and a radiation oncologist. We offer specialists, board-certified specialists, in all those areas on site. It's important to a patient because they want the best possible care with the best possible outcomes with the fewest chances of side effects. Without a doubt, Kansas City Urology Care is the expert in prostate cancer therapy.
See the prostate cancer experts, Kansas City Urology Care. At KCUC, you see the best in KC. To make an appointment, visit appointments.kcurology.com.
It's touchdown Kansas City when you sell your home to RexBuysKC.com. I am Mitch Holtz, voice of the Chiefs, and no company pays more than Rex, with instant cash offers and your money in as little as 7 days.
That's right, Mitch. I'm Rex, owner of RexBuysKC.com, your locally owned home buyer. We'll buy any house regardless of condition. Distressed or damaged homes, it doesn't matter. Call us now at 816-330-6000 for the best offer and instant cash.
Score a touchdown, Kansas City with Rex, and get a fair, honest deal. Facing divorce, bankruptcy, thousands in repair bills, needing to move fast, being foreclosed, or just wanting cash fast? Then contact Rex now to get your money in as little as 7 days.
We help homeowners solve their problems with options on how they can sell their home. We have no fees, no closing costs, no commissions, no open houses. We buy your house as is.
Sell your home today, worry and hassle-free, no matter what the condition, and get your money in as little as 7 days.
Call us right now at 816-330-6000 or go online to RexBuysKC.com and let us buy your home today.
If you have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS, this is important news. The IRS just rolled out a new program to help struggling taxpayers more easily resolve their tax problems. It's called the Taxpayer Relief Initiative, and it opens up powerful new options for people looking to get back on the right track with the IRS. And no one knows this program like the professionals at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution company. They've resolved over $1 billion in tax debt for their clients and have the expertise and experience to help you. One easy call to Optima can start the process, helping to put an end to your worries of wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other aggressive IRS actions. Make today the beginning of your fresh start with the IRS. Call the experts at Optima Tax Relief now for your free confidential consultation.
Call 800-935-7144. 800-935-7144. 800-935-7144.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
At Grainger, we're for the ones who specialize in saving the day and for the ones who've mastered the art of keeping business moving. We offer industrial-grade supplies for every industry with same-day pickup and next-day delivery on most orders, all backed by real people ready to help. So you can get the right answers and products right when you need them. Call, clickgrainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Your small business is always top of mind. Well, top of your mind.
To get it to the top of other people's minds, you need to get your name out front, which is where Staples Print and Marketing Services can put it. A yard sign over there, brochures right here, a banner up there. In fact, your business's message could appear anywhere. And right now at Staples, get $100 off your print purchase of $250 or more. Make a splash with your small business print and marketing materials at Staples. Ends 11/4. Visit staples.com/print for details.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
The Gillette Intimate Trimmer gives you a gentle, easy way to trim your pubic region. Or you could try waxing. Nope. From America's #1 trusted men's grooming brand. The best a man can get, down there. Buy Gillette Intimate at a retailer near you.
Sunny and a little bit warmer with a high of 64.
Weather brought to you by Total Wine & More. With so many bottles to choose from, it's easy to find your favorite and new ones. With the lowest prices for over 30 years, always find what you love and love what you find only at Total Wine & More. Drink responsibly. B21.
The 610 Sports Radio phone line is brought to you by Onder Law Injury Lawyers. Visit getjim.com.
Chiefs coverage brought to you by Max Motors. 9 major vehicle brands to choose from. MaxMotors.com. It's time you took car shopping to the max.
At all Max Motors locations.
Take up to $20,000 off new Ram 1500 4-wheel drive.
You'll get the best financing options available.
With the highest trade-in values in the Midwest.
Your Kansas City dealer.
Stock number 70363, 70303 with approved credit.
See dealer for details.
Chiefs Kingdom. This is Mitch Holtis, and welcome into the Chiefs Red Half Hour on Cody and Gold. Every day at 11:30 on your official broadcast partner of the Chiefs, 610 Sports Radio.
All right, Chiefs Red Half Hour coming up in 25 minutes. We'll head out to Arrowhead. You'll hear from Chiefs head coach Andy Reid. The only place you can hear from Andy on a Monday is right here on 610 Sports Radio, your official broadcast partner of the Kansas City Chiefs. Drew, a lot of people thought you were talking about a NASCAR driver for the Heisman. No, Michael Penix Jr.
I know, that was funny.
Not Martin Truex Jr.
We could also play the way Desmond Howard pronounced it later in the show during the audio fun bag, because it didn't sound like either of the ones you just mentioned.
We'll play in its entirety later, but Desmond Howard.
Big penis energy. He's going to bring that big penis energy.
He was trying to say Penix.
How are you a college football analyst and you can't pronounce one of the most high-profile players in college football's name?
So we will have the audio fun bag, and yes, that audio
Good
there
times.
in its entirety is featured in the audio fun bag. In the meantime, though, watching these offenses around the league, at this point, who's actually going to still be better, though? We were having a discussion about defenses and offense and on this own team who could be better. But right now, I think we have to understand the Dolphins doesn't mean they're going to end up winning more games, but the Dolphins offensively are going to finish as the number 1 offense in football this year.
They are the number 1 offense.
Yeah, they already are, but they're going to finish there.
Yes, they obviously have
They're
the most.
averaging 37
Have you
points.
seen? It's not. We just mentioned the Tyreek Hill pacing. Their quarterback's pacing for like 5,000 yards and 40 touchdowns. One of their running backs is pacing for 26 touchdowns and 1,700 total yards. That doesn't include the other guy who just got hurt, who was also pacing for like 1,000 yards before he got dinged, and Jalen Watt. Like, they're just the best offense. But that's the thing. Once you get past them, and I would still say San Francisco, assuming that none of their injuries with Deebo Samuel and Christian McCaffrey are long-term, because of just how much talent they have and how good their offensive line is, that they'll finish better than Kansas City. There's not a single other team that I think you can legitimately stand in a room and confidently say, there's no doubt in your mind, they will finish better. Look at the problems that Buffalo, Detroit, the Chargers, any of these teams have had at various stages. They all average more points than Kansas City. And we understand that, but it's not like Detroit Lions have been murderer's row of offensive efficiency. They were a top 5 offense last year, similar to Kansas City. They're once again right around top 5 in offense again. But they only scored 20 against the Bucs. They only scored 21 against the Chiefs. They only scored 20 against the Falcons. You have games, they've just gone for more points than the Chiefs.
Yeah, that's how it works, right?
Yes, what I'm pointing out is every other offense in the NFL has also shown signs of struggle. The Chiefs' biggest problem really boils down to what we were talking about. It's the red zone.
Right. I mean, if we're just basing it off of points per game, And you're right. There's always there's outlier performances. That's why we have averages. But like the Chiefs are 0.3 away from being one spot ahead of Seattle. They're 1.3 points on average per away from being ahead of Philadelphia. So to answer your question, the only team they can't catch on the points per game offense-wise is the Dolphins because they're already at 37.
And probably San Francisco because they're not going to score a touchdown more per game.
But can the Chiefs still, when the season is done, end up as an offense that averages 27 to 28 points per game? I do think that's possible, but it's going to take much better efficiency in the red zone, and it's also going to take the establishment of that next receiver that we've all been talking about, and I'm hoping this week and with the longer time to get ready for the Chargers, more and more work is being put in as we speak to get Rashee Rice up to another level in terms of involvement in the offense because he is their most promising answer other than Kelsey and Pacheco in the red zone. I still think Jerick McKinnon is part of the solution here, and maybe they're saving him. I don't know. You want to talk about having more success in the red zone and helping your offense put up points? I think Jerick McKinnon is a weapon that we all forgot about a little bit from the back half of last season. If they want to save him, I guess that's fine. But if you want somebody that can help you in the red zone, I think Jerick McKinnon's a much bigger piece of this equation than we've really discussed.
Some of this might just be that they're outsmarting themselves a little bit, and they need to go back to the basics inside of that area because this has been a red zone. They struggled in the red zone for portions of last year, and we're still scoring more points than they are now. But this all comes back down. Like, yeah, Jerick McKinnon can be a part of the solution. Their problem now is, and this is going to be a fascinating couple of weeks for them, is Justin Watson is not the most important player on the Chiefs. He's pretty far down the list, but he was reliable. He was like a stopgap in the middle of unreliability amongst all their other weapons. And even still knowing that, I don't think there are that many offenses I know for sure are better than the Chiefs because I've watched them all struggle, Gold.
Yeah, now go ahead.
No, I was just going to say Buffalo, Detroit, Dallas, Philly. I've seen them put up duds just like the Chiefs. And from their perspective, they haven't felt the pressure probably to score at the same rate that they have been because of how well the defense has been playing.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I mean, receiving wise, even before the Watson injury, and hopefully he's only out for a few weeks, but Rashee Rice did after this game surpass him.
He's their leading receiver.
Yeah, I mean, Rashee Rice is their leading wide receiver. Obviously, Kelsey's the leading receiving option right now. But out of the wide receiver room, Rashee Rice has already passed Justin Watson. And so, okay, with Watson out, who steps up? It's Rashee Rice. But it's also, to me, this is where we can talk bigger picture, and you think his time in KC will be done at the end of the season. That's fine talking about MVS.
Well, he's done right now, this year.
But he's someone that has to, if they are going to continue to give him more snaps than anybody on this offense, which they have through 6 weeks, the production has to come.
He has 7 catches, man.
Otherwise,
7 catches in 6 games. He's averaging 1.2 catches per game.
Otherwise, they need to seriously dip that snap count because you're right. He's out there. You said it a week ago. He's getting cardio. He's getting the steps on the Fitbit right now. That's all that's going on.
He's completed his rings on his Apple Watch.
That's what it is. He's getting.
He's not doing anything else.
Yeah, like that. That is all that's there. There's no production to go with it whatsoever. So if they're going to keep rolling them out there as much as they are, okay, that's fine. Here's an opportunity for you to step up again with Watson. Otherwise, that's where you need to. Yes, work in Justin Ross a little bit. Sky Moore is another one that normally you'd say, oh, we'll give him more time. Well, he's not doing anything with his. He's not doing anything with his playing time right now.
This is part of the problem as it sits right now with their wide receiver unit, Gold. And what we talked about before the season started, we had simply said, hey, the reason why we think this wide receiver unit will be okay is that all they need out of these 6 names they like is for 2 to emerge. And right now, only 1 has. That sucks. You had 6 wide receiver options going into the year. You only needed 2 to emerge for this whole master plan to work. And literally so far, it's 1. It is just Rashee Rice. Sky Moore hasn't shown up. MVS hasn't shown up. Kadarius Toney hasn't. None of them. Just right now, Rashee Rice. If 1 more man can get involved in this offense, they're good.
How much different or similar, I guess, does this offense compare to last year's in terms of taking deep shots down the field? Because I think
didn't take many deep shots last year.
Because I think, and the reason I asked that is because maybe this is just the way that their offense is. They need more production from the wide receivers, obviously, but it looks a little bit different from somebody who just coming into KC has been on the outside. We're used to seeing those deep shots by Mahomes, take a couple of flyers, have Andy's creativity, obviously, but, we're used to seeing a little bit more of the I guess, pushing of the football, if you will, by the Chiefs. And maybe this is just how it is, where the pace of play is a little bit slower and you try to work the ball down the field more methodically.
This is a wide receiver thing because they led the league or were second in the league or whatever in 20-plus yard plays last year, but they weren't throwing it 20 yards to get that. This year, they're 17th. Just looked it up. They're behind Lamar Jackson, Sam Howell, Russell Wilson, and a million other quarterbacks in the league.
Overall, but passing-wise, big play passes, they're actually 10th still.
Yeah.
Like over 25 yards. They've got 12 of them. They're tied with the Chargers, who haven't even played, though, in fairness, this week yet.
So
but
likely.
but they're also, just because context matters, they're also one more big play over 25 yards through that passing to be top 5. That's how it goes. So they're 12th. There's the Bills, the Lions, the Colts, the Rams, all with 13. But so the Chiefs are one big play in the passing game away from still being top 5 in that category.
This is almost more like a league-wide thing that just
everyone adjusted to the Patrick Mahomes model.
Yeah.
This is, all going back to where this is the whole point of the conversation is. It's weird for us because we're used to just being like the Chiefs are better than everyone else on offense, and then there's a wash. But what the Chiefs are is in the wash from the teams that are 3-10 in the best offenses in the NFL. They are no better, but they are no worse. They are no worse than any of those offenses outside of Miami and San Francisco. The rest is the same. It's just weird for us because they feel like they're stuck in a wash where they had been separate from the rest of those teams. Somehow I go to bed sleeping fine at night, knowing the fact that in addition to that, they also have the second lowest scoring defense in the NFL. So it's a lot easier time to swallow that. And that comes down to, so we've talked a lot about Chris Jones is a great player. We talked about Trent McDuffie. I'm starting to feel like the unsung hero of the defense at this point is Justin Reed. They have a lot of really good defensive players, so we spend a lot of time talking about them in the unit. Justin Reed has been a very good glue guy for the entire secondary and seemingly the man on a lot of end of big plays where he's just in the middle of the play. Even if he's not like the sole man in charge of it, he's just in the middle of a lot of big plays defensively this year.
I know we joke sometimes when athletes in the offseason talk about how they're in the best shape of their lives, right? And
that's easy to joke about.
They bulk up. That was him this offseason, though. You go back and look in his offseason, he talked about it at camp. He also tweeted about it in May. And I can't remember the exact, I want to say it was 10 pounds maybe that he put on. So I don't remember the exact 10 or 15 pounds. Like he's a little more physical this year. He's I think having more success in terms of, as you said, wrapping up. I think this past week was his best game of the season.
Yes.
Against Denver. So yeah, he definitely deserves some props. And someone that's been vital for the back end of that defense. It's funny, he's the veteran of a very young secondary. He's not that old. He's 28 years old or so, but he's really the vet back there. Him and Mike Edwards are kind of the vets back there. And even though Trent McDuffie plays like a veteran, but in terms of leadership back in the secondary, there's no question who that is. It's Justin Reed. We don't talk about him the way, obviously, we talk about Tyrann Mathieu, who was an all-decade player and all that.
Or Trent McDuffie, who I think can be an all-pro level player, yeah.
But Justin Reed's having a really, really nice season.
That's it. The way we talk about MVS, we're like, well, he played his ass right out of Kansas City at the end of this year. Justin Reed, typically, when someone's in the final year of a 3-year deal, like, most players, you're like, okay, well, that third year, we don't really need you around. It costs $2 million to cut you. We'll see you later, and we'll find some other 26-year-old safety who's available in the market. I feel the exact opposite. I would feel very bad about that. And maybe I'm wrong because I was worried about them losing Tyrann Mathieu and giving Justin Reed the same amount of money that Tyrann Mathieu got him in the open market. And Tyrann Mathieu's on one of the better defenses in the NFL, too. Let's not knock his play. He's been perfectly good. It has not had some massive drop-off. But I was legitimately concerned about whether or not a player who was playing on a not very good defense in Houston was going to be able to replace a player that you just described as correctly an all-decade player for his time in the NFL before he left Kansas City, including being their best defensive player on a Super Bowl winning team. So I just didn't expect this kind of season. Justin Reed has been great.
I feel like that is the reason why this defense is so much scarier is we're not even talking about Justin Reed, and he's still putting up productive numbers. Like, there is not a single weak spot. It's not like you have Dan Sorensen back there and you got to try to find a way to hide him. Like, you have legitimate players at every single position, and it's the reason why they're the second best defense, at least scoring-wise, in the league.
Dirty Dan. I believe he's on the practice squad in New Orleans now.
Oh, is he?
I think something like that.
I loved going again. I loved seeing the Bengals go against the Chiefs when Dan Sorensen was back there. Throw it up.
Yeah, everyone did, man.
Throw it up.
The entire damn league liked going against Dan Sorensen.
Dan Sorensen.
Except around that one punt return.
Two of the biggest postseason plays, though, during this run were made by Dan Sorensen. One was the forced fumble on the Cleveland Browns. Yes, might have beat the Chiefs in that game if it wasn't for that play.
Correct.
And then, obviously, as you referenced, the last time the Chiefs stopped a fake punt was when Dan Sorensen was involved in a fake punt coverage. And ironically enough, the guy we're talking about, Justin Reed, was, of course, the involved on the fake punt for the Texans.
That's part of the reason why we probably don't talk about Justin Reed. Like, if you just went Pro Football Focus grades, players that would rank above Justin Reed from, in their mind, value to their individual defense. Chris Jones would be better. Trent McDuffie would be better. Nick Bolton would be better. And I could probably go through a couple of more if I started digging a little bit. I might find out George Karlaftis has a better or more impactful grade than that. But, I mean, Reed has been the absolute glue guy that just doesn't screw any of this up. To me, that was the big thing with, you mentioned Dan Sorensen. That was the biggest problem Dan Sorensen had. Dan Sorensen was just a very boomer bust player. He came up with some of the biggest plays in this franchise's history, especially while they were on the way to that Super Bowl, the first one in 50 years. I never mentioned Justin Reed as a guy who was at a place screwing things up. He's where he's supposed to be. That's it. Yeah. The man's just where he's supposed to be. Tyrann Mathieu's not waving his hands up in the middle of the air. No other player on defense is waving their hands up in the middle of the air because he's 30 yards off the ball, completely separate from the rest of the action.
Yeah, 7 tackles and then the forced fumble, the big forced fumble from Justin Reed this past Thursday night. Coming up next, though, we're going to hear from Andy Reid, the only place you can hear from Coach Reid on a Monday, right here on 610 Sports Radio.
There's Kelsey to the end zone.
Cody and Gold, brought to you by Gann Asphalt and Concrete. For asphalt, concrete, and parking lot maintenance, Gann Asphalt and Concrete. One contractor, all things parking lot. Trusted in Kansas City since 1994. Online at GANNasphalt.com. Don't miss the Chiefs Red Half Hour every day at 11:30 on your official broadcast partner of the Chiefs, 610 Sports Radio.
It's time for the Fall Haul at Northern Tool and Equipment. Get your hands on tough tools at prices that are tough to ignore. Got plans? Cancel them. Trucks in the shop? Borrow someone else's. Don't like saving money? Right. So head to the Fall Haul at Northern Tool. Back up the truck for the season's biggest event and save on generators, power tools, trailers, and more. Shop in-store or at northerntool.com. We're made for this.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. 120,000 miles of night drives, daily commutes, and who knows how many.
Are we there yet?
Through countless fixes, elbow grease, and a new radiator, you kept your ride alive. With eBay Motors, you have over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
You're always better with a roof from JR.
Well, on the first day of fall, the only thing that was falling was hail, and a lot of it. Don't wait for some hungry, storm-chasing roofer from out of town to tell you your roof's a mess. There's an easier and safer way to know for sure. Online. From locally owned JR & Company. Just visit jrhailcheck.com. Plug in your address and we'll pull a hail report. If there's nothing there, you have hassle-free peace of mind. And if it looks like you got hit, we'll come out and do a free inspection and help with any insurance claim. Veteran-owned JR & Company will never try to sell you a roof you don't need. But if you do need a new roof, remember, a roof from JR comes with a lifetime workmanship warranty. Just visit jrhailcheck.com.
You're always better with a roof from JR.
Visit jrhailcheck.com.
Get ready, Kansas City! It's Medicare annual enrollment period. So why not make enrolling easier with United Healthcare? Whether you choose our online tools or over-the-phone support, United Healthcare will help you compare options so you can choose a plan with confidence. This is Medicare made for Kansas City. Trusted everywhere. Explore our wide range of plans by calling United Healthcare today at 1-855-MEET-UHC. That's 1-855-MEET-UHC. Annual enrollment begins October 15th and ends December 7th, so call today.
Get a new car at a used car price during our 2023 surplus sale. I'm Jeff Davis, owner of Volkswagen Lease Summit. We have huge discounts on all remaining 23 Volkswagen models.
Get up to $4,000 off the 23 Taos, $5,000 off the 23 Tiguan, $6,000 off the 23 Atlas, and up to $10,000 off the ID4 EV.
Get our lowest prices of the year at the #1 VW dealer in the Midwest. Visit VW www.leesummit.com.
Claim based on 2022 VW retail reports. Financing through VCI OAC.
It's Derek Johnson, and this season, Sheep Metal Workers Local Number 2 are awarding one lucky school a $15,000 facilities enrichment grant. Tell us in 100 words why your school deserves the grant at helpmymokenschool.com and make this the best school season ever.
For today's show and tell, I present my phone. It's made with glass and various metals I can't pronounce. It's powered by Xfinity Mobile, so my family saves big. Take a handout.
Colin, what are these?
I'm quizzing the class on the material.
Switch to Xfinity Mobile and save hundreds a year with the best price for 2 lines of unlimited. Just $30 a line a month. Visit XfinityMobile.com to learn more. Restrictions apply. Xfinity Unlimited Intro Service and Xfinity Internet required. Taxes and fees extra. Reduced speeds after 20 gigabytes of usage. Data thresholds may vary.
With a smile at Andy's Top Your Day. With a smile at Andy's Top Your Day.
I love s'mores, so I made our new Andy's Frozen Custard S'mores Jackhammer just for fall.
If you're hiring, it can feel like you're trying to find a needle in a haystack. You can hope the right person comes along, or you can just use ZipRecruiter. And now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. In fact, ZipRecruiter has helped a lot of business owners find their needle in a haystack, like Marco, president of operations at Telly Tires and Auto Centers. Because Telly Tires has grown a lot in the last few years, Marco needed to hire everyone from a receptionist to a store manager to a head mechanic.
ZipRecruiter helps me find all the right people, even the most difficult jobs to fill. ZipRecruiter helps me keep my business running.
Take it from Marco and millions of other businesses who've used ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter can help you find the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/RADIO. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
Kelley Blue Book is the one-stop shop for pricing, fixing, selling, and instant cash offering. Instant Cash Offer is exactly what it sounds like. An official offer to buy or trade your car. Woo-hoo! Just enter your VIN or license plate, answer a few questions about your car's history, and what kind of condition it's in. In minutes, you'll receive an offer to sell or trade your car that you can be sure is fair. Then choose a dealer to purchase your car and schedule a time to meet. For all of the its, KBB.com.
Oh, I love this restaurant. Glad we got a table quickly.
What does that sign say?
Caution, wet floor?
No, right next to it.
If you are 60 or older, you may be at increased risk of serious consequences from RSV, respiratory syncytial virus, compared to adults younger than 60. I didn't know that.
Not all dangers come with warning labels. Talk to your pharmacist or doctor about getting vaccinated against RSV today. RSV vaccines, including Pfizer's, are available. Learn more at bewareofrsv.com. Brought to you by Pfizer.
You're listening to 610 Sports Radio from the Max Motors Studios.
Hey, this is Trent McDuffie, and you're listening to the official broadcast partner of the Chiefs, 610 Sports Radio.
KCSP Kansas City, WDAF HD2 Liberty, always live on the free Odyssey app.
Going to head out to Arrowhead in the next couple of minutes and hear from Chiefs head coach Andy Reid. Again, the only place you can hear from Andy Reid on a Monday is right here on 610 Sports Radio, your official broadcast partner for the Chiefs. Before we go to Andy, did you think this was as weird as I did last night during the Sunday Night Football game? No, not the terrible decision-making by Brian Dable and Tyrod Taylor right before
multiple
halftime.
Times, yeah.
And a game in which the Bills are very fortunate to have won. But we all know, obviously, Damar Hamlin, okay, last year, as scary of a situation as you'll ever see on a football field. And he was inactive last night, but he did play in at least one game this year. And there was another scary moment last night involving another Bills player, Damian Harris, who they had to put him on a backboard. Good news was, and now we've since gotten updates that he does have movement and he's going to be okay. But they, at that point, it was a neck injury. And I didn't know. So they had the ambulance come on the field, which, again, is still something you usually only saw in like Madden 94, like the video game. Okay, but did you notice the windows of the ambulance? Did you think it was not weird? The windows of the ambulance had Damar Hamlin's name and number on them on the ambulance. All right, we'll talk more about this in a second. It was weird. Andy Reid's ready to go.
But we had some good things that we did. I thought defensively we played our hearts out of that. Bucker had a phenomenal day, and offensively, heck, we had a ton of yards. We just got to take care of business in the red zone and get rid of some of the penalties. So but other than that, I thought all three phases contributed, and there were some really good things you can take out of it. And at the same time, there's plenty of stuff that we have to work on. So with that, time's yours.
We'll go first to Pete Sweeney. Go ahead, Pete.
Hey, Coach. I know you guys are getting Charles Omenihu back this week. Just was wondering if you could speak to what the front has been through the 6 weeks and what it means now to add him to that mix.
Yeah, so I think the front's done a real nice job, with pressure and hitting the quarterback. They've done a pretty good job with the run game, likewise. And you had Charles in there, who is a good football player, to the mix. I'm kind of looking forward to seeing him get in there. And I don't know if he's going to be able to just step right in and play the whole game. One of those things. I think we just probably ease him back in and let him get going there. See how he does.
Go next to Adam Teicher. Go ahead, Adam.
Hey, Andy. Pete kind of stole my question a little bit about Omenihu, but I just was wondering what the plan is for him this week. Do you think he'll be up on Sunday against the Chargers? And Brad will have a second question as well.
Yeah, I think there's a good chance of that. He's been back here and he's staying in shape or is in good shape. It's just a matter of getting him back in there. He went through all the camp and worked his tail off, and he's kept, like I said, he's kept himself in good shape when he's gone here. But it's just a matter of getting back in and getting in the swing of things again.
Okay, and Frank Clark is a free agent now. What kind of interest would you have in bringing him back?
Like I mentioned before, we love Frank. Right now, we're just talking through some things there, and there are a few things you have to look at when you do that. So, but that's kind of where we're at. We haven't done anything to this point.
Let's go next to Seren Petro. Go ahead, Seren.
Coach, I know you had a chance to kind of sit back and take in all the NFL, and there's been conversations about whether or not you guys are hitting on all cylinders. When you see the Jets do what they did against the Eagles, is that a talking point you take to your team and say, hey, look, we may not have had the prettiest game, but you can see what they're doing. Is that something that you'll share with the team? Is that something that's a conversation?
Yeah, I think probably more focus on just getting better at what we're doing, Seren. I mean, that's we've got plenty of things to take care of without worrying too much about the other people. But I'll tell you what it does. It tells you the parity. I mean, you sit back and watch these games, it tells you the parity that's going on in this league right now. It's crazy. It's great for all the cities in the league, and everybody has a chance. And that's what the league was striving for, So, but that's kind of where we're at with the other part of that. Yeah.
Go next to Todd Palmer. Go ahead, Todd.
Hey, Andy. I was curious. You guys have talked a lot about the need to get better on offense, and it's a process. Are there areas you think over these first 6 games you have gotten better and that you can point to? And what are the areas you need to continue to, especially with a guy like Watson maybe out for a while?
Yeah, well, I like the way the young receivers have come along. The offensive line, every rep they get, they're getting better. And I think, we're putting up a lot of yards. We've got to eliminate some of the penalties during crucial situations. We've got to take care of the red zone, do a little better job there. But I like the progress we're making. We just got to tighten up a couple things there.
Go next to Todd Lebo. Go ahead, Todd.
Hey, Coach, I know you probably got a chance to watch a little more football this weekend since you guys played on Thursday. And just generally speaking, there's been maybe just this last week with the defenses kind of taking control of a lot of these games. Have you noticed anything this year, league-wide, that maybe defenses are catching up to a little bit of the offensive stuff around the league?
Yeah, well, a lot of the defenses are doing a great job. Creative minds. We're lucky we have Spags here, and and the job that he does with it. So, he's been a head coach, probably deserves to be a head coach again. And to have a guy in that position that's that qualified and understands the game like that. And you're seeing that different places throughout the league. So I think, right now defenses are doing well.
Coach, it looks like that's all we've got for you. Appreciate the time.
All right, that was Andy Reid. A quick one on
Short
a Monday.
Andy Reid.
They had the game last Thursday. Not a whole lot has changed. The most interesting thing out of that had to do with Frank Clark, I think. Just it sure sounded like, and the exact quote was, we're kind of talking through things there. We haven't done anything yet. Frank Clark, if you're not up to speed with where things are at, he officially was released late last week. He's a free agent. Any team in the league can sign Frank Clark. I kind of took that, Cody, as, okay, they're talking things out, but also if you were to bring back Frank Clark, he has to have an understanding of what his role is. Like, hey, you might be a practice squad player. Yeah. You might be a guy that's active, but you're getting like 10 snaps a game. We need you for the playoffs. We need you as depth. We need you to continue to be the leader that you always have been. If he's good with all that, they can make it work financially. They have $3 million in cap space. He's basically a vet minimum at this point, most likely.
Yes.
You want to put some incentives in there, fine. But
to win a Super Bowl or whatever, yeah.
But that's how I took it. I don't know if you did. I kind of took it as they're seeing if they're on the same page and if this is a role that he's willing to accept.
I also think that they probably want to do their due diligence again on the injury front. They know his injury history better than anyone.
True.
Right? They've dealt with his illness stuff. They understand where some of this comes from, what levels of it are better or worse. But I know Omenihu's scheduled to come back, and we can talk about him more later in the week, but I know Omenihu's scheduled to come back, but I always felt like they were one defensive lineman short in the rotation of it, but I felt that way before they were the second-ranked defense in the NFL. I don't feel the same pressure to bring in the Carlos Dunlap, the Frank Clarks of the world, as I did in August, in the middle of August, when I thought we were still having these conversations surrounding their need to do that was all based on the idea that they were going to have to get this Chris Jones deal done just to create the cap space in order to do it. And because Chris Jones' number did not really go down this year, it pretty much stayed the same as it was. They moved a little bit around, but as you mentioned, they got $3 million in cap space. Are you saving and moving the money around for Frank Clark, or would you rather wait 2 weeks just to make sure that you don't need that money for, wide receiver.
Yeah, so
or
look,
some other position that seems like it's more pressing than defensive line.
Mike Dan is playing at a very high level. Turk Warden, Malik Herring even has played nice in the limited snap.
Yeah.
Derek Nottie,
and they're getting ready to get a player back.
And then Omenihu's part of the equation. Now look, I don't think Frank Clark financially is going to hinder you from doing anything else financially. Sure. I think they're already just in a tough spot financially around the deadline in 2.5 weeks because of where they just sit, as you said, with the Chris Jones contract. I also, as much as I agree with you that wide receiver is the area that if they're going to trade for anybody, of course, we don't even know who's available, Cody. You know what I mean? Like at that, is Chris Jones, Frank Clark, having those two guys together in the postseason is still something I'm very interested in. But
I like them as a duo. But
wide receiver wise, Mike Evans is not going to be available. The Bucs, even though they just lost, they're tied for first place in the NFC South. They're not trading Mike Evans anymore. Hollywood Brad, we'll see, but he could be very expensive. In terms of draft capital as well that you could give up. And outside of that, we know there'll be other names available. But as of right now, can you tell me another name that really makes sense?
Adam Thielen?
I don't have my...
Now, look, that I said to sign Adam Thielen at the time in which he was available.
I think what's misleading with Adam Thielen, he's having a very, very nice season in Carolina.
Correct.
They have nobody else.
Oh, I know.
So, I mean,
but I also think at this point, I know the Chiefs have nobody else at wide receiver besides Rashee Rice right now. So Thielen does appear to be an upgrade over at least half of their unit.
I just don't buy that Adam Thielen, what he's doing in Carolina, he'd be doing the exact same thing here. He's not going to get the opportunities.
Name I can offer you.
Right, but he's not going to get those same opportunities in Kansas City.
But would he be an upgrade over MVS or Sky or some of these other players that are underperforming? That's the question.
And the question is the asking price, right? I mean, Carolina absolutely, he's on a 1-year deal, so Carolina should trade Adam Thielen at some point, although they're trying to help the progress of their young quarterback.
Give up on that and trade Adam Thielen.
And they already, Frank Wright just today announced that he's handing over play calling duties to his offensive coordinator. He's not going to call the plays anymore.
Well, then, and guys,
I don't want any more of that heat.
How much or how desperate do you think the Chiefs could be where maybe they meet the asking price because in 2 weeks they're like, you know what, we have to, if we want to win a Super Bowl, we have to get somebody. Do they go into second round
I don't know.
pick territory to make sure that they find
for
that they
who,
get,
though?
Like Hollywood Brown. Like, God, are we really getting?
Well, do you think they get to a point where they're that desperate where they know in order to win a Super Bowl, we have to get somebody else in here?
Yeah, I just don't think Hollywood.
It's hard to
Browns-
feel
I
that
don't-
way when you're 5-1 at the top of the
Yes,
AFC
true.
and having the league's best defense.
Well, I think that was what we talked about last week, even Gold, when Cody was gone. Is do you think the team can win based on how they're playing right now?
Yeah.
Can they win the Super Bowl?
Yes.
With the offense and the defense playing
Look at
this
everybody
way?
else in the league right
Yes,
now.
they
Yeah.
can.
Look, it depends on, to answer your question about would you dive into the second round pick stuff. It truly depends who's available. I don't think I would do that for Hollywood Brown. People throw out unrealistic names on the text line.
Like what, Cortland Sutton?
DK Metcalf's not available. But yeah, duh. But he's not available, guys. And Seattle's also in the middle of potentially going to be in the playoffs this year. Okay, even though they just lost yesterday, but Seattle is still going to end up in the postseason. I'm
Think of
convinced.
bad teams.
Yeah, bad teams and guys that are on expiring contracts. Even bad teams are not trading guys on rookie deals that they think could help them in the next 2 years.
Let me give you.
It's got to be guys on expiring deals or that are malcontents or requesting trades. Like, there's a guy in Tennessee named DeAndre Hopkins. I don't know if you've heard of him. He would have been nice this offseason to have as well.
Hey, in retrospect, we spent the appropriate amount of time talking about D-Hop because don't think it would have hurt the wide receiver situation as it currently
On
sits.
Sunday, he didn't do anything, but they sure targeted him.
Here are some unrestricted free agents for next year. Mike Evans is an unrestricted free agent. Curtis Samuel, Tyler Boyd, Kendrick Bourne, DJ Chark.
Could you imagine the Bengals trading Tyler Boyd to the Chiefs?
Michael Pittman Jr. on the Colts. Calvin Ridley is an unrestricted free agent. Hollywood Brown is an unrestricted free agent.
Michael Pittman's already in his free agency year?
Gabe Davis. Obviously, the Bills aren't going to get rid of him. But
No.
but there's some
only
names.
there's only one name that actually seems tradable, if not two.
Kendrick Bourne probably being one of them.
And, yeah, I'm okay on that.
And then maybe Pittman?
Kendrick Bourne, Michael Pittman, and Hollywood Brown. So 3 names. And again, the Colts, even though they don't have their starting quarterback, I still think the Colts will be in the mix enough around the trade deadline that they're not going to be far enough back out of the divisional race.
That's not including Jerry Jeudy, but as we said before, they're not going to trade him to the.
I don't think.
I will say this. You are ruling out just teams making stupid moves. Like, you're talking like every team is smart and makes smart
Yeah, but
decisions. The Tennessee
let's not-
Titans did have like a quarterback who they needed a star wide receiver around and still traded his
In the
ass
offseason.
to Philadelphia.
In the
Oh, yeah.
offseason.
But it's
That's
like,
the only thing we have to keep in
bad
mind,
teams
too.
do make bad decisions.
Trades happen, but also we have to keep, this is not the NBA. You know what I mean? We always like to hype up the NFL trade deadline like it's going to be the biggest trade deadline ever, and it always ends up being a clunker. It's not the NBA. Usually we don't see a ton. It happens every once. I'm not saying it's never happened. I think really probably twice in the last 6 years we had an NFL trade deadline. We're like, wow, some big names moved. Usually it's duds. All right?
Or it's ancillary players.
And while you're right about being smart GM or not, I can promise you Calvin Ridley's not getting traded from the Jacksonville Jaguars. I can promise you that.
Matter of fact, he might be in for a very nice extension in the offseason from the Jacksonville Jaguars.
I want to know who's available. Right now, I would tell you, if you ask me right this second, are they going to trade for a wide receiver? My answer is no, because currently I don't think there's anybody available that actually makes sense currently.
Financially and draft pick
All of it.
compensation-wise and role-wise and all the other things in between.
All of it.
I'm not in significant disagreement in that. I'm also just realizing how old Calvin Ridley is. He's 29?
Dude, he missed a full season for betting and then was hurt the year before. But yeah, Calvin Ridley
feels like paying
not
him
going
to be
anywhere
a
for
mistake.
Jacksonville, who's in first place in their division and who now suddenly looks like the offense is rolling again. Even though Trevor Lawrence, Thursday Night Football against the Saints, sore knee, his status is in doubt whether or not he's going to play. If not, C.J. Beathard.
There were 5 quarterbacks that had some sort of injury
That's
this
right.
weekend.
C.J. Beathard's still hovering around.
C.J. Beathard is
Kudos
down
for
there.
him. So Thursday Night Football, that'll be interesting, I guess, to see now that we're curious if Trevor Lawrence is going to play.
Saints and
And
Jags.
that's a tough defense to play, even if your knee's not feeling great and you're still in
Jags
the
are
game.
1-point favorites right now.
But tonight, very important game for the AFC and for the NFC. A rare twofer, right, Gold? Monday Night Football, Cowboys, who now have a chance. All the teams ahead of them, right? The undefeated teams who've gotten the better of them, they all just fell this week. And you can just wake up, put your ass right back in the conversation by going to LA and beating the Chargers tonight. The reason why I think it's fascinating is it is like the embodiment of everything we think about the Chargers all the time, which is if they beat, like you've pointed out, if they beat the Cowboys tonight, all of a sudden they're 3-2 with a chance to equal the Chiefs in the loss column by beating them this upcoming Sunday with a massive advantage at their back, and they might be able to push things forward for this. But I still And they are the most frustrating team to try to predict in any given year. Because when you guess that they're no good, they're not no good. When you say they're great, they're not great. So they end up being average, but they're better than average because I'm like, what the hell are you? Choose what you are. This Cowboys game is exactly the point. They will either lose to the Cowboys by 3 touchdowns or beat them by 3 touchdowns, and we'll have a wildly different opinion on them for that 1 week based on this one game. And next week they'll go to double overtime. They don't, but they'll go to overtime with the Chiefs with a field goal being kicked in the final 4 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of think the Chargers are going to win tonight, and a lot of the reasons you're bringing up, we've seen this play out so many times over the last 3 years, in particular with Herbert and Brandon Staley, 2+ years, I guess, now together, where we look at this and they go and win some big-time games, and they get the national buy-in back, which is exactly what can happen by beating the Dallas Cowboys on Monday Night Football. You go and you beat them tonight, and everybody's like, oh, here now the Chargers that we all thought, here they go. Austin Eckler's going to come back and play. Joey Bosa's going to play tonight, and you'll start to get that love and attention back. And then, yes, they come into Arrowhead on Sunday afternoon with a chance to make it a real race or fall off. And typically the answer has been they end up losing and have a letdown, or they play well, but it's not, letdown's not a fair word, but they certainly lose, and then all of a sudden they end up losing the division by 3 games.
This feels like the setup to losing the division by 3 games if you go lost back.
Yeah, I mean, like 2 or 3 weeks ago, we were discussing the Chargers, who had at that point had just gotten their first win. They were winless against the Vikings, right? They got their first win. We're like, you watch, they're going to win like 2 or 3 in a row. Well, that's what they're in position to do with a win tonight, and I think everybody will buy back in on them. And I told you, it's kind of a sick thought process. Chiefs fans, you always want the Chargers to lose. In a weird way, I enjoy, like, once they get built back up, knocking them back down a peg. So if they win tonight, I actually think it'll be enjoyable to beat them even more on Sunday if that's the case.
So you're a Chargers fan tonight?
No, but I do think the Chargers win tonight.
Is that what I'm hearing?
It is a pick that I had from my show last week. I do think the Chargers cover the 2.5 points and might win this thing out.
How are you in the other picks before I make a determination about what to bet tonight?
Washington was good. Saints pick was wrong, and we'll see what tonight brings.
Okay, so you're 1-1 in your official
on
NFL
the official picks this weekend.
What's your overall NFL record on official picks?
Above 500.
Okay. All right, so you're saying I got a better than 50% chance?
Something percent.
I convinced my wife, by the way, guys, to download DraftKings to get the bonus bets. She's on. She's on a heater.
She's just racking it up.
I was awful this weekend, and she's like, "Oh, I just won. I'm like, "Okay."
Oh, dude. So she signed up for the bonus bets. Like I made my wife sign up when they originally came here for some of them, but I just placed all those bets. She wasn't making those bets. I just placed all those bets.
I got her into it, and she is like, "I'm doing this, and I'm doing this, and win." I mean, she's over $200
take
right
some
now.
of this cash up.
There you go.
I mean, she's raking it in right now. Compared to me, who can't pick a bet correctly, I lost everything this week in college, NFL. I was awful.
It happens, though, man. This was I can't remember who tweeted it out.
This was a mediocre weekend.
This was a
500 or so.
big time. Hey, hope you guys enjoyed the month of September, winning all your Colorado college football bets and thinking it would just continue because it doesn't work that way. And the public lost their ass this weekend. Yeah, here was it. So text from two different
29-0 at half
from 2 different bookmakers. This is just the NFL. This is from Ben Fox. Best Sunday this season. 49ers Eagles outright losses were massive wins for books, knocking out parlay and teaser liability. Yeah, the books got their money back. A lot of the winnings that people just kept carrying over. It always happens eventually, by the way.
That's when I just stopped playing.
You're going to lose eventually. It's just whether or not you stay hot enough throughout the year.
What is the percentage of NFL bets you have to get right if somebody just staked you $1 million and you had to wager it, that you'd have to get right to just retire, like to be a bookie forever? 60%? What's the percentage that great if professional gamblers hit on NFL picks? 60%?
90% of NFL bettors are not anywhere near 60%.
No, I'm just saying if you're the best of the best, cream of the crop, you're going to make a damn profession out of this. 60% get it done?
You got to be above that.
Damn, I got to be above 60%?
But that's even,
with the juice and all that?
That's even
a
wild.
hard number to
That's
hit.
even wild. I mean, again, that's why people think percentage-wise. Like, if you make it through an NFL season and you're hitting 57% of your bets, you're actually doing really, really well. You really are.
Yeah, you're having fun, you're betting money, you're enjoying yourself, and just as long as you keep the unit size the same, which we do not shame.
We do not unit shame on this show.
If you keep the unit size the same, you'd be up for the year, you know? Overall, you'd have a nice little profit, small profit, or you'd made zero, in which case you had a bunch of fun and you didn't lose money, which also feels nice. It's always hard to look at it that way. You forget about the big wins when you have a bad weekend. Do you have a bad weekend this weekend? Overall,
Survivor.
I was like
sweating.
500.
I was sweating for a little bit.
Oh, it's like 2 minutes. You ever thought they were going to actually lose
I
that
had
game, did you?
Survivor pick still going, and I had the Dolphins this weekend, and they got down 14-0. It was the biggest lead of the year for Carolina. And I was like, what the hell is going on? And then Miami fortunately woke up and ended up winning very, very comfortably. I was hoping the Bills were going to lose last night. Would have knocked out a bunch of people in Survivor contests, but yeah.
Take your wins. You survived. Just live
Yeah,
your
the Bengals
1
keep
week at a time.
the Bengals keeping their season alive. Big win. Got back to 500 before the bye week. They didn't look great yesterday, but they found a way to win. Avoided a 2-4 start going to the bye week with the Cowboys and Bills. I think it is coming up. Niners.
I probably should give them. Oh God, a motivated Niners team too. I probably should give them the same credit I would give the Chiefs for just like, hey, a win's a win in the NFL season. They're still not right. Something's off with Cincinnati this year, more than just Joe Burrow's knee. They should have lost that game to Seattle 8 different times. Drew, I'm sure you were watching it pretty closely.
I was. It was on TV.
Something like offensively, they are so out of sync. I have a hard time imagining still that they could just absolutely, without question, move forward with this thing because they still could lose back-to-back weeks. Niners, Bills the next 2 weeks. The Texans are salty as hell. Then they have the Ravens on the road. Like, their schedule sucks. I'm not so sure that we're not going to wake up 4 weeks from now and feel like Cincinnati is like a game or two under 500 more than halfway through the season in a very difficult AFC to make the postseason and not still think there's a good chance they're missing.
I don't think they're completely fixed, but they're certainly, they're, even though it wasn't a typical Cincinnati from 2021 performance, they're at least now getting good enough play to win games or making plays at the right time for Joe Burrow. But they've got to play a lot better against some of these other teams coming up. But you have to admit, getting to 500, considering where things were trending, they got to be feeling a lot better. They get a bye week to get the calf injury more time as well. They got to feel like they're turning a corner. I know you said you think it's not just the Joe Burrow injury, but that's a huge part of this. That's a huge part of how they were.
I was told he was healed.
He is
after a game 2 weeks ago. I was told he was fixed.
I mean, he's running around like he's scrambling for first downs and all that other stuff.
The offensive line sucks.
The offensive line is graded a little. They've graded okay, but I feel like part of it.
I don't think it looks as good to watch as maybe on paper.
Well, Orlando Brown Jr. he had a groin tweak yesterday, so that didn't help. And then there's a play where Jonah Williams just let a defensive lineman just walk right by him and sack Joe. It's like, all right, guys, what are we doing? But I think, to your point, Cody, I think it is a little bit more than just Joe because I think the calf is okay now. I think it's fine. I think it still needs to be
6 weeks.
I think he's still putting the brace on and all that other stuff out when he comes off to keep it fresh. But he's running around, he's scrambling. That's fine. My thing is, and this, I guess, is why I'm not as worried because the Bengals play like this, where they have one amazing half and then the second half they suck. Or they get off to a terrible start and then all of a sudden they show up late and they find a way to win games. And it's happened before. So that's nothing necessarily new, but it's when you're going up against these great defenses now that we see coming up on the schedule, like San Francisco.
There's a lot in the AFC, too.
And that also that's the most concerning thing. If you're the Bengals, is they're 0-3 in the AFC. They're 3-0 against the NFC. So when it comes to tiebreakers, say they don't win the division.
I didn't realize that. They're 0-3 against the AFC.
Say they don't win the division. They're 0-3 against the AFC right now.
Yeah.
So they are in a world of trouble when it comes down to the Chargers or maybe the Steelers or, Buffalo or Miami. Those things are going to be something to look at as we go down the stretch of the season where they might miss the playoffs and they go 10-7. Say they make it there because they got off to a horrible start against the AFC teams.
They're currently 12th in the AFC still.
Yeah,
Even after winning back-to-back games, they are 12th in the AFC.
Yeah, they're going to lose every tiebreaker. By the way, a 10-7 season for Cincinnati where they missed the playoffs sounds like perfection here in Kansas City.
Pick 20.
Yeah, it sounds beautiful. Not 18, bad enough to get one of the top 10 picks, but also not making the playoffs. That seems like perfection. Sorry, Joe. Sorry for your guy Joe over there, Drew. By the way,
I think they're going to make the playoffs. It might be the 6 or 7
right now
seed,
they have the same
we'll
record
see.
as the Colts, Texans, Jets, and Raiders, and I think they're better than those.
And they play all of those teams too. I think
the Raiders did win yesterday. That was the other pick, by the way. I got lucky on the safety. I had Las Vegas -3, so I'm 2-1 on my official pick. Sorry.
No Jimmy G, and they still beat the Patriots.
Safety got us a cover. If you were back in the Patriots, you're sick to your stomach. I think our boss Spec had the Patriots +3, and Mac Jones sucks. And almost not an Orlovsky. He just got a safety. He didn't pull an Orlovsky, but he got sacked in the end zone.
Well, that's not bad luck.
I think Speck also picked
That's betting on Mac Jones. That's your own decision.
Speck also picked USC, I think, to cover that game.
So did I. I didn't know Caleb Williams was going to throw 3 picks at his worst game in college career.
He threw all 3 in the first half, didn't he?
Yeah, he was terrible.
Yeah, it was bad.
And according to Drew, he's basically overrated now.
That was, well, I mean, he's allowed to have an opinion.
Listen, guys.
Well, I know. That's why I'm giving him a hard time.
Listen. Put him on a team with a bad offensive line and see what happens.
The thing that helps Cincinnati, at least in this regard, for like, hey, do we need to bury them and just think they're not making the postseason over these 5 teams. Like if they're like, hey, we got to knock out somebody from the postseason to make it. They're not making it over 5. Chiefs, Dolphins, Ravens, Jags, Bills. Those teams are making the playoffs, not on the back of Cincinnati, right? But all they have to do is jump one of the teams that is Pittsburgh, Cincinnati, the Colts, the Texans. Like, they just got to jump one of those teams. Like, that doesn't seem all that ludicrous.
Well, they can still win their own division.
Yeah.
But they've got to play a lot
They're
better.
0-2 in the division, so they almost have to win out in order to do that, too. The fact that they play the Bills as well is nice because you have that tiebreaker technically. And
I think they're just getting away
those
from
others.
I think they're losing the next 2 weeks, and as much as they fought and clawed and got themselves back to 3-3, they're getting ready to just wake right back up and be 3-5 and be battling for their damn life again.
But they got the 7-Eleven pendant. Everything's fine. He's always
Jamar's
open.
always open.
He's got the 7-Eleven pendant that Drew's going to buy for $120 through 7-Eleven.
Their defense, by the way, speaking of which, I think is a little bit underrated as well through this whole thing. Trey Hendrickson's one of the league leaders in sacks, and they've got some DBs who are continuing. They're very young at DB, but they continue to hit on draft picks there. So I don't know. I don't want to compare them to the Chiefs necessarily, but they're winning some ugly games, and the defense is playing not as well as the Chiefs.
Yeah,
I made
the
sure to
17th
be
ranked scoring defense. Let's be careful before we
I
start.
made sure to be steadfast. All right, and
Maybe the Chiefs of years past.
Listen, if they win on New Year's Eve, it's okay. All right.
Not if they're not playing for a playoff spot.
Nobody's going to care as much at that point.
Care.
You guys are
If
not holding up the
playoff games. I won't care about that.
Yeah, you're
game.
not holding up the end of the bargain.
Does
if
our
the
bet
Chiefs,
still stand if they're not making the playoffs and they
what's
beat
the
the
bet?
Chiefs?
We haven't made the bet.
You're going to have to. Oh, yeah.
We haven't made the bet.
We'll talk about that later.
No, what was the bet you guys made that you had to put the other person's Venmo handle on your car? What was that bet for? Anybody remember? You guys definitively had a bet?
Was it us or Kramer?
Wait,
was that Kramer?
I was going to say, I don't remember that.
It was Kramer. Oh, and that was for the Raiders to win the division?
He said the Raiders.
He said something absurd, something ludicrous.
He said the Raiders were winning like 9 or 10 games or something.
Oh, it's not?
I can't remember. We have to go back and listen.
It might have been 8 or not. Yeah. It was a certain number of
Oh,
points.
wait, you think they're getting the 9 now?
No, God,
okay,
no.
okay.
I'd feel better about our bet.
Sure, yeah. That's just
I'm not going to count my cash yet. Let me
No.
be very careful. The Raiders are awful, and the Broncos have almost won a couple of games.
They
I'm not
both
going to count.
suck.
They're
Yeah.
two terrible teams.
They both are terrible.
Just awful
They
teams.
both are horrific.
Which was my whole point before we made that bet, is that they were equally bad, which I think now we would actually probably agree on. They are equally bad football teams.
Yes. Yet the Raiders have 3 wins. They have found a way. All right,
Worst 3-win team in the
coming up
league.
next, we'll get to the random question of the day. And one thing that our guy Pete Sweeney pointed out about the rest of the NFL, and it's a good reminder for all of us in Kansas City.
Cody and Gold, brought to you by Gann Asphalt and Concrete. For asphalt, concrete, and parking lot maintenance, Gann Asphalt and Concrete. One contractor, all things parking lot. Trusted in Kansas City since 1994. Online at GANNasphalt.com. Tune in to hear Andy Reid every Monday at noon, exclusively on your official broadcast partner of the Chiefs, 610 Sports Radio.
Inside the Huddle is brought to you by Blue KC. Live healthy with Blue KC.
Snap into action this NFL season with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook app. Right now, new customers can get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed. All you got to do is place a $5 bet. That's $200 in bonus bets, win or lose. If you've been thinking about joining FanDuel for this football season, there's no better time to get in on the action. The app is super easy to use, and you got a wide spread of betting options, spreads, player props, over-unders, and more. And I love the boost. Great bonus options from FanDuel. So visit FanDuel.com, use my promo code CDOT, and kick off this NFL season. FanDuel, an official partner of the NFL, and also 610 Sports Radio. 21 and present in Kansas. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expires 7 days after a street. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under agreement with Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem? Getting help is your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700 or visit ksgamblinghelp.com.
Your attention is precious. Pulled in a million directions for a million different reasons. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City works hard to make sure your health insurance isn't one of the many things distracting you from what's important. By making healthcare easier to navigate, we help keep your focus on the moments that matter most. Like dinner with loved ones. Letting you focus on you. That's the benefit of Blue. Learn more at BlueKC.com.
The next generation of streaming is here. Introducing Spectrum One Stream, bringing together internet, advanced Wi-Fi, mobile, and now TV with the all-new Xumo Stream Box. Get fast and reliable internet for $49.99 a month, free advanced Wi-Fi, a free unlimited Spectrum mobile line, and a free Xumo Stream Box when you add Spectrum TV. Spectrum One Stream. It's streaming simplified. Visit Spectrum.com or a Spectrum store for details. Offer subject to change. Valid for qualified residential customers only. Service not available in all areas. Restrictions apply.
Klein tools are new at Lowe's, pros. Lowe's knows you want top brands and quality products, and Klein Tools delivers. Right now, get the Klein 3-piece ModBox mobile workstation for $319.94 and the Klein 5-piece cushion grip screwdriver set for just $34.97, both exclusively at Lowe's. Shop the largest selection of Klein tools, the highest quality tool brand at Lowe's. Because Lowe's knows tools, Lowe's knows pros.
Wendy's new breakfast 2 for $3 Biggie Bundles let you create your own delicious combo. Choose from a sausage biscuit, egg and cheese biscuit, small seasoned potatoes, and a medium hot coffee. But it's obvious which combo's the best. Sausage biscuit and small seasoned potatoes. Well, maybe it's the fresh cracked egg and cheese biscuit with a medium hot coffee. Or 2 savory sausage biscuits. Whichever you pick, you can't go wrong. Choose wisely. Choose Wendy's new 2 for $3 Biggie Bundles.
Limited time only. U.S. price and participation may vary. Not valid in a combo. Single item at regular price.
Head over to Buffalo Wild Wings in Lee's Summit on Thursday, November 19th from 4 to 6 p.m. Enjoy music, $10 54-ounce Bud Light pitchers and wings from Buffalo Wild Wings. Bud Light, the official beer sponsor of the NFL. Enjoy responsibly. 21 and older. Anheuser-Busch Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
In order to build a great team, you need great deals. And Sonic has the best deal. With the Sonic 2 for $7 deal, you get 2 iconic menu items for only $7. Choose from the foot-long quarter-pound chili cheese coney, the juicy Sonic cheeseburger, or crispy chicken sandwich, any 2 items, any combination. You can even double up. And did I say it's only $7? Get your best deal today, only for a limited time, and only at Sonic.
Inside the Huddle with Cody and Gold, each day from noon until 1 on 610 Sports Radio. Inside the Huddle is brought to you by Blue KC. Live healthy with Blue KC on the official radio partner of the Kansas City Chiefs. Hi. 610 Sports Radio.
We're the Hellsberg Wedding Band, and this is for the lovers out there. Ooh, gonna propose riding on a horse, wearing a tuxedo, shirtless of course. That Hellsberg diamond will dazzle her eye, and she'll say yes. Well, then she'll cry. Now put your shirt back on, guy. For over 100 years, Hellsberg has been customizing engagement rings of the highest quality. Plus, with Hellsberg's transparent pricing, you know you're getting the best price. Find her ring at a Hellsberg store near you or at Hellsberg.com.
In this market, you'll find Fisher Investments is different than other money managers.
Different how? Aren't we all just looking for the hottest stocks?
Nope. We use diversified strategies to position our clients' portfolios for their long-term goals.
You don't just provide cookie-cutter portfolios?
No, we tailor our clients' portfolios to their goals and needs.
But you still sell investments that generate high commissions for you, right?
No, we don't sell commission-based products. We're a fiduciary, the highest standard of care for a financial advisor. It means we're obligated to act in our clients' best interest.
So when do you make more money? Only when your clients make more money?
Yep, we have one transparent management fee structured, so we do better when our clients do better.
Sounds like you really look out for your clients.
We do, because our priority is helping them achieve a comfortable retirement. That might be why most of our clients come from other money managers. Visit FisherInvestments.com to find out why investors like you switch to us. Fisher Investments. Clearly, different money management.
Investments in securities involve the risk of loss.
With fall appliance savings at the Home Depot, we have laundry appliances that just fit. They'll fit your space, fit your needs, and they'll fit your budget too. Like a new LG laundry set that features a mega capacity washer to help you do more laundry in less time, and sensor dry technology to make sure nothing comes out damp or over dried. final days to get up to $600 off select appliances plus up to an extra $100 off select laundry sets. The Home Depot. How doers get more done. Pricing valid September 28th through October 18th. Gas Dryer Extra. U.S. only. See store online for details.
Did you know gas goes bad in as little as 30 days? Bad gas can cause rough starts, poor performance, or no starts at all. Stable, America's #1 fuel stabilizer, ensures quick and easy starts after storage. Stable's proprietary formula keeps fuel fresh for 2 years, outperforming competitors. Whether it's your car, truck, boat, lawnmower, leaf blower, weed trimmer, ATV, motorcycle, or anything else with an engine, when you store, start with Stable.
The 610 Sports Radio phone line is brought to you by Onder Law Injury Lawyers. Visit getjim.com.
Chiefs coverage on 610 Sports Radio is brought to you by Comfort Systems Heating and Cooling in Belton.
Score these hot winter deals from Comfort Systems. Receive up to $1,500 in rebates on a new Lennox Ultimate Comfort System, or no payments, no interest for 6 months when financing a new Lennox system.
Comfort people is what we do. Comfort System is right for you.
All right, back here on Cody and Gold, hanging out on a Red Monday in Kansas City. Get to the random question of the day here in about 8 minutes or so. You could always hit us up on the Jay Southland Tow Service text line, 913-586-7610. Before we get to the random question of the day, Pete Sweeney, who joins us every Friday on the show, and of course you're here on Arrowhead Pride Radio with Dusty Likens Wednesday nights. You'll hear him this Wednesday night, as a matter of fact, getting set for the Chiefs and the Chargers. He wrote a column last night just talking about basically what we've seen in the NFL this weekend and like, oh yeah, a reminder, these other teams have flaws. These other teams actually lost to some of the teams that you were frustrated that the Chiefs won in close games, margin too.
I mean, it's not a wrong point. His point was, hey, quick reminder, you cheer for the best team in the NFL. And the reason why you cheer for the best team in the NFL is, look, other teams can struggle too. The only reason why, and I think that this is what makes this week interesting versus where we had been. I didn't think that there was really an argument up until this week. I think the 49ers were clearly the deepest and best team in the NFL. But the 49ers are having 49ers problems now where creeping injuries that maybe are a week or maybe are 2 weeks are starting to show their head again and all of that stuff back in there. And as a whole, defense kind of dominated the NFL this week. The Jags and the Dolphins might have been the only two teams where you're like, yeah, those offenses scored some points, and it looked pretty good. Because the Eagles, the Bills, if you want to go back to Thursday night against the Chiefs, who moved the ball well, I think the two teams I mentioned might have been the only two teams in the 30s this previous week. There weren't even that many teams in the high 20s. So I think from that perspective, especially when you factor in what the Chiefs do defensively now, you can enter them in the conversation. If I said, hey, we're sitting at a bar, you and I, we're cracking peanuts, we're having a couple of beers, and we're like, who's the best team in the NFL right now? That's the barstool debate that we're having. I think you can make a very strong argument for the Chiefs, maybe for the first time all year.
I would agree with that. You know, I still don't think you eliminate the 49ers from being the best team conversation off of 1 week. The same way people were saying not to overreact a week ago about any of these other teams. I'm not going to overreact to one loss for the 49ers either. But the biggest question for them is, are they healthy come January? Because that's always been their problem. Not are they healthy in October. Well, turns out yesterday in a game in which they lost 3 of their star players, Trent Williams did come back, but they lose Christian McCaffrey and Deebo Samuel. George Kittle had 1 catch. All right, so they have some holes as well, and that's the first time we saw it, though. And so, yeah, if we're talking about best team, I agree with Pete where it's like, hey, you root for the best team. I also think you can still make that argument in San Francisco. I think you can still make that argument in Philadelphia.
In Kansas City, we have the luxury of knowing what they've done historically lately, which helps.
I think there's 3 teams that can still make that argument. A week ago, I think the Niners were clearly above the rest. It is possible for things to adjust. Again, this is the beautiful thing about you said history with the Chiefs is we know, and this goes for Buffalo as well, with their bad performance last night, but they found a way to win. You're building up. You're racking up wins while you're trying to figure yourself out and while you're trying to improve and get your team primed for what matters most in Kansas City. If you're in Buffalo, if you're in Philly, you know it's not about what you do in the regular season. It is how you're graded is what you do come postseason and really whether or not you're going to Super Bowls or not and winning them in the Chiefs' case. That's how you're graded. We all know, right? Like, the Chiefs could host a 6th straight AFC title game and they lose, and people are going to view it as a disappointing season.
Yes.
Okay? That's where we're at now. And so with that in mind, if they're winning games and racking up wins and they're on their way to another 12-plus win season for
and
Andy
have the
Reid.
longest active winning streak in the NFL again because obviously they lost week 1 and now have won all 5 games since then.
The Chiefs are absolutely right there with those two other teams. A week ago, the Niners appeared to be above everybody else with the caveat of staying healthy. And look what happened. They're already hurt.
What's so weird about the Chiefs season this year is it feels like they've been in a lot of close games and it's been kind of hinky. They have the 4th widest point differential in the NFL. They're only 8 points back of Miami. They beat a team by 50.
Yeah, I mean, the Chiefs beat a team by what, like 35 or something?
20, right? I mean, it was like 40 to 10. 30, I guess. Well, there's a huge difference between beating a team by 30 versus beating a team by 50 points.
Just saying, though. Like they've had a wide margin. Well, look, their defense
right now,
is
San
wide.
Francisco's number 1. They have a better point differential by about 35 points than the Chiefs. Buffalo is number 2 with about a 40-point differential than the Chiefs better. And then Miami 3rd with about an 8-point
But the Chiefs do. In the Mahomes era, this is the best through 6 weeks. Scoring differential.
To me, and that's what's so confusing about them. For the first time in a long time, I think we're stuck trying to convince ourselves that the Chiefs are actually as good as they are versus the other years because they were great at the thing we expected. That's the biggest hang up here. If this was the other way around, and right now the defense was playing like the 10th best unit in the NFL, and the offense was playing like the 2nd best unit in the NFL, but the record was the same at 5-1. That's where they currently stand in points per game allowed. The 9th ranked offense, the 2nd ranked defense. If it were vice versa, we would all emphatically say, this is the best damn team in the NFL. The reason why I feel that way right now is not because of one loss to San Francisco. It's because I watched them bleed a little bit. I watched the Chiefs defense yet again perform to this level, and I know that even though maybe they are, let's just say for this argument, they are only the 9th best offense in the NFL. But I also know that they're the 9th best offense that inside of 3 minutes has Patrick Mahomes on his damn team, which is different than just being any other 9th ranked offense in the NFL, because at any moment he can still pull the rabbit out of his hat.
Sure. We've seen it time and time again. And there's just a belief that this offense still has room to grow. I will argue the defense has room to grow still. As great as they're playing might sound nuts, I don't think the defense is at their maximum output yet either. We haven't even seen what it looks like with Charles Omenihu. How can I say that? How can I say it? I mean, he was their biggest defensive signing, we thought, in the offseason, even if Drew Tranquill has turned out to be a huge signing with the Nick Bolton injury a couple weeks ago.
But they did it with no Nick Bolton for 2 or 3 weeks, no Chris Jones for a week. I mean, they've missed players.
They're about to have the whole gang together, though, finally, for the first time this year on Sunday.
And
even if
Omenihu's good timing,
even if Omenihu's,
do they have an important game this Sunday? Even if it's a divisional opponent at home,
even if Omenihu's limited, Andy was talking earlier. You guys heard that about 40 minutes ago. That there's a chance he's on a little bit of a snap count. They don't know. They got to see
15 snaps.
That's fine.
Most of them will be in pass rushing situations.
The Chiefs rotate in so many defensive linemen by design. It keeps them fresh, but also makes it really challenging if you're the offense and trying to know. Like sometimes personnel obviously can tip you a little bit to what a defense might be trying to do. The Chiefs are rotating so many different guys in, even at the linebacker spot as well, that it's very challenging right now, I think, for offenses, I should say, to match up with this defense. That's a big reason why they're having success as well. Not just that they've got some young players that continue to develop, and you're seeing the benefit of having so many young players playing last year on this defense, and now you're seeing them in year 2. But I think they're doing a really nice job at making matchups kind of difficult by confusing defenses and having so many different personnel packages.
Yeah, they are, and they're making it challenging because they're just kind of deep everywhere. I don't think it's a wrong stance. Again, maybe don't judge the 49ers on their lowest moment. I'll say this. It is pretty shocking to see them lose to a 3rd-string quarterback. But Cleveland is going to kind of maybe be inside of a touchdown of every team they play this year because their defense is that good, which means all it really takes for Cleveland is to get lucky one time or have a critical turnover go their way at one time. Anything. Although I'm saying that, and they lost by 4 touchdowns last week to the Ravens. So
I feel like that's what we kind of saw, though, is why I don't know if I'd really put the 49ers offense, while they've been scoring points and all that stuff, as a better offense than the Dolphins or some of these other teams.
They're definitely not better than the Dolphins. They're in a little
But
island.
I mean, even Buffalo, I would put them down below them, as well as maybe even the Chiefs too. And the reason why is because I think we found they're a team that's built to play ahead. They're not built to play from behind. And while Brock Purdy has been good, and they've got a lot of weapons. Christian McCaffrey, obviously the best running back in football, Deebo Samuel, but I feel like this is the situation that people will have questions about going forward. When they're down, can Brock Purdy be the guy when you can't just give the ball to McCaffrey and run the ball? Can
it's also
he
his first ever regular season loss.
Yes, which is nuts. But can he be the guy, like, because I trust a whole lot more quarterbacks than Brock Purdy with 2 minutes left to go. Hey, man, we need you to lead the team down the field. And granted, he did that a little bit yesterday to get them into field goal range. But I don't know if they're a team that's built to play from behind and come back. That's the only weariness I have, I guess, placing them that high.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair. I will say, though, with most of these quarterbacks, if all of a sudden in game against one of the best defenses in football, if I told you your number one wide receiver, your number one running back who's the best player on your team, Christian McCaffrey, all of a sudden in game go out, I would say there'd be some other quarterbacks that in game struggle. Now, Kyle Shanahan, to me, the one part where they did a terrible job was George Kittle had one catch. Like, that's unacceptable. How do you have George Kittle and you can't scheme him at all? A lot of that has to do with it was much easier to focus in when all of a sudden Brandon Ayuk and George Kittle are the only two weapons. What makes them so crazy is Kyle Shanahan and scheme, yes, but you got to worry about Kittle, Ayuk, Debo, and Christian McCaffrey. Suddenly when it's just Kittle and Ayuk, they become a little bit more mortal.
I also think that's the question that is going to come up with San Francisco, because they're going to be in the NFC Championship. They're going to be in the playoffs in these big moments where you're facing the best defenses in the NFL. So this isn't it's going to be something that comes up again when you're facing Philly, when you're facing the Chiefs. Like if you're facing the Chiefs in the Super Bowl, can you score on that defense when top tier quarterbacks haven't been able to do it? That, I think, is where San Francisco is maybe, and this is, you go back to Jimmy G and everything like that, they haven't been able to get over the hump of scoring points when behind to stay in the game or to go and win a game.
Yeah, but I don't disagree entirely. One, I'll say in the Super Bowl, they did have the lead over the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. They couldn't hold the lead. Their defense cost them the game. Patrick Mahomes came back from behind in the third quarter. They actually did have the lead. But also, like, the key goes back to the injury thing. What you're saying in this year's postseason for the 49ers, if they're healthy, I have no question that they can score. The big problem for them is they have a lot of their playmakers are guys that are so athletic, but they deal with a lot of soft tissue type of injuries. McCaffrey, Deebo Samuel, and we saw 2 injuries yesterday. If they're 100% healthy, and their quarterback, by the way, because we saw that play out last year in the NFC title game. If their team is healthy, and most teams, by the way, in January are not, then it's a whole different ballgame. But if they're going to be down playmakers, then there's certainly problems that they're going to have. The same way we talked about the Chiefs on offense. When they didn't have Travis Kelce, their offense was brutal week 1.
Have they had an update on the Christian McCaffrey injury?
I haven't seen anything yet. It's out west, so it's still only 11, just now almost noon out there. I don't think they've done their media availability yet.
I like watching Christian McCaffrey play. He's one of the most fun players in the NFL. I hate the usage numbers for him. It's like, you guys, you're like the Chiefs. Be smart about this. Play the long game. If, let's say, this injury is normally a 1-week injury, give him 2. Well,
they might. And they got a bye week after that, so they might really rest him for the next 3.
Give yourself some time. Rest up your guy. Do not risk. That's what, my only thing with him is, how are you going to let Christian McCaffrey lead the NFL in touches for a while? No. I know it's tempting because I watch him play too. Very fun. Very fun when he has the football. Maybe don't do that. It's just a lesson they can learn from the Chiefs. Let's get to the random question of the day.
Random question.
For you, Drew. For you, Gold. Over in the text line, 913-586-7610. Over on our social medias, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, Facebook. If you want to watch the show live, we stream it all on those platforms as well. The question I have for you today is, what was, a common amount of time you would have spent at a friend's house in childhood? I want to know how this compares now to my own children's experience. So you're a kid. You're going to your bud Steve's house. Gold, you're 8 years old.
Steve.
That's decidedly not an 8-year-old's name.
Okay.
At our age, it would have been like let me just guess Brandon, Michael, Christopher, one of those guys' houses. You're heading over to your friend's house. You're 8 to 10 years old. You ride your bike over. What is the length of time that would have been normal for you to spend at that person's house during that time?
Man.
I want to know how this compares.
So I lived in a cul-de-sac, and so there was a group. There was a group of us that would hang out. So sometimes you'd be outside as well. Like if you count that, there'd be some Saturdays where, from 1 o'clock till you end up having dinner with their parents and their family. Like there were times
just
we did
without even telling your folks, not even like the courtesy call.
Of course you would. Again, cul-de-sac.
Oh,
but yeah, back then when you had phones, landline phones,
landline phones. You sound so old when
Yeah.
you say that. And we all use landlines.
Yeah, we all
it's
know.
not true.
We all know.
Drew probably
our,
doesn't even remember a landline phone.
We all still,
Yes,
even
I
if we
do.
don't have the
I
phone
do.
number, we all still remember our childhood phone numbers.
816-453-5421.
Yeah.
It was 6402 before that.
469-6261 was the childhood number. It doesn't exist. Someone has it now.
823-7553. That means
Yeah. So we all remember
We
it,
all
but
know our childhood
everybody
numbers.
does. Yeah. But it's funny because we all remember that, but there's other than like 3 numbers in my phone now, I couldn't tell you who the hell they are.
I don't know your number. I
Yeah.
don't know Drew's
Yeah,
number.
not
I
at
know
all.
my wife's.
I know my.
That might be the end of the
I
list.
think
my
I
wife's
only know
phone
my
number.
mom and dad's cell phone number. Other than that, I couldn't
know
tell you.
those.
But anyway, point being, to answer your question, no, there'd be hours, man, hours.
Because my youngest has been asking to hang out with his friend. He's in pre-K. He's 5. He's been really pushing and was getting, and so we eventually set up like a play date. They dropped their kid off to hang out, which I was I'll be honest, a little surprised by because we didn't know each other that well, but dropped the kid off for a couple of hours. And I was like, that feels like a good solid number. I'm responsible for your kid a couple of hours. Maybe I'm responsible for a snack. That's about it.
See,
I'm off the hook in about a 2-hour time window. That feels about right now. But I remember as a kid too. The reason why I asked the question is there were times where I might have been gone for like 10 consecutive hours at a friend's house. Not like an overnight stay, not your parents are out of town, just like you were gone for 10 hours at a buddy's house.
I think some of it too is, as I mentioned, at least in my scenario, it was a cul-de-sac. So I mean, literally, their house would. Everybody would be playing in the cul-de-sac. Then you might end up going inside and playing video games at one kid's house or whatever it may be. But everybody lives so close, so it was a little bit different. It wasn't like your parents had to go and actually drive you over. I mean, literally, you would walk right. I mean, their house was right there. You could see it across the street.
Someone said they had different rules. Weekday during the school year, maybe an hour. Weekend or summer day, maybe 3 hours, maybe more.
Oh, weekday's a whole different story. Yeah, weekday you might shoot some hoops outside in the cul-de-sac. You're probably not doing much more than that.
I never really ate dinner. I maybe a dozen times ate dinner at a friend's house. That was
It happened.
Not until I got a little bit older. As I got older, like maybe you're in high school or something.
Oh, see, I might
maybe that
have
was
done
a
it less.
slightly more common occurrence. But I was little, almost never. Very, very rare. We would it was like the lights are on, so we'll go home and we'll eat food. Or like, hey, dinner will be ready at 6.
There was definitely
we had a lot. We didn't live in a cul-de-sac, but between our street and the 2 streets around us, I'm not kidding. There might have been 50 kids who lived in a 3-block radius.
That's crazy.
There were 7 of us. The Camachos at the end of the street had 11. The Clausens at the top had 4. The Edwards had 4. I mean, it was just like there was that was our street.
Yeah.
Not to mention the 2 around it. There were like 50 kids in a 3-block radius.
Yeah, and then like everybody had the same rules, right? Like when it was okay to call the home line, like what time? Like you gotta wait till after 10:30 or whatever it was, until you can call the landline because it's not like you were texting your buddies. You had to call the landline.
And then you gotta be careful. You don't want to knock someone off of AOL.
That too.
Don't want to knock
Dial-up.
someone off
right.
the internet.
Oh my gosh.
Oh man.
Yeah, that was we lived in a cul-de-sac as well, and I think like we would my brother, sister, and I, we'd always be outside. So I feel like some of my friends who were close enough by would hear like the basketball bouncing. And, oh yeah, I'm going over to
that would
Drew's
happen
house.
a lot too. Yeah,
So-
you could definitely see who somebody was out in the cul-de-sac already for sure.
Just randomly somebody shows up. Hey, how's it going? What's up? Like you don't even have to call anybody. It's just they're outside. I'm going over there because I'm going to shoot hoops over at the Nixon household.
I don't think we have that cul-de-sac life. We live in a cul-de-sac technically.
But
We're at the very bottom.
That's the issue.
The cul-de-sac is the best place to shoot hoops or to like have a football game of some kind because there's so much more space. And
we would do
all
like
that.
2-hand touch football in the cul-de-sac because again, rarely would a car ever
we did
come
that,
through.
but-
We would, you'd do a little home run derby in your cul-de-sac. We've
That's right.
all that kind of stuff. Yeah, those were the good old days.
Every now and then the mailman comes during the summertime. It's like, oh crap, we got to get out of the way for this guy. And then
We just moved. We just moved when cars came. We played it was pretty flat right in front of our street. So we played 2-hand touch. We just didn't play in the cul-de-sac. That's all.
Oh, so we played on the pavement in the cul-de-sac.
Yeah, that's what we did.
We did get new neighbors in the cul-de-sac. They came by our house, and dropped off some like candy, and
did you get them a gift?
Like a card that had like their information on it, like, "Hey, we're new to the neighborhood.
They have
Here's our
kids?
numbers."
They have kids?
No kids.
Just a
They
newly.
said they want to get a drink sometime, but I don't know why they want to hang out with us. They're
How old are
clearly
they?
like, and they're like,
How old are they?
I'm gonna guess late 20s, early 30s.
Oh, they're just trying to be friendly.
So do you think I need to give them a gift back?
I
All
think
they do is
no,
give me
not
some
a gift.
Halloween
Not
candy.
a gift, but I think you take them one time. You try
That's
to get
good?
drinks, or Mr. Baked Good over here.
I do baked good.
Maybe or you get drinks with them one time, and look, if you're like, no, they're just not my kind of people, then you move on. At least you gave it a shot. I think there's nothing wrong with
Cody,
that.
if I moved to your neighborhood and I didn't know you, I wouldn't say I'm not hanging out with this person because you're older than I am. I would.
No, I think they're trying to get that. I think they're trying to get that cul-de-sac to like probably first-time home buyers and like we're new on the street. Let's make some friends on the street. Yeah. That's fine. I got nothing against it.
You could use friends based off of the prior stories. You could use some friends in the cul-de-sac. You could use some guys to align with a little bit.
Text line says, something on the text line, all the kids had to be home when the streetlights came on. That was a curfew.
Oh, I've heard that. Yeah.
We played
till it was dark sometimes. We'd go home for a while, but we'd go back out when it was dark.
Our cul-de-sac had 2 lights on it, and it would light the cul-de-sac. We didn't go. It'd be like 10 o'clock, and you would just play as long as you played.
For sure.
Says Cody's too old to be hanging out with late 20s.
Yeah. I love how you're like, oh, they're probably in their early 20s.
That's a lot. That's a decade younger than me.
I think you being friendly to the neighbors could actually really help you out. You already had
I just made donuts yesterday. Maybe I should have brought them some.
I don't know. Maybe so. Again, the last time you talked about a neighbor, someone left you guys a note. They didn't even feel comfortable to talk to you. They left you a note to say trim your trees.
I think I know
that's the kind of relationship you have with your neighbors. So you might want to make some friends.
As soon as
Get some allies?
Yes.
When you're looking at it from that perspective, I like your thinking. Get some allies for the next time there's some sort of cul-de-sac related issue. I got some people on my side.
You don't want all the neighbors to hate you.
As soon
my
as
direct neighbor likes me. I'm giving him some baked goods and stuff.
Okay.
He seems very nice.
Bribe the new people.
As soon as you become an adult, I feel like the age gap, it doesn't matter anymore. I love to golf just like Dusty does. I will go hang out with old people who I golf with at their house. And you just hang out and you eat a sandwich. They give you a beer and you're good to go.
My complex, there's people. I mean, I would say in their early 50s, and everybody's friends. It doesn't really matter. I've gone out and had drinks with these people that are in their 50s or whatever. I don't care. I'm out at the pool, whatever.
We're not judgmental.
I'm not
Cody's drawn a line. Cody's drawn a line. You got to be above 27, but under 44. Otherwise, he doesn't want anything to do with you.
Under 44?
That's where you're drawing the line, it sounds like.
I'm almost 40. I got to go above 44.
You might want to bump it up.
I got to go way
You're
above
limiting
that.
You're limiting what could be good friends, Cody.
My
you never
argument
know
was, why would they want to hang out with me, not the other way around?
Because maybe they think you're cool, or maybe they want some friends, and they.
Hold on. You think you're the only neighbor that they introduced themselves to?
No, I think they probably did the whole street.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I assume.
So you don't want to be the jerk. Everybody else might have done, and you got to at least play nice at first.
I hit them with the text that said, thank you for the candy.
Okay.
I had to. Well, so here's the problem. 2 times ago. So our direct next door neighbors, they came over a couple of weeks ago to drop off because we had given them a baked good somewhere along the way and they made some beer bread. So they kindly dropped it off. But my youngest son, while the neighbor's boyfriend was with him, licked his arm. My kid licked his arm. And now I'm mortified.
Oh, no.
I'm like, and he's never done that. I was like, why? Why? And the look on that guy's face was like, he was mortified. Because this is, again, difference, no kids, having kids. If you have kids, you probably wouldn't bat an eye. If some kid licked your arm, you'd be like, kids are weird. Kids do weird stuff sometimes. Now I got this other group of people, no kids. My kids are insane. I don't know that I need this kind of inviting this kind of trouble into my life.
Yeah, that didn't,
I'll get drinks with them
really
soon
help
and I'll
you.
report back. I'll invite them over for drinks some point. Maybe I'll do it this weekend. I'll invite them over for drinks and I'll report back on how it goes. Sit by a fire pit or something.
I feel like making friends as well as adults is very challenging.
Dude, it feels like dating, and it just it feels very awkward in dating, and then you're like, maybe we don't agree. And you don't want to bring, just like dating in the early going.
Bring out politics.
All of a sudden, you get one offhand comment
one
about
joke,
something.
And you're like, oh, and then all of a sudden it changes the whole vibe sometimes.
You drop a little, like in frustration, you drop a little JC at them. You find out they're super religious. You're like, well,
Just cursing in general might be a no-fly zone for them, you know?
Yeah, get loose, a couple of beers, I might start let some stuff fly.
Or you meet them and it turns out you have a lot in common, Cody, and then you got new friends.
Yeah, I mean, worst case of worst, we just don't hang out anymore.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Much like dating.
It's not like they're getting up and moving if they don't like you. They just moved in. They're stuck.
And because we're at the bottom of the cul-de-sac, we can just very rarely make our way up that way. It's fine.
All right, coming up next, one thing I do not want to have happen in the NFL. I don't like this already, plus the audio fun bag from the weekend.
Cody and Gold, brought to you by Gann Asphalt and Concrete. For asphalt, concrete, and parking lot maintenance, Gann Asphalt and Concrete. One contractor, all things parking lot. Trusted in Kansas City since 1994. Online at GANNasphalt.com. Nate Taylor joins the guys in studio Tuesdays at 1 during the season, right here on 610 Sports Radio.
Your attention is precious. Pulled in a million directions for a million different reasons. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City works hard to make sure your health insurance isn't one of the many things distracting you from what's important. By making healthcare easier to navigate, we help keep your focus on the moments that matter most. Like dinner with loved ones. Letting you focus on you. That's the benefit of Blue. Learn more at BlueKC.com.
When the fire marshal pops into your business, are you full of worry and fret, or do you know it's no sweat? Business owners have trusted Keller Fire and Safety to keep the fire marshal happy in the KC Metro for more than 70 years. And now companies in Kansas, Missouri, and throughout the Midwest keep cool under the collar with Keller as well. The 4 largest fire departments in the area count on Keller. Shouldn't you?
Keeping the fire marshal happy
Since 1950.
Keller Fire and Safety.
KellerFire.com.
I'm Mitch Holtis, voice of the Chiefs. Everyone develops cataracts naturally as they get older. When your vision is affected by cataracts, you should see my doctor, Dr. Steven Silverstein at Silverstein Eye Centers. Dr. Silverstein is a world-renowned cataract surgeon who performs life-changing laser-assisted cataract surgery with premium lens implants to correct your vision up close and far away. Trust my eye doctor, Dr. Steven Silverstein, Silverstein Eye Centers, 816-358-3600 to schedule an appointment.
If you're hiring, it can feel like you're trying to find a needle in a haystack. You can hope the right person comes along, or you can just use ZipRecruiter. And now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. In fact, ZipRecruiter has helped a lot of business owners find their needle in a haystack, like Marco, president of operations at Telly Tires and Auto Centers. Because Telly Tires has grown a lot in the last few years, Marco needed to hire everyone from a receptionist to a store manager to a head mechanic.
ZipRecruiter helps me find all the right people, even the most difficult jobs to fill. ZipRecruiter helps me keep my business running.
Take it from Marco and millions of other businesses who've used ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter can help you find the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/RADIO. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
Klein tools are new at Lowe's, pros. Lowe's knows you want top brands and quality products, and Klein Tools delivers. Right now, get the Klein 3-piece ModBox mobile workstation for $319.94 and the Klein 5-piece cushion grip screwdriver set for just $34.97, both exclusively at Lowe's. Shop the largest selection of Klein tools, the highest quality tool brand at Lowe's. Because Lowe's knows tools, Lowe's knows pros.
Wendy's new breakfast 2 for $3 Biggie Bundles let you create your own delicious combo. Choose from a sausage biscuit, egg and cheese biscuit, small seasoned potatoes, and a medium hot coffee. But it's obvious which combo's the best. Sausage biscuit and small seasoned potatoes. Well, maybe it's the fresh cracked egg and cheese biscuit with a medium hot coffee. Or 2 savory sausage biscuits. Whichever you pick, you can't go wrong. Choose wisely. Choose Wendy's new 2 for $3 Biggie Bundles.
Limited time only. U.S. price and participation may vary. Not valid in a combo. Single item at regular price.
If you need a new garage door, this could be your lucky day. Entries are open now for the $5,000 sweepstakes at Overhead Door Company of Kansas City. A winner will be chosen at random to receive $5,000 towards new garage doors, openers, or front entry doors of their choice. Deadline to enter is the end of the month to win the $5,000 sweepstakes with Overhead Door Company of Kansas City. Enter now at overheaddoorkc.com. You can't win if you don't enter at overheaddoorkc.com.
Football is back. Save time with Old Shawnee Pizza and get the Monday Special, a single topping medium pizza for only $10.99. Call or go to ShawneePizza.com today. Old Shawnee Pizza, Shawnee, Lenexa, and now Crossroads for carryout. Now 3 locations.
It's touchdown Kansas City when you sell your home to RexBuysKC.com. I am Mitch Holtis, voice of the Chiefs, and no company pays more than Rex, with instant cash offers in your money in as little as 7 days.
That's right, Mitch. I'm Rex, owner of RexBuysKC.com, your locally owned home buyer. We'll buy any house regardless of condition. Distressed or damaged homes, it doesn't matter.
Call us now at 816-330-6000 for the best offer and instant cash.
Score a touchdown, Kansas City with Rex, and get a fair, honest deal. Facing divorce, bankruptcy, thousands in repair bills, needing to move fast, being foreclosed, or just wanting cash fast? Then contact Rex now to get your money in as little as 7 days.
We help homeowners solve their problems with options on how they can sell their home. We have no fees, no closing costs, no commissions, no open houses. We buy your house as is.
Sell your home today, worry and hassle-free, no matter what the condition, and get your money in as little as 7 days.
Call us right now at 816-330-6000 or go online to rexbuyskc.com and let us buy your home today.
Inside the Huddle with Cody and Gold, each day from noon until 1 on 610 Sports Radio. Inside the Huddle is brought to you by Blue KC. Live healthy with Blue KC on the official radio partner of the Kansas City Chiefs. 610 Sports Radio.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online? Just go to hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and trusted generic alternatives to the name brands at up to 95% off. That's right, get generic for Viagra, the same active ingredient as brand name Viagra, but for 95% less. It's the same medication, still prescribed by a licensed medical provider, but with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. hims.com/joy.
Inside the Huddle is brought to you by Blue KC. Live healthy with Blue KC.
You're listening to 610 Sports Radio from the Max Motors Studios.
Hey, it's Travis Kelce.
This is Taylor Swift.
You're listening to the official broadcast partner of the Kansas City Chiefs, 610 Sports Radio.
KCSP Kansas City, WDAF HD2 Liberty, always live on the free Odyssey app.
And you know we out here every day with it. I'ma show you how to get it. It go right foot up, left foot slide.
1 o'clock hour on a Monday, Cody and Gold. Get to the audio fun bag for the weekend. A busy weekend across sports. Excited for the fun bag.
Text wants to know when they come over, which deck are you guys going to hang out on?
Yeah, where are you? What deck are you inviting the neighbors to?
Think,
deck 1 or
drinks,
deck 3?
Drinks by the fire pit. That's deck 1. I think based on our numbering system that we decided on last time. 1, 2. I think that's deck 3. I believe that we'll be hanging out on deck 3. Maybe a little time on deck 2 because it's screened in. But this time of year, you're not really worried about the bugs anymore.
Do you have like the numbers spray painted on your decks? Like, oh, this is number 1 over here.
I should just get like a stone, like a golf course marker. They've got those big stone pillars. Just
get one of those.
Just get those, so We'll see at deck 4 in a little bit, but currently we're hanging out at deck 2.
Yeah, you should invite them over.
I'll do it. I'll report back next week. I wonder if these people know when they show up to my house that occasionally they're ending up as topics on the show. They probably don't even realize what I do.
Well, that's part of the waiver that they sign. Cody, I don't know if you guys know this. When you go to Cody's house, you have to sign a waiver.
Open book.
You have
That's
to
right.
It's not an NDA. It's actually the opposite. It's the complete opposite of an NDA.
I'm allowed to discuss all things in your life.
Yeah, everything is open. There's no NDAs. It's
if you want to be friends, here are the rules.
Yeah.
Hanging out with me comes at risk of me discussing this on the air.
We got to figure something out. That your birthday is on Saturday, Drew. I don't know. Cody and I can talk. We got to do something. I don't know. I know you got your. It's not like I've
Is
lived.
it a big birthday?
Well, how old will you be on Saturday?
28. It's not a big birthday.
Not a big one yet. Okay. But I know I lived in multiple cities by myself, was a new guy. Now, you have a wife, so it's a little bit different. But I'm just saying, we should come up with something for your birthday. Yeah, we go get some drinks this weekend or something like that. I'm down.
That's my birthday.
That is his birthday. Not yours. His birthday this Saturday. I think we should just get you some Chiefs gear,
Give him a present?
Yeah. Just
Thanks,
Chiefs
guys.
gear. Just some Chiefs gear, Just for your birthday.
I'm open. Hey, I have helped you procure 2 different, even though I don't.
It's true.
I have helped you get 2 different pieces of Cincinnati gear.
You have.
I got you that shirt from Homage, the Skyline Chili inspired Guy Fieri collection from them.
That's right.
And I let you use my code to get you that Burrow jersey. I'm a good friend, even though.
Thank you, Cody.
I mean,
yes.
he can't help who he cheers for. And honest to God, he made it like 10 years rooting for Cincinnati when
He
it
did.
probably wasn't a lot of fun to root for Cincinnati.
I made it 2021 before they really did something.
Yeah, I mean, there were some There's some lean years.
They
of
didn't win a
fandom there.
playoff. They didn't win a playoff game in my lifetime until 2021.
Sounds a lot like the Royals prior to 2014.
If you got me one of those red shirts with the yellow or the gold heart, the KC shirt, that's the closest I'll get to Kansas City Chiefs colors.
If we can go get some drinks, but if we're getting you a gift, it's going to be Chiefs gear.
Okay.
Yeah, it's gonna be Chiefs gear for sure.
All right.
So I do have one question before we talk a little bit more Chiefs here in just a second. We had opened up earlier. We had said until there's an official video sponsor of Cody and Gold, we are open to week sponsorship on the video stream.
Negotiable.
In which we will put whatever you want really on the video stream. Someone said, how graphic is it allowed to be? Let's limit the
PG.
level. There are still ethical standards that the streaming sites that we do have. So maybe in those. There are several people who've expressed interest who are asking, what's the price?
Yeah.
We have to figure out a price
It's
after
negotiable.
the show.
It's negotiable.
Shoot us a number and we'll tell you if it's enough,
Weekly sponsorships until eventually the higher-ups take over.
I like the idea that it's just a person the first time. It's just, it's Bill Kinney, who he doesn't do anything. He just lives his
of course,
life.
our stream today is brought to you by Brian in Grandview, and we appreciate Brian's support.
Not the company he works for.
Yeah.
Just that Brian.
Brian.
And you can give us, just like any other sponsor would give us, a one-word tag, that you went up there. Brian, swell guy. Or Brian, looking for a 28 to 32-year-old female to go on a date. Whatever. It doesn't matter what you're looking for.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of the video sponsorship.
So we'll talk about that. We'll talk about people are throwing out some numbers on the text line right now. In the meantime, there's one thing that I'm going to be really upset if it happens. And I'll admit, I shouldn't get worked up yet because it's probably years and years and years from now. In particular, might at least be 7 years, if not a decade. I was enjoying some London football on Sunday morning, and the Ravens and the Titans game. And I saw some news come across from Adam Schefter. And the fact that it's getting floated out there scares me a little bit. And that is that the NFL is considering not just playing more international games, which I've conceded, I know it's going to happen, okay? But moving the Super Bowl to London for 1 year in the future. Absolutely not. No, we don't need to do this. I know it's all about money, and they're trying to find the next billion in revenue because they feel like maybe the market is capped a little bit.
Even though they're just
in the United States.
Cash.
I understand that. I understand that in 7 years, the next CBA likely includes an additional NFL game, an additional bye week, and more games internationally. I get that, and that's a losing battle. The Super Bowl? No. There's a lot of reasons why this is a no. Number one, why are we moving what has become this country's premier event to the United Kingdom? Absolutely not. They would not be having the Champions League final in the United States, okay? That's the trade we have to make, by the way. If that happens, we get the Champions League final, and even then, I still won't like it. The other part, time zones. We can't just change time zones, so all of a sudden, it won't be 8:30 in the morning. It'll be
early afternoon.
1:30 in the afternoon. While I get that people will like the fact that they're not up super late, this ruins the whole flow. Traditions. I have traditions on Super Bowl Sunday. I want to go ahead and pre-order some brisket. I want to go ahead and smoke some ribs. I want to go ahead and have some wings. I don't want to have tea and bagels before my Super Bowl. I want 5+ hours of binging on barbecue and wings and chips and dip and beer. I don't want the 1:30 in the afternoon kickoff. I want my 5 o'clock kickoff. It's an American tradition. This is where we draw the line, Roger Goodell. A lot of other things you've done I can live with. You don't mess with my Super Bowl.
Okay, so just out of curiosity, now that you've said that, and I understand the stance that is, hey, maybe don't take our uniquely American event away. Put it in a completely different country just for greed. Because that's what's happening here. This would be a pure American greed play. Classic, let's bring in a bunch of money. Let's continue to recruit fans from a completely different thing. But the NBA manages to recruit fans overseas without moving the NBA finals to other countries. Obviously, we know soccer is the most popular sport in the world, and they managed to recruit a national fan base or a worldwide fan base without moving their finals. But do play friendlies. That's why you like the U.S. Like, they're always going to play NFL
give
games
them all
over
our
there.
give the training camp. Move training camp to London for a month. I don't care.
Do you think, now that you've said it, do you think that they'll actually play a Super Bowl overseas.
The fact that it's being floated out there is not a good sign.
Yeah, that's exactly.
Not a good sign.
The second Roger Goodell starts like kicking those things around, he's not kicking it around for fun. He has sat in a meeting with the people who run the stadiums over there, and they're like, hey, what would it take? What money would you need? What stadium improvements would you need? If we wanted a Super Bowl right here in London, what would you need from us, Roger? What would it take? We'll do anything. That's what I think is happening.
And I get there's a lot of people who are like, well, the location doesn't matter because you can't go to you don't go to the Super Bowl anyway. I get that. It's the time zone thing. It's the tradition of the time frame of what we're talking about. Yeah, we've been fortunate through our job. Text line, you're correct. Through our job that we've had the opportunity to go. And you're saying, well, that's why you care. No, I've been fortunate to go to 2 Super Bowls. So it's not me wondering, you're making it so people can't
I'd take a free trip to London right now if given the opportunity.
Absolutely. But no, this sucks. This would absolutely suck all the way around if this happened.
So here's the problem is, I think the reason why they actually really want this is for what the text line is bringing up, and I saw it over on the Twitch stream as well, which is, Gold, they want a full European division. The only way to attract a full European division, and let's just say that that's their end game 50 years from now, right? They're thinking big, super long term, because that's not something that's going to be accomplished in the next decade in the NFL. Just not. So if they're thinking super long term and they're like, hey, where are we 50 years from now as a league? And it is, we have 4 teams in the UK and 4 teams between Italy and Germany and all these other countries we're talking to. Well, then eventually we're going to have to continue to grow the sport to the point that they will support all these teams we're planning on sticking in these countries. So they have infrastructure for all of our teams who might travel over there and all these things in between. Hell, I think it's why they test with Jacksonville. And they stick teams like Jacksonville over there for multiple weeks to find out if it's possible to just take a team, put them over there for 2 or 3 weeks at a time to play an entire European division so that they aren't traveling back and forth the entire time. My guess is they're thinking big picture.
I'd rather have the division set up where you told me there was 4 franchises in Europe and you end up expanding the NFL season to multiple bye weeks. And when you go overseas to Europe, you end up knowing that that's the time you play 2 of those teams while you're over there. And then you have a bye week after and you fly back. I'm good with that versus moving the Super Bowl to London, even if it's 1 year. Not only is it taking it out of the United States, but I legitimately, the time zone thing drives me crazy. And yeah, it's not an 8:30 game. The game would be at 1:30 in the afternoon. That sucks, man.
I know that, like, because of what we're used to, it seems weird. 1:30 to 5:30 is objectively not a huge swing.
It's the build-up. You know this. You get a little nervous.
You get 2 weeks to build up. You got 13 damn days.
It's not the same thing. We get a little antsy. It's Sunday. It's Super Bowl Sunday, and from 9 a.m. till 5:15.
You sound like you're ready to dump tea in the harbor over this.
You are more passionate about this than I am about
start
Caleb
a second
Williams.
American Revolution over this.
We fought too much to give this to them. No,
he's like ready to curse the words of King George.
But this is worse than me hating Caleb Williams right now.
No, you're hating on Caleb Williams. He had 1 bad game, and now you think he's overrated. It sounds like
do you like that? Do you like them going over to London now? Because it's for the exact same reasons why they're doing the Super Bowl.
No, if I had my choice, they would not be going over to London at all. But I am accepting that makes sense at this point. Moving the Super Bowl does not make sense other than the completely strict one reason only, and that is to find the next $1 billion that the owners can get. That is the sole reason. You don't take a marquee event out of this. We're going to move the Masters out of Augusta, Georgia. We can start playing the Masters somewhere else too.
Do you like regular season games over there?
No. Okay. Who does? Other than London.
I mean, I don't mind Germany.
I feel like people are kind of warmed up to the idea of waking up and being able to turn on a football game, actually.
And normally, and maybe, you know what, maybe 10 years ago, I wouldn't feel as passionately about this because the Chiefs weren't going to Super Bowls 10 years ago.
Maybe you'd been like, whatever.
Now I actually don't like it. Now I don't like. Maybe 10 years ago, I would, but the Chiefs are going to be in some of these, even because this is a change, by the way, that might not be 20 years. This could happen in the next 8 years.
Yeah,
that they decide to do that. But yeah, Super Bowl stays on the mainland.
The whole division thing is very interesting, actually, because
that's what they want.
Because they used to have.
Get it. That's what they want. They had NFL Europe.
They used to have the World League or whatever it was too.
That was their way of like, what if we try to get some of these people to play in the NFL? How do we do that? How do we recruit more people to play in this league from different countries? Similar to like baseball and basketball and these other sports that, again, do a better job recruiting athletes to play their sports from other areas. But that was worse than the minor leagues. It was worse than college football. We're talking about NFL teams in there. They'd be very different.
Yeah, their best bet is to expand the league over there, not create a new league over there and try to create European talent to be professional American football players, not soccer players.
Someone says, how would you feel if they moved the Super Bowl to Hawaii for a year? It's still in the United States, isn't it? And time zone wise, it's even earlier there. So
someone said, "Don't give them the Super Bowl, just give them the Pro Bowl."
The Super Bowl.
Nobody wants that.
The Super Bowl at 9 o'clock would be absurd. I'd rather have the Super Bowl at 9 o'clock in the United States than I would at 1:30 in another country.
9 o'clock at night?
I would rather have that than having the Super Bowl. Just the idea, the optics, the actual idea behind moving the Super Bowl out of this country is awful.
Wild.
Awful.
It's very American in its nature, though. Cash, money. Hey, will you give up all of your principles for something? You're like, I don't know what. How much money? Because you and I are the same thing. You and I also, I'll give up my principles for a certain amount of money.
The game also wouldn't start at 9. It would start at, if we start the game at 6, it's 11 o'clock here at night. If it's 6 p.m. in Hawaii right now.
But that's fine. The game would just start Hawaii at 3.
Yeah,
fine.
Hawaii, the game would be at
noon.
11 a.m.
It'd be a little bit weird to watch, the daylight. It's ooh, it's sunny there.
Yeah.
That's kind of fun for the whole Super Bowl. Because you think a Super Bowl is being under the lights, but whatever.
It couldn't get any worse, though, than the Final Four where the championship games tipped at 9 p.m. at night. That's nuts.
That's just insane. But no, the Super Bowl is an all-day event. It's a build-up. You're having friends over. You're hanging out. You're pigging out on food all day long.
Would you accept this if they had one Super Bowl in London, but the agreed thing is that the day after the Super Bowl is now a federal holiday?
No, because we're still working the day after the Super Bowl. We know that. We work in sports talk radio. We're fortunate to talk about football for a living.
Come on,
so we're not off tomorrow.
Don't what about me this? This is hundreds of millions of people this could impact.
That would be agreed, I think.
You asked me the question, though.
This is asking. You can help hundreds of millions of people.
You asked me the question if it means that Monday after the Super Bowl becomes a federal holiday or just a national holiday. Yeah, I would love that. But you and I would still be doing the show the next day, so I don't know why why it impacts.
I like to help other people. I care about others.
It should be a holiday the next day.
The problem with doing it in Hawaii, too, is there is no build-up lot there. Because if the kick's at noon, there's no build-up on
I think
site.
Hawaii would take the Super Bowl in a heartbeat.
I'm pretty sure it'd sell out and be fine.
The Super Bowl, they would take the Super Bowl in a heartbeat.
You going to put it on Hawaii's campus?
Honestly,
he just used Hawaii as an example. They obviously don't have the facilities to do it.
I think that would be. If it fits the warm weather mold, if it's warm weather and I guess U.S. state in your argument,
Radio Row on the beach in Hawaii. Sign me up. Sign me up. Let's make it happen. Let's go. It's still in the United States.
What?
So you wouldn't even if they moved.
What hotels Radio ran out this year? It's in Vegas.
If they did it in Toronto,
Mandalay Bay Convention Center.
If they did it in Toronto, you would say no as well. Then correct?
Yeah, it should be in the United States. Absolutely. The time zone thing wouldn't be as problematic, which is a big part of my issue with this. At least I would still have my all day of NFL, just the Eastern time zone for Toronto. But yeah, it should be in the United States. It's the Super Bowl. American football should not be played having their biggest game of the season in another country. Sorry.
Well, let's enjoy our time. Let's get to the audio fun bag from the weekend. Let's be happier. The fun bag is meant for fun. For the second straight week on this show, even though I believe we started the entire resurgence of the band Creed, I would like our show to get full credit for that. Nobody was even talking about this band until a few years ago when we brought it up with Creed is Good with Creed Humphrey. So we know that right now the Texas Rangers are undefeated in the postseason, and it was revealed that they had been playing before their games the band Creed, and that they had their whole stadium shouting it. Well, Kirk Cousins says now the Minnesota Vikings are in on it. This is what he said about playing Creed before the game.
Garrett Bradbury in the locker room pregame took a clip from the Texas Rangers and made sure that Creed got played before he went out in the field, and I felt like that may have made the difference. So we got that going for us. But take any questions, yeah.
Which Creed? What made you decide to play Creed?
You know, the Rangers have been playing Creed, and they're rolling the playoffs, and we've been listening to it in the lifts a little bit here and there, but music's banging on the boombox most pre-games and in the locker room. We thought we'd maybe mix up the genre a little bit, get some Creed in there, and Garrett made sure it happened, and it was well received.
Creed, they're having
Creed
a tour
cruise.
on the boat, the Creed cruise.
Everywhere,
they're getting
man.
played in these Rangers games. Now the Vikings are adopting it.
Yeah.
And specifically, by the way, for both of them, mentioned Creed's high.
Scott Stapp resurgence.
How much is his price gone up on Cameo?
I don't know. I was about to say. I bet you his income's increased in the last year and a half.
Because remember, we paid him $300 because it took 50 euros.
Is he still on
show.
Cameo? I don't know.
I mean, why wouldn't he be?
I don't know. Some people go on and off Cameo.
Scott Stapp is on Cameo. Oh, no, temporarily unavailable.
He's busy. Now he's busy. Before he had some time. Now he's booked up.
85 reviews. Perfect 5 stars, man.
Yeah,
he crushed it for ours.
He did.
He was worth every bit of the $300. It was excellent
He
work.
absolutely did. Next up on Audio Fun Bag takes us to New York. We know the Jets had a huge win yesterday over the previously unbeaten Philadelphia Eagles. Robert Saleh was feeling good, obviously, about his defense.
Yeah, thought defense, per the usual, outstanding. Through these first 6 weeks, we've played a gauntlet of quarterbacks. And I know we haven't gotten all wins, but we've embarrassed all of them.
We've embarrassed all of them. Okay.
Wow.
Okay, Robert. Look, he should be feeling great. Their defense is legit. He's 3-3. Everybody thought with Rodgers being out, they'd have one win on the season. I'll give him credit for that. I don't think Patrick Mahomes is embarrassed by what you guys did to him. You mean when he got the win? You mean when he made the smart decision to slide down at the 1-yard line?
Yeah.
Otherwise, he would have beat your ass by double digits still? Give me a break. Embarrassed. Also, you didn't embarrass Dak Prescott either.
No.
Torched you. Stop. Yeah. Stop, Robert Saleh.
He's just puffing his chest out a little bit because his
feeling
team's not
good.
a laughing
He was
stock.
feeling good.
Really good.
It's right after a win. I get it.
A big win against
but
a very tough
embarrassed.
opponent.
Yeah, when Mahomes did the spread his hands out, basically like look at me thing. Yeah, he was embarrassed in that moment.
I mean, really, they are really 2 plays away from being like 5-1.
Yeah, I mean he's not. He said that a couple weeks ago, but you can't say that when you're 1-2 and
Correct.
3.
Yes.
Or 1-3. You just can't say stuff like that. Someone who should be proud, not embarrassed. Justin Pugh. You might not have realized he got picked up 10 days ago to the practice squad on the Giants. He's out there playing left tackle for them last night. This was his introduction into Sunday Night Football when they, let you say which high school or college you play for.
Justin Pugh, straight off the couch.
That man was not playing football less than 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden was playing left tackle in a highly competitive game against the Bills last night. Good for him for doing the internet straight off the couch, man. I'm just like, I'm barely here.
He hadn't played in almost a full year. Now, look, it was rough for him at times, and that entire Giants offensive line, they're horrendous. But that is awfully impressive to go from sitting on the couch to starting, not just left guard. The left tackle got hurt, so they had to move him over to left tackle. He only played left tackle 5 snaps since 2021, and he was asked there to do it.
Good for him. Straight off the couch is a great line.
To Key and Peele.
Then we go to Saturday, college game day, huge game, Washington, Oregon. It definitely did not disappoint. Great game. Oregon, of course, ended up losing. They missed the field goal late, but that was awesome. 2 Heisman hopefuls, and Bo Nix and Michael Penix Jr., Desmond Howard. I'll just let you listen.
He's dealt with a lot of adversity to get here. He's grateful to be Washington's quarterback, and they know that every time he takes the field, he's going to bring that big penis energy. He's going to bring that big penis energy. He's going to bring that big penis energy. That's right, Harry. Let's go, baby.
Does he hear it?
Cringeworthy.
Does he not hear it? I know he's trying to say.
He's going to bring that big penis energy. Big penis energy. Big penis energy.
Oh, that just sounds like penis. I mean, there's just no way around it. I know he's trying to say Penix or Penix
There's
or
no way
whatever,
that he
but it
didn't
sounds
know.
like penis.
Big
and that's obviously what
energy.
they're referencing when you're normally talking about that 3-letter phrase, that 3-word phrase. I mean,
he's going to bring that big penis energy. He's going to bring that big penis energy.
They probably had to explain to Corso what that was.
Oh, man. Desmond Howard.
Golly, man.
Where's he going to go in the draft?
Desmond Howard?
No, Michael Penix.
Top 5.
Yeah.
So, 3 quarterbacks are going to go in the top 5?
I think he'll be top 10 for sure, maybe top 5. There could be 5 or 6 QBs taken in the first round. Talk to Bink about that. He'll tell you.
Has he been texting you a lot about this or something?
He's mentioned it a lot. There's some historical trend, and it'll be
the most ever, I think he said last week was 6. So that's the number to beat. It could be beat, I guess.
6 quarterbacks in the first round this year?
I mean, there's yeah.
As of right now, CBS's mock has Caleb Williams 1, Drake May 3. How far down till I get to Michael Penix? Penix.
Penix.
It's important to
They have him out of the
emphasize.
top 10? I mean, it sounds like you're scrolling a little bit.
Yeah, I'm still scrolling.
Whose is this? When was the last time this was
CBS?
updated?
That's a great question.
August.
5 hours ago.
Oh, okay.
The photo on the site is
Michael
of
Penix?
Michael Penix. What the hell is he on your list? They're just looping me in here. I don't know, man. He's down there a little ways, Drew. Sorry. They do not agree with your assessment, Gold, or Bink's assessment, or any of your assessment. I think it's like 3 quarterbacks in the first round, apparently. Who knew? I don't know. I'll get back to you on that
It
one.
never goes that way, though.
No, it's always quarterbacks at the top. You'll learn about our mock draft sounder later on as we get closer to that season. Just so you know, since I had it pulled up, the Chiefs in this mock are taking Adonai Mitchell, wide receiver out of Texas.
A wide receiver. Stunning that they might be having a mocked at least to
That's
to
going to
take.
be every mock for the foreseeable future for the Chiefs.
Yeah, now I'm curious where they had him listed. This. Okay, yeah, this is. I hate to do mock draft season stuff, but Pro Football Network has Penix going 5th overall to Arizona.
The Chiefs would probably love to have Keon Coleman. Did you see his catch?
Yeah,
that was awesome.
That was unreal.
That was an awesome catch.
Now I'm just hoping like Brock Bowers' injury like pushes him down to like 15.
He is
you
hurt.
Can trade up.
He is hurt.
He's having surgery.
Someone else will still draft him higher than that.
Yeah, agreed.
That's the audio fun bag from the weekend. Coming up next, we'll get back into what's trending a little bit, and also who was hanging out with who over the weekend.
Cody and Gold.
Last and probably most important question: are in fact all opinions like buttholes?
Brought to you by Gann Asphalt and Concrete. For asphalt, concrete, and parking lot maintenance, Gann Asphalt and Concrete. One contractor, all things parking lot. Trusted in Kansas City since 1994. Online at GANNasphalt.com.
People who shop at Diamonds Direct for diamonds and engagement rings can't believe the prices.
They blew everybody else out of the water.
I saved between $1,500 and $2,000.
Came here first, got a really good price, went around everywhere else, and it wasn't really even close.
I'd looked online. I'd actually shopped a couple of local stores. They could not begin to touch the size, the quality, or the pricing.
Crazy the deal that we got. Couldn't believe I was able to get into a ring like this.
Of all the places that I visited, everybody from mom and pop shops to wholesalers to local franchisees, nobody could compete from a pricing standpoint with Diamonds Direct.
It's because Diamonds Direct is a true direct diamond importer with special access to the world's most exquisite diamonds. No middleman markups and a commitment to beat any price, anywhere, anytime.
Whether it be duty-free in the Caribbean or other countries, Diamonds Direct prices have beaten everything I've looked at.
At least 20% lower than what we had been looking at in other stores.
They blew everybody else out of the water.
In Leawood at 119th and Row across from Town Center. Proud to call Kansas City home. Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion.
Well, I want to tell you about another winner. It's my friends at Window World. They are ranked #1 in number of windows sold in the country by Qualified Remodeler magazine. They're also the official window of the Kansas City Chiefs. So you know the Chiefs are a winner. And Window World, they have windows that are one of 2 windows that are locked in with the Good Housekeeping seal of approval. In just over 20 years of business, they have improved the look and thermal efficiency over 52,000 homes in Kansas City. Plus, your windows come with a lifetime warranty that covers all your parts, glass breakage, and labor. It also uses a double-strength glass. It gives it that extra strength that is not commonly used in your normal replacement windows. They are giving an incredible deal right now. They are offering 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit. 18 months, that's a year and a half. So do me this favor. Give them a call for a free home estimate. Check out the website, and they can show you how they are simply the best for less. Fall is right around the corner. You know winter is going to be here before you know it. I want you to get ready, and the best way to do that is with my friends at Window World.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-700-6898. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-700-6898. That's 800-700-6898. For $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-700-6898. 800-700-6898.
Hey guys, Beat Up here. You hear me talking about Slim for Life all the time. You know why? Because it works. I've lost over 77 pounds in just a short time and I feel great. For me, Slim for Life is life-changing. Losing weight has some real health benefits. Lana's results were transformational. Lana, tell me about your Slim for Life journey.
I have lost 100 pounds and 75 inches to date. My cholesterol's went from 260 to about 143. Triglycerides are down and everything looks good. I feel better. You know, I can get up and move and I love it. I'm serious.
If you're ready to make that life-changing call, now is the time. It's the last week to take advantage of Slim for Life 6 weeks for only $66. And you have the option to add semaglutide medications to your plan for only $99 for your first 4 weeks. 833-SLIM today. That's the number 833-754-6863. Or you can hit them online at slim4life.com. And when you schedule that free consultation, you could win tickets to see our defending Super Bowl champions play on November 20th. All services included, exclusive of products. Make the call. Be Slim for Life. Tell them Beat Up sent you.
Hi, it's Trey Smith, and in order for our team to get a victory, we need honesty, teamwork, work ethic, humility, and the golden rule. That's why my truck is from the dealer that embodies all those values, Victory Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. And Victory Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram also supports Giving Hope, whose sole purpose is to feed and clothe the needy in Wyandotte County and beyond. Giving back in the highest integrity, that's how Jeff and his team do business. For your next vehicle, visit or go to victorychrysler-dodge-jeepram.com.
For the ones who get it done, the most important part is the one you need now, and the best partner is the one who can deliver. That's why millions of maintenance and repair pros trust Grainger, because we have professional-grade supplies for every industry, even hard-to-find products. And we have same-day pickup and next-day delivery on most orders. But most importantly, we have an unwavering commitment to help keep you up and running. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. 120,000 miles of night drives, daily commutes, and who knows how many.
Are we there yet?
Through countless fixes, elbow grease, and a new radiator, you kept your ride alive. With eBay Motors, you have over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Meet Bruce.
Hey there.
He's a busy soccer dad who's trying hard to learn the game.
Go for the end zone.
Whoops. Luckily, other things come easy, like banking with Chase. On a tip from his banker, he set up autosave in the Chase mobile app. So what are you saving for, Bruce?
Father-daughter soccer camp.
Smart bankers, convenient tools. One bank with the power of both. Visit chase.com/checking. Chase, make more of what's yours.
Autosave requires a Chase checking and savings account. Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
We're going abroad for the first time in years. To Spain. So we started using Babbel.
And started learning Spanish fast.
With Babbel, you can start having conversations in another language in just 3 weeks.
¿Cómo te llamas? ¿Cómo te llamas?
When you learn a language, you want to actually use it. Babbel is designed with that goal in mind.
In just 3 weeks, we're starting to have conversations in Spanish. Gracias, Babbel.
Babbel, language for life. Now try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. That's Babbel.com.
The 610 Sports Radio phone line is brought to you by Onder Law Injury Lawyers. Visit GetJim.com.
Chiefs coverage brought to you by Max Motors. 9 major vehicle brands to choose from. MaxMotors.com. It's time you took car shopping to the max. Credit challenges? No problem. Over 29 new Jeep Renegades in stock as low as $26,000 and no payment until 2024.
You'll get the best financing options available with the highest trade-in values in the Midwest.
Your Kansas City dealer, MaxMotors.com. Stock numbers S230432 with approved credit.
See dealer for details.
What's trending?
All right, let's check in on the hot topics trending.
Number one on What's Trending. Andy Reid spoke a little bit earlier today on 610 Sports Radio. Here's what he had to say about Frank Clark, who is a free agent, and whether the Chiefs have had any communication.
Like I mentioned before, we love Frank. Right now, we're just talking through some things there, and there are a few things you have to look at when you do that. So, but that's kind of where we're at. We haven't done anything to this point.
I took it as, all right, we're talking this out. We have no rush. We want to make sure that both sides understand what the role is. And is he actually good with being maybe even a practice squad type of guy and gets elevated occasionally? Is he okay with being a 10-snap guy a week? We want you as a leader. We know it's about the postseason for us and for you. I wonder if that's what. I don't think it's financials because to me, he's not getting any more than a vet minimum anywhere with maybe some incentives.
I think there's some because the Chiefs are so tight. But that answer suggests to me, Frank Clark has said, please take me back. I want to be back with the Chiefs with a chance to win the Super Bowl. And they're like, Frank, just give us a minute. We got to try to figure this out. Right? Isn't that how that sounds to you? That Frank, if he got to choose anywhere right now, he'd just be back with the Chiefs already.
Well, I think he would.
And the Chiefs have got to work some of this out before they come to that conclusion. This is always
a tough roster crunch. They have a little.
They're really good on the defensive line.
They have a roster exemption still with Amenahue. I think the commissioner granted that or whatever. But at some point, they have to find a spot to when Amenahue comes back, and they would then have to find a spot, unless it's a practice squad thing for Frank Clark, to have him. So who's
Malik Herring's played well,
bumped?
or those guys? It's like all of a sudden you're one less defensive back,
I
which
guess
Andy doesn't normally do.
I guess if the dislocated elbow is really, really serious, I guess they could theoretically put Justin Watson on IR to buy him extra for 4 weeks. I don't know. I'm just throwing out ideas.
I guess that's maybe the best they can do under those exemptions, but still, it creates kind of a problem. Next up on What's Trending, Kim Ng, who is the general manager of the Miami Marlins, she's parting ways with her franchise after getting into the postseason this year, according to Jeff Passan over at ESPN. The issue is that even though she just got the team to the playoffs, they wanted to hire a president of baseball operations. So she was the boss, did a good job as the boss, and then they wanted to get her a boss, which doesn't make any sense to me. I would think if I were the Mets, considering the turnaround that they had in Miami, been the first time they'd made the postseason in a decade, I would be interested. A few other smart organizations, I'd be interested. She did a good job. She was obviously the first female general manager in baseball history. So I imagine from that perspective, this feels like a half step back from the equality perspective. She did the job well, and they tried to get her a boss. That comes off whether they like it or not, as sexist.
Maybe. I would say that could have happened and does happen quite often. Though,
I don't remember.
Right?
I'm telling you right now, I've covered the sport a long time. Do you remember some time where there was a general manager and somebody was doing a good job and then tried to get him a different boss?
Yeah, I mean, there's restructurings in front offices in sports, though. You know
but
what I mean?
Normally, it's like they promote the other, like they make her president of baseball operations and get a new general manager. They were going the opposite direction that I think most organizations do.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to call the Marlins organization sexist because they couldn't agree to terms on a front office structure that she liked. I mean, again, as you said, they were also the first organization to ever hire a female in any position at that level of the front office. I think that's that
weird ending.
Next up on What's Trending, Brock Bowers expected to undergo surgery on his left ankle. Remember, this is a guy that's going to be one of the top picks in the NFL draft. He's Georgia's star receiver, 567 yards, and now he will undergo surgery. Expected to make a full recovery, no timeline. So some surgery called tightrope surgery, typically needed for high ankle sprains.
I guess it's a stability thing. I mean, it's important for them. Obviously, they're one of the best teams in the country. But for Brock Bowers, you kind of have to take care of this so you can finish out the last couple of games and then go out to the NFL Combine and prove why. Before, people were talking about like he was for sure a top 10 pick in the NFL draft. If there's any kind of structure issue with that ankle, but people have surgery all the time. They still get drafted really high. Probably a good time, though, for him to go get it. Next up on What's Trending, the new AP preseason basketball, the first AP preseason basketball polls out. Missouri and K-State just outside in the receiving votes category. Kansas ranked number 1. So, really held them back, you know?
Congratulations.
All these years of Adidas. Congratulations to being preseason champions to the Kansas Jayhawks. You know? They've done it. How often, this is like always the college football, is like, how often does the preseason number 1 team in college basketball go on to win the title?
College basketball is
gotta be
really
like,
rare.
It's got to be every 20 years.
I was smiling when you said
I know you're anti-poll.
The preseason polls don't matter whatsoever in any sport. So, yeah, that's my answer to that.
Shout out FAU, by the way. They're the highest mid-major. They're ranked above Gonzaga. They're 10th. FAU
That's
are.
impressive. Well, they did return the entire squad
everybody's back, basically.
from that elite, Final Four? Were they going to?
Final Four?
Yeah,
Final
they
Four
almost went to the championship.
The Owls.
Cool. I didn't know what to say to that. You're like, the Owls. I'm like,
the Owls.
Yep. They're the Owls.
I'm just going to start naming mascots and nicknames.
No, that's Mitch Holtis' thing, and do not step on his
He does
turf.
that in high. That's more of a high school.
It doesn't matter. He does it. That's his turf.
The Owls.
I'm also decidedly not that guy. Like our guy Rob Britton loves to play the game of where did he play college? I am terrible at that game. I don't know who current players play for. We've already established that.
You know the answer to a couple. Where did Chris Jones play?
Chris Jones played in Mississippi.
Yeah.
State?
Yeah.
There you go. Sorry. I was thinking of the maroon uniforms. Yeah, not Ole Miss, but Mississippi State.
You know more than you think.
Do I?
Yeah, especially recent guys.
Do I?
Pacheco. Oh, you know the answer to that. You know where he played college ball. We just kind of talked about him. I'm giving you a clue. Going back near his hometown.
Nah. Oh, he played in New York. Rutgers?
New Jersey, Rutgers, yeah. You know.
That was context clues.
Know. You know where Travis Kelce played college ball?
Not Cincinnati. That's not my strength, though. That game
is not mine either, but you know more than you think.
Better for the Chiefs ones.
Well, sure, if I ask you random, like, where did J.C. Jackson play college ball?
I don't have any idea. I'm not going to get that right, so. Do you know it, Drew? Go ahead and say it if you do.
No, I do not know it. I was going to guess, like, Baylor?
Played at 2 colleges is cheating a little bit. Florida and Maryland.
Well, that's every. I count, is it the one you played
Maryland.
at the most? Is
if you would have given
my
either,
rule.
if you would have said either.
You would have given me either? Okay.
And in KU's case, if you committed there and decommitted. Jamar Chase, KU legend. Deion Coleman, KU legend.
Oh, yeah, he did commit there.
That's what's true.
Kansas is really good at convincing players to commit before they realize their worth. It's
Well,
like
back then,
it's like
back
dating
then. It's a
someone
new era.
before
New era.
It's like dating someone before they're like super attractive, and they were like, then they realize, no, I'm super attractive. I don't have to slum it that bad with you. I'm gonna go play football at, like, Georgia or one of these other massive programs because they're also interested in me playing. I thought it might just be Kansas.
Tomorrow we'll have our college football whip around local schools. All 3 local schools in action. 2 of them were able to come up with wins, so we'll talk about that tomorrow.
Have you been watching much of the playoff baseball stuff?
Man, I haven't been able
because
to get into it.
We got 2 more games today. The Astros and the Rangers. The Rangers have obviously haven't lost a single game in the postseason run, like when the Royals did that until the World Series, obviously.
Yeah, I
you were saying you weren't that into it. Why not? There have been a lot of really fun series and great moments.
I think some of it is there's been overlap with NFL or college games.
Running into the okay.
Now today, a little after 4 o'clock, Astros Rangers. I'll probably watch that because it's before Monday Night Football. But I'll be honest, I really want to watch the Chargers and Cowboys, and I know I can do the multi-mix on YouTube TV. I get it, but I'll probably focus on the Cowboys and Chargers game before I flip over to watch the Phillies.
It's football season. I get it.
That's what it
I
is.
think baseball's always got to kind of run into that.
And you know what? The truth, as much as I hate to say it, the Royals kind of ruined it for me this year. My level of MLB interest this year.
Why? We got to drink Dom Perignon thanks to the Royals,
they kind of, thanks to Jordan Lyles. That kind of also ruined it. So I got into football mode very, very early.
Sure. If the Royals had been competitive against some of these
And
playoff
look, I'll
teams,
watch
you'd had more
if there's a deciding AL or CS, which there will be, a deciding AL or NLCS game in the World Series. Yeah, I'll watch those. But yeah, I'm not like normally. I'm like I can't wait to watch. I'm not like, man, I got to make sure I watch the 2 games tonight. No, I'm more interested to watch the Chargers, who of course the Chiefs are going to play next anyway. And I think tonight could be a really good game anyway between Cowboys and Chargers.
I just think I know some of the series aren't. Some of the series earlier in the playoffs haven't been overly interesting, but I mean. Rangers Astros, a decidedly interesting series, and even borderline from a little bit of the Royals' perspective, which is it is Chris Young and Dayton Moore who have headed up the front office for the Rangers that are now.
I'm glad you brought that up.
Away.
Is anybody really thinking of that? I know you are. And that's
I do
fine.
because I like baseball.
That's what I'm saying. Like I don't think any Royals fan is like, man, look what Dayton Moore and Chris Young are doing. One, also look at the payroll. It's a little bit different ball game down there. They also traded for Max Scherzer. Okay, it's a little bit different circumstances. They went all in, and their payroll is one of the highest in baseball. I mean, good for them. But I didn't view it as like if the Rangers win the World Series, it's not for me going to be like, well, look what Dayton Moore did as the assistant for Chris Young.
It was just so funny. This postseason worked out the exact. So when we talked about the postseason, we're all happy because the top 4 payrolls in baseball all missed the postseason. You're like, good, feels great, love it.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, 5, 6, and 7 are 3 of the 4 remaining teams left.
Yeah.
The Rangers, Astros, and the Phillies all spent a bunch of money. There are 3 of the remaining teams left next to the Diamondbacks. So after all this,
I do like some fresh blood if the Astros get bumped. It would be nice. Like if the Astros get bumped out, it would be nice to have.
Yeah, I'm sick of the Astros. I'm long sick of
the Rangers being fresh. Obviously, the Phillies went on a great run last year. Came up short, but went on a great run last year. And
Diamondbacks haven't won it since it was like Randy Johnson.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
it's not like it's not interesting for them because it's been a while. Plus, the Diamondbacks are something that at least you can do. Get a star in Corbin Carroll, take a young team, spend a little bit more money, and be good, right? I mean, you have choices the teams that excite me typically in the playoffs are the ones that I'm like, okay, is that at least plausible for the Royals to do? They can't do it the Rangers way, or the Astros way, or the Phillies way. The Astros way, the only way they can do it is to be the worst team in baseball for 3 consecutive years. That was easier when they didn't have a lottery system. And once the Astros got good, they started becoming one of the highest payroll teams in all of baseball.
Yeah.
The Royals, at their peak, were like the 14th highest payroll. It's very different. I'm looking forward to it. Game 2, obviously, for the Astros tonight, and the Astros Rangers, and then obviously we'll get the first game of the NLCS between Philly and the Diamondbacks. Diamondbacks stunned the Dodgers. I like watching the Dodgers lose too. Very enjoyable.
Well, all the 100-win teams are out.
I know.
Which is kind of cool.
Well, again.
Now, is that a problem? That's a bigger discussion, though, about the MLB postseason format,
care.
right?
Love it.
Right? Like, I don't care. I've told you when they talked about expanding, I had no problem with it because it gives the Royals better chance of getting in the dance. You get in the dance, anything can happen, and that's what we've seen occur. So to me, if you're a Royals fan, you should love the expansion of the postseason. It is your best path to getting, because you don't have to be the 100-win team. No. It doesn't guarantee you a damn thing. So some people have taken issue with the format because the 100-win teams are out, but to me, that's what makes this fun.
Sorry,
now,
that's baseball.
Does it devalue the regular season? Maybe, yeah, maybe, because that also is a sign the season's too damn long.
They devalued it with 162 games. This has nothing to do with the teams that had a chance to do it. And honestly, again, like you said, you should love this if you're a Royals fan. The Royals, if they could have just gotten to 84 wins this year, a very mild, moderate number in baseball, that would have been enough games to win their division. An 84-win team right now is in the championship series for their league.
And you mentioned the Dodgers.
And the Dodgers won 17 more games than them.
Yeah, the Diamondbacks came out of the NL West with the Dodgers, and they're in the NLCS. And as you said, in the AL Central, you just get to 80 and you're in the mix to win that division. It's not like as much as it.
4 wouldn't have won the division, but 80.
The point being, if you're telling me they're getting 80, it means you have a fun September and fun summer, okay?
And
you're in the mix.
And if you get in the postseason,
yeah. And while the Royals have a uphill climb, no doubt internally with everything still in the division, they're not in this division that, man, if you want to win it, you got to get to 96 wins. No, not at all. You get to 85 and you're winning it most years right now.
Correct. And that all comes back to the same stuff of. And I'd be like, oh, it's the playoff format. I watched an 87 win or something like that Cardinals team win the World Series before the playoff shift in baseball. It's just baseball's hard because you're like, well, they were 16 games better. I'm like, what is 16 games in the course of a Major League Baseball season? 0.00006% of the goddamn. Can I say that? Of the thing? I can't say that.
No.
So I guess hit that button.
I did.
Of the whole thing, it's such a small percentage. I know it's 10%.
See what you've done. The dump button's stuck on my end over here. So
okay, well, we're gonna run out of dump.
We both hit it, so we're recovering.
I like that you hit it, and now the button's all the way down.
I think it's good. No, I heard it. I read when you said it, and you're like, yeah,
that's fine. But
good.
Either way, when you look at it, it's 10%, but it's just a small percentage of what their season is.
It's almost like the NL East of old, or the NL, the
button's really stuck, Gold.
It's like the NFC East of old
now, I think.
Okay. Where, like, remember when the Giants would win 9 games and they'd go on to the Super Bowl? I mean, it's like the NFC East of old.
Yeah.
Where you win 8, you go 500 and you're there. You have a shot at it.
It is easily, and I know we weren't planning on talking baseball at the end. It is easily the most frustrating thing about the Royals is they are in the best division for squeak out playoff appearances every couple of, every 2, 3, 4 years because the division is not competitive. They had 1 team over 500 this year. 1. That's it. You're trying to get past 1. They didn't have to go play in the AL East with 4 teams out of 5 above 500 or the AL West where 3 of the 5 teams finished with a better record than your division winner. I mean, just get in it. Be the Diamondbacks. I'm rooting for them the rest of the way, I guess.
Is that your team you're following now?
Official. Yep. Diamondbacks fan the rest of the way.
I don't mind if the Rangers win. Who cares? Whatever.
I have to be on the Astros bandwagon because my dad is my dad's been an Astros fan his whole life, so he's stuck in that controversy, of course.
When I was living in Houston,
why would you hurt yourself? We hate the Astros here.
When I was in Houston, obviously for a couple of years, I was rooting for them, and as time has gone on, my level of what about them has gone down. So I'm like, whatever.
I'm more like you. I have no dog in the fight, and I really could care less. It's more fun to see the Diamondbacks do well, though, because everybody hates the Dodgers. I don't know anybody likes the Dodgers. It's always fun to see them lose. So, and the Yankees.
That's all. Yeah. Just as long as it's not the Dodgers, Yankees, Cardinals, or White Sox, I'm really pretty okay most years. When it's not those 4 teams, I mostly just.
I don't like the Red Sox either, but.
You know what? They were the lovable losers for a while there. Then they started winning World Series, and then you're like, all right, get the hell out of here. That's like the Astros.
Pedro Martinez trying to punch managers or coaches.
I know, man. But Pedro Martinez is, in my opinion,
a legend. Yeah,
the best pitcher in baseball history, and I don't think I'm alone in that regard. You ready to offer up a different one?
No.
You said that like you were like, well, I think it's Lefty Grove or.
Well, without bringing in the whole steroid thing, I mean, I still think Roger Clemens is pretty high up there, but people will obviously reference the steroids, right? And that clouds the argument.
But everybody in baseball.
So the best part of the Odyssey app is there's no dump button. Yeah, if you listen on the app, you get unfiltered.
You know what's funny is that originally I kind of thought maybe that one was in the safe grouping, but then I found out it wasn't when I was rewriting that Taylor Swift song, and she says that, and I asked, and I said, "Hey, can I say that?" And he specifically said no.
Yeah, you can't add the G in front of the
So
damn.
now all 3 of us have cursed.
Yeah, you can't add the G in front of the damn.
In the last like 3 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
I feel like you actually caught yourself. Like you were.
The second I said it, I was like.
Yeah.
Oops.
It was supposed to me that I didn't even realize it.
You just said it.
This
is why he's got to be careful meeting the new neighbors, you know? You never know what he can say.
Grab old GD and
can't
then all
be
of a
doing
sudden,
it. No. Neighbor FCC.
I should invite him over at like 9:30 on a Sunday morning. Then I'll know whether or not that's a big deal.
Come on over and watch the Chiefs play the.
Yeah, you can invite him over for the 2032 Super Bowl at 10 o'clock in the morning. You can do that. Coming up tomorrow, Vinny Pasquantino. He should be in a great mood. His Jets would impress when he saw it in person there. As, of course, the
Terrible
Jets
seats.
beat the... you get better seats, man. Get better seats. Nate Taylor also on the show tomorrow. We'll do a little college football whip around. Don't forget, coming up, though, this afternoon, The Drive, Patrick Mahomes, 3:10. Patrick Mahomes joins Carrington right here on 610 Sports Radio.
Cody and Gold.